Well, the preludes have been run, the heats have been won, and we're down to our final 8. The Sportsbet Melbourne Cup, the undisputed heavyweight champion of Australian greyhound racing. This is where tradition, prestige and prize money, they all meet. 515 metres, 8 dogs, 1 chance, and 750,000 reasons to get it right. Tonight, from these boxes, 1 dog will take that chance and be crowned your new Melbourne Cup champion.
Every sport has its pinnacle, but only one race decides a legend in less than half a minute. This is Sportsbet Melbourne Cup.
With both hands, Explicit raced away, and Explicit is going to win the Melbourne Cup.
Where the fastest athletes on 4 legs chase not just victory, but immortality. For decades, champions have carved their names into the stone of history. Bombastic Shiraz, Diner Double One, Whiskey Riot, and the track record holder, Hardstyle Rico.
But it is all Hardstyle Rico, and he is going to absolutely bolt the Melbourne Cup in.
Now, a new 8 stand where legends once stood. 8 dreams, 8 rockets ready to explode from the boxes. 8 chances to claim the crown every trainer chases, but only one will hold. 515 metres, $250,000 to the winner. No margins, no mistakes, just pure instincts, pure speed, pure heart. When these boxes open, the world slows down, the noises fade, and destiny takes over. This is more than a race. This is the fastest 29 seconds in Australian sport. This is proving grounds of the greats. This is where the best of the best run at their best. Welcome to the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup. Greatness starts now.
Welcome to Sandown Park. Welcome to Melbourne Cup Night 2025. We've got a great card ahead of us tonight. 2 Group 1s, the Bold Trees for the stayers, and the sprinters, well, they get the Melbourne Cup. Now I've got the 2 gentlemen next to me. They are going to take us through all of the form and all of the stories tonight, and there's going to be plenty of them. James Vandermaat, thanks for joining us. We've got Corey Smith. Boys, if that doesn't get you pumped a little bit, nothing will.
Yeah, it's the most prestigious night of greyhound racing there is. This Melbourne Cup there, Smithy will agree, there's something special about a Melbourne Cup, and our man Georgie Ferrugia, who's normally on the panel, he's actually got a runner in the race, so he stood down. We wish him well, but it's a race for the champions, and when you go back through some of the races, the Diner Double One Fernando Bale clash, Hardstyle Rico breaking a track record, it's always producing something astonishing.
Yeah, absolutely, Corey. Great to be here. Where else would you rather be on Melbourne Cup night?
Well, exactly right. I was going to come just as a pundit, but thankfully George Ferrugia made his way into the Melbourne Cup, and here I am up on stage with you blokes. But it's going to be a cracking night of racing. I came last week, just had my feet up and enjoyed it. Tuned into the coverage from time to time. Got a little bit sick of Jim, as I will tonight, but it's going to be plenty of fun. Hopefully we'll find plenty of winners, and it really is a night for the greyhound purists.
All right, well, you guys are going to help find a few of the winners tonight, but it wouldn't be any good finding them if you couldn't strip a few bookies. And the man who's going to help us out with that, Mitch Abaya, over at the Sportsbet Big Screen. Mitch, you're going to be the one taking us through the prices, the markets across the evening. Exciting night to be here, mate.
Yeah, it is. This is the night of nights. It's my favourite night of racing, and joined by a great panel. So I know Corey said Jimmy was on fire last week. This is the night he'll come and shine tonight. So this is why we want to be here. There's fast dogs. We get to see them go around, and I think when you see the likes of Lucky Karabitsakis, the way he carried on when Hardstyle Rico won the Cup, that's what it means to most people in the industry, and this is the race that everyone wants to win. So 500,000 to the winner. Hopefully we can find a couple of winners to knock out the bookies tonight. And there's this one we've been following for a while now, but Sandown Park, all races tonight, run second, get a bonus bet back. If you like a favourite, if there's one that you like at odds as well, at run second, you'll get your bonus bet back up to a certain amount. And the other part of this night, you can follow me on the feed, which is right there. Mallee Beauty, Ascendic Static's around $12. Mallee Beauty's $1.95. If you are not a part of the feed, jump on there and check it out. It's not just me, there's plenty of others as well. I think the great man JVDM has an account as well. But jump on, check it all out. You can just copy the bets. It's that easy. So, yeah, fantastic night of racing. They'll all be up on there, and let's find a few.
Absolutely. Now, like any good TV special, but wait, there's more. We're not done yet. Out on the track tonight to get us all the information as they're going to the boxes will be the man, Jason Patch Adams. Jason, starting to roar out there, mate. How's the audio?
You're not wrong, Sammy. It is heaving out here. The band is in full swing. There's people rolling up. And if we thought there was a good vibe to Heats night last Saturday night, Melbourne Cup night is something else. Not only off the track, where there's plenty of entertainment and vibe, and we hear from Simon Marshall throughout the night with all the colour and festivities. But as you boys have alluded to, on track, it doesn't get any better than this. Even the Cup night sprint, which is essentially the consolation to the Melbourne Cup, is as good as a Melbourne Cup field. So a lot to look forward to, a lot of information to get out of the participants. So hopefully we get some of that tonight, but put the feet up, enjoy the show. This is going to be a beauty.
It's going to be great to hear from Jason out there with those participants as we get our last piece of information. But let's now take a look at the two features. So we've got two Group 1s. We're going to talk a lot about the Melbourne Cup, but let's kick off with the Bold Trease. This is the Group 1 for the stayers. This is an interesting one, boys, because we didn't get ethanol water through last week, which maybe stole a little bit of a thunder from the race, but there's still two very good dogs here, isn't there?
Yeah, look, and I think ethanol water was a bit of a forgive. When you go back and watch the replay, she tried to get out underneath of the boxes as they opened. It was hard to see unless you watched it on slow-mo, but I think the big guns have got through in a sense. Without a trace, she's the #1 stayer, and this dog from Sydney, Aiden's Warrior Smithy, drawn box number 4, I reckon Connections would be so thrilled they're drawn underneath it without a trace.
They're building a nice little battle that goes around nearly each and every week, and sometimes it's one of them drawn underneath and sometimes it's the other, and every single time they both try their hearts out, they both have a crack, they're both fast animals and they're both on the rise. I know Aiden's Warriors had more starts than Without a Trace has had, but they're both relatively new in terms of the staying caper, and they're both starting to put it all together, getting it right at the right time. We saw their battle in the Top Gun Stayers, we'll see their battle in the Bold Trease tonight, but there's plenty of good talent throughout, from boxes 1 all the way through to Without a Trace in box 8 as well, so you could make a case for a few of them outside of that as well.
All right, I think the market's going to be an interesting one here, isn't it? Because you've got these two at the top of the market. So, Mitch, what do we have at the market at the moment? How tight is it?
Yeah, Without a Trace is your favourite, $2.15. I think that's unders, genuine unders after last week. Aiden's Warriors out to $3.60 from $2.90. I'm staggered at the drift. I thought he'd be shorter than that, so I reckon there's value there. $5.50 for late night news. Fade to Blacks, $8.50 out to $9.50. Then we get up to double figures, $16 for Payback. Mapunga Lara, $16 also, and 17s for a pillar, 31 Galactic Spartan. For me, the 4s are staggering overs. Imagine what you could be buying instead. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on screen or visit the Gambling Help online website. But for me, the 4s staggering overs at $3.60.
Well, that's the entree, boys. Race number 8 on the card. Race number 10, no, this is the reason we're all here, the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup. And it's a ripper. Is this one of the more even ones we've seen of recent years?
Yeah, I don't think it's the greatest Melbourne Cup on paper, but yet the race might turn out to go down as one of the greats. You just never know what's going to happen in a Melbourne Cup, but it's just such an even array of speed. And then you throw in a greyhound like Sprightly Sian, who I don't think can win the race, but can definitely lead the race. Intrepidus, who if he drew inside, he might just about have jumped favoured in the race. Canya Mayhem, I think, is the greyhound that's the winner from the draw, Smithy, drawn box 2.
Yeah, no, it's not a vintage edition of the Melbourne Cup in terms of talent going into this, but there's a lot of dogs that are on their way up. There's a lot of dogs that have little quirks, whether they use a little bit of the track, whether they're electric early, whether they pull back a touch in the early stages. So it is a race that is full of storylines, full of dogs that can take the next step tonight, and maybe we do, as you said, consider it a great Melbourne Cup after the fact.
I think the favourite, Sammy, cannot win the race.
Well, which is the favourite? That's what we need to know, because it has changed a little bit this week, hasn't it? The market's been very tight. There was 4 or so dogs right through the week. So, Mitch, where are we at the moment? Where does the Sportsbet market have us at favourite?
Yeah, we've got joint favourites, $3.90 a piece for Canya Mayhem, and number 3 accredited. Look, I'm not saying accredited can't win, but $3.90's probably slightly unders. I'm with Canya Mayhem. I think the price is right. Let's get over to Dashing Slave, $4.20, been nibbled in from $4.80. Valenzuela's $4.60, holding its price. Intrepidus, for those that liked it last week, $9 is probably overs. $12 for Daisy's Rory. The 6 Paul Zuri is $17, and Sprightly Shan is 51 into 31. There's a slight chance it obviously gets across, and there's a jam up behind. Imagine what you're buying instead. For free and confidential support, call that number on screen or visit the Gambling Help online website.
So market says there's 4 chances, maybe another in the Dog from Heaven, Intrepidus, but does the market have it right?
I would tend to say no, because I think accredited should be about $6 or $7. Look, I don't want to be seen to be bagging the dog, because Ned McDonald's done an extraordinary job with this dog accredited, but I reckon he doesn't love pressure from the outside. And if you go back to his last 2 starts, Hume Cup speared the lids. Now that's no fault of his own. That's what you want them to do, but there was no pressure. Last week, Melbourne Cup, he draws the red. The 2 veers up the track, no pressure. In saying that, he's picked up so much confidence. Does he then carry that confidence into a Melbourne Cup and run a big race? I just think $3.90 on accredited to be at the top of the market, the pointy end. It has to be unders when there is going to be heat. Sprightly Sian, Intrepidus, they're going to come charging across Smithy.
So you've heard it first here. James Vandermaat, Potts, Melbourne Cup favourite.
Yes.
That I'm tipping.
Yeah.
Are you really?
That's how
Game's
good we're
built on
going.
opinion, Sam.
I tell you, well, absolutely.
There you go.
If everyone knew the winner, well, it'd be a lot easier. Well, it'd be a lot harder. Tell you what, though, there's one bloke I really am keen to introduce and see what he's going to bring to the broadcast tonight, because he's from my side of the world, from the ratings side of the world. And that's SD, Simon Marshall, out there with the Sportsbet team. What do you got for us, SD?
Brilliant. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't get any bigger or better. We got the grubs, Dan Gorringe. It's all about the Melbourne Cup tonight, the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup, $1 million. And the A-team is here. Have a look at them. The East Garden Cricket Clubs. We got Flanners. We got Hammy. And Dan Gorringe here tonight. Dan, you just met your namesake, a dog.
Yeah, a beautiful, beautiful girl there. A lot stronger than me in the legs for sure, and better looking. So it's great. Keeping the name up to that top reputation we like to adhere to.
Outstanding stuff. Now, you have been known as Richmond, been changing your name. Everything okay? Charlie Curnow's left Carlton. Anything you want to bring to life?
No, not well at all. Yeah, it's been a bad couple of months for old Dan Gorringe. Back to Dan Gorringe, which is good. So, yeah, life's not great, but, March is around the corner and things will go from there, back down to there, and all will be well.
Outstanding stuff. We got Hammy and we got Flanners here for the East Garden Grubs, and it's been a big season and a great start to the season so far too with the Australian cricket team, Hammy.
Absolutely, yes. I can see a lot of the East Garden Grubs in the England cricket team at the moment, getting rolled, for 100 and then getting smacked in less than a session. We did think about going and playing golf in Noosa tonight, me and Flanners, but we thought, unlike the England cricket team, we'll do what we're contractually obliged to do, and we'll be here tonight. So good to be with you.
We have some activations for you tonight. $10,000 up for grabs. Got to pad up. Got to put the gloves off. Got to put the helmet on. Got to run. $10,000. And we've got the wheel. Flanners, we're bringing the wheel back. But more importantly, the Pommy Whingers, they're at it.
They are at it, and they always are and always will be, I think. So, yeah, that's the Pommy Whingers for you. But I've got a hot tip in the first, just on you. Touched on Charlie Curnow. I like the 3 and the 5 because he's wearing the 35 next year. I reckon we have a 100 on that because he's going to kick 100 goals this year, responsibly, of course.
Yeah. 3 and the 5 in the first. All that and a whole lot more. We'll be back with the action with the A-team.
Looking forward to catching all of that across the night, SD. Great man. And you think that haircut's good? Well, you should see his calves. Best calves I've ever seen on a man. But we're not too far away from race 1. We'll get to that a bit more later. Let's head across to Mitch Bayo with the market for race 1.
Yeah, race 1 on the doorstep. Point Break is your favourite, $2.35. Sorry, launch mode is now favourite, $2.35. $2.40 for Point Break. Archie Rolls, $3.90. They're the only 3 in single figures. Get out to double figures. Ivory Mahara is $16. 23s for Quinley Bale, and the 6 Real World, $34. Well, we can't back the 5 because there's no 5, so we're going to have something on the 3. We're going to listen to the grubs. Imagine what you're buying could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on screen or visit the Gambling Help online website. And there's some winning box stats. This is over the last 12 months. The inside draws, we mentioned this last week, how dominant they are here at Sandown Park, especially over the 5.15. Boxes 1 and 2. Well, surprise, surprise, boxes 1 and 2 are your shorties in race 1 on the program.
All right, let's take a look at the speed map now for race 1, guys, because this is where you come in. Tell us if you agree with it and the important info on it.
Yeah, well, I think the 2 is going to go out fast. Speed map suggesting that. The 8s are scratching, so we don't have to worry about Impress Moana. We've got the 5 showing speed, but it's a vacant draw. We often get a little glitch in the speed map. That's okay, but I think they've got it right with launch mode. Expected to lead, should cross the red for fun. Ivory Mahara's got reasonable speed. Real World, I don't think, is an overly quick beginner. And Archie Rolls, well, he can begin quick, he can begin slow, he can finish slow, and he can finish fast. You never know what you're going to get with Archie Rolls. He can do a lot. He can do a lot wrong too.
Do a lot right, do a lot wrong. That is Archie Rolls, and this is an intriguing race to kick off the night.
Watch the pink here. Launch mode, Smith. He came out.
Wants to go hard left from a wide draw, Jim, and when you think about a dog that wants to go hard left from a wide draw, comes down to box number 2, it usually fills you with a little bit more confidence.
Yeah, look, and we see those that the first 100, 150 metres, he's just carving to the inside, finding check after check after check, and he ends up toward the end of the field. Now, you look at it in the paper and you say, well, beaten 16 lengths. It must have been a poor run, but I think when you break that down, he just wanted the inside part of the track, and he gets that tonight, Smithy, and you want to take a look at what he does from a head-on perspective.
Yeah, exactly right. From box number 8, he obviously went hard left, but a couple of starts ago from box number 1, he actually kept a pretty straight line. So this is him from box number 8 here going hard left. Box number 1 is we keep it nice and straight, Jim.
He's chasing the lure, isn't he? That's
exactly
why,
right.
That's why he's coming out going hard left. He wants to get behind the lure. If you were to put him inside of the lure, he'd probably veer out to get right behind the lure. But to me, that just proves he's chasing hard. He wants to get out there and he wants to win. And I think it'll be very hard to beat here.
Exactly right. And that is going to be the key to his race, is giving himself that opportunity to get out on the arm, get out on the lure. And it's potentially why I think Point Break is going to get a really nice run into the race. Might be able to settle a little bit more forward than it has been lately. The 2, I think, will give him enough room. As you mentioned, we'll probably run that maybe 1 or 2 off, just right on the lure. Enough room for the 1 to be able to sneak up on the inside.
So later on the card, we've got some really good racing. We've got some good finals. We've obviously got the 2 Group 1s as well. But the first couple of races on the card that we're looking at tonight, including this one, is for one of the dogs that are up and coming, aren't they? We should just preface this.
Yeah.
This is dogs that have won 1 to 3. Is there anything in this race that is lightly enough raced, has a little bit of upside that you'd be keen on following through, or is it an also-ran?
Yeah, look, I think there is. I think the 1 and 2, Point Break, Launch Mode, are probably the 2 that could progress. They've got a bit of scope to move forward. They're the 2 in this particular race that have come out of a series that we'll see a final of later, a 1 to 4 win series. So the Connections obviously thought enough of them to have a crack at a series like that. Therefore, you would expect they're the ones that are going to advance. But it's a decent little race, and I think the key to the race is number 7, Archie Rolls, because he performed a satisfactory at Geelong, 22.09. That is absolutely out of this world. So if he runs up to that, he'll probably just cross-lead and win, Smithy.
To put it in perspective, that 22.09, that's only a couple of lengths outside the track record by Unleashed Kalinda. So very, very fast, does do a few things wrong, but I'm looking forward to hearing from the crew out there.
All right, let's head out to Jason Adams, who's trackside.
Thanks, Sam, with Brett Mackey, who's got Point Break from box 1, and Brett is threatening a lot. Does box 1 allow him to unleash the shackles tonight?
I think he prefers to be on the outside of dogs, but at this track you've got to be on the inside, so hopefully the box 1 aids him in that.
He hasn't got it all right so far in his starts here at Sandown. What sort of time do you think he's got up his sleeve if he gets clear?
I think he'll go in the 29.40s if he gets it right, but he's got to get there yet.
Good luck.
Thanks, mate.
There's Brett Mackey with Point Break from box 1. Let's head down the other end where the rest of the dogs are. We'll get on the bike and hopefully the hamstrings stay intact. All right, we'll go to Lou Pisano, who's the part owner of Launch Mode. Of course, had a lot of success with Launch Code going back a couple of years. And Lou, this boy here, this looks like he's going to develop strength the more time goes on.
As he matures a bit, yeah. He needs to get the timing right as well.
How important is the draw tonight?
He needs to jump, that's for sure. Yep.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I'll get a quick comment as well from Dave Burnett, who's over here with Archie Rolls. Just quickly, Dave, I know this boy's been a handful for you. He's had a bit of a break, so how do you judge his mindset tonight?
We'll see in about a minute and a half. I've got to tell you, if you can tell me. Yeah.
No, I've got no idea. We'll leave you to it, boys. Back to you.
All right. Well, Misha Bayer, final markets from Sportsbet.
Break is your favourite, $2.40. Launch Mode, $2.45. And then we get to Archie Rolls being backed into $3.50 from $3.90. I like it. I reckon the 7 gets the card across and is well supported.
All right, time to head upstairs to Dan Hibbard for the calling of the first.
$2.50 ahead of Launch Mode at $2.60. $3.70 for Archie Rolls. Double figures everything else. Point Break is coming off a 4th at Sandown to off the chart in a restricted win heat. So on 2 of 11. And is coming here tonight having won the 2 from 11 and 1 of 4 over this trip. $2.70 for Launch Mode, who's won 3 out of 6. All 3 have been from the red. He gets the 2 tonight. $3.60 for Archie Rolls, who's coming off a Stewart's trial at Geelong, 22.09. He was 3rd at the races there. Before that to Pornell, he's won 2 of 13. He's had 2 starts over this trip for a second. They're moving in. First of the night, Sandown Vet Clinic. On a massive night, Melbourne Cup night for 2025. The green light is turned on and the lure's on the move. Set to run, race number 1. Ready. And away, point break jump well on the inside. Ivory Mahara goes up quickly, and on the outside, Quinley Bale. Coming across was Archie Rolls, and saving all the ground was Launch Mode, driving through along the paint. To the rear was Real World. Point break the leader. After it was Archie Rolls. A length of the way was Launch Mode, the rail. They're clear then on Ivory Mahara, and then came Quinley Bale and Real World, but it's point break. 2 in front. Archie Rolls is trying to get it. Point break in front, trying to hold on. Point break all the way. Point break a length and a half on Archie Rolls and Launch Mode. Ivory Mahara was next, followed by Quinley Bale. And last in was Real World. The time on the opener is 29 and 54. Number 1, point break for Brett Mackey.
Pretty close.
Driving.
So you would have been happy to see him begin the way he did?
I never saw 504 anywhere, so I don't know how he's done that, but I'll take that.
A bit worried mid-race when you saw Archie Rolls looming up. You would have thought, don't get too close.
No, I know David said he's not that strong in that litter, so I was pretty happy. I know he's pretty strong.
Young dog like this, he's 2 years of age. He's won on Melbourne Cup night. What do you do with him now?
He'll just race as much as he can just to get a bit more experience, but I think he's going to be a real nice 600-metre dog in the long run.
You got a tip for the Cup?
I'd love Rob to win it with Intrepidus.
Good job, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Brett Mackey there, guys, after point break, takes out the first on Melbourne Cup night.
Well, that was a slick first split. That set it up and game over.
That's where you win the races. Look, Smithy had jotted down into his little book of notes here, the book of wonders, that he thought he could begin a little bit better, but I think that was beyond anyone's expectations, that he was going to hold out the likes of Launch Mode to the first quarter and go 504.
Including Brett Mackey, the trainer. He didn't expect there was a 504 in the locker, and as we just heard in that interview, he thinks maybe the future will be over a little bit further, whether that be 600 metres or potentially even more. But once he got out in front, you and I looked at each other and we thought, well, that's race over. I know Archie Rolls is a very fast animal, but point break is nice and strong, and when he jumps like that, gets a little bit of room in the first 10 to 20 metres, that is what he can do.
To be honest, even though Launch Mode's been beaten, I wouldn't be disappointed with that run, because if you were tipping into Launch Mode, you were hoping he would cross the red for fun and set up shop in front. He had to come from behind, so I thought the run third was okay, and Archie Rolls just doing Archie Rolls things. I think he had a nice little lure in front of him tonight, point break. He seems to be a dog that can always go quicker when the field around him go quicker.
All right, well, that's race 1 run and done here at Sandown. Time for a break now on racing.com. After the break, Ascot, race 7, the Swan Draft Handicap. Done in race number 7 there at Ascot. Welcome back here to Sandown Park. Now, it's a big night, 2 Group 1s. It's a big night for a lot of people. It is not a bigger night for anyone else on course than this young lady right next to me, Kayla Cottrell, training 2 chances in the Group 1 final here. Has it been a nervous week?
Not so much a nervous week, just sort of kept everything the same, and the dogs are in their same routine, nothing changes, and yeah, a little bit nervous, but look, we've made it this far, it's a big achievement, so yeah, just soaking it all in, and yeah, it's hard to make these races, so making the most of it, just enjoying the night.
You've got 2 dogs here, and one of them's a very, very good chance in Dashing Sleigh in the Melbourne Cup, drawn box 5, always takes a little bit of air out of your tyres, I guess. When you were coming to the races for the heats, was there a strong expectation of both these dogs getting through?
Not so much Fade to Black. Look, he hasn't had a big campaign over the staying ranks. His last week's run was very impressive and he showed a different side. Dashing Sleigh, she's obviously sort of the talk of racing at the moment. She's, pretty high up in the ranks as a greyhound at the moment, or a young bitch. So there was always big expectations for her, and she's been racing well. So they've done a super job to make these races. So anything tonight's a bonus, and like I said, we're just happy to be here.
Here's the vision last week of Dashing Sleigh. Wyong Dallas unfortunately went to miss out in front, but at this stage you're pretty content with yourself because she is so explosively strong, isn't she?
She is very strong, and unfortunate for Wyong Dallas, but her swinging to the back there, she was going 2 to their 1, James, so she's got a big motor lane and she can do it both ends. There's not many dogs that can do it at the start to the finish, and she's one that can do that, and yeah, she's pretty amazing how she shifts gears and just does it so easy. Like, you bring her off the track and you wouldn't think she'd been around. A couple of people said to me last week, doesn't even look like she's been around, just so clean-winded and naturally strong. So it's a good trait to have in a greyhound.
She jumped from box number 5 last week in the heat. You draw the guts again, box number 5 in the Melbourne Cup. I reckon you would ride off a lot of greyhounds in a Melbourne Cup when they draw box 5. But with her, I'm not sure if it's the fact she's a bit of a rising champion, or there's something about her that you could just about throw anything at her. You could put hurdles out on the track and she'd jump over them.
Yeah, she overcome box 5 last week, but it's not ideal picking up box 5. It hurt a little bit when I picked up and looked at it, but then it was just what had drawn around us. That's what we had to look at. And obviously 4, they do say it shifts a little bit to the fence, and she wants to be out in the middle of the track. So box 5 isn't a worry. She just needs room to move, and most of the speed is underneath her. That's what we wanted. You don't want her underneath the speed with a trait wanting to shift off a bit. She needs room. So fingers crossed she can work her magic. She does overcome a lot of obstacles in races. So yeah, hopefully she can put her best foot forward.
Just dare to dream for one moment. What would it mean to you to win a Melbourne Cup? The whole family involved in greyhound racing for as long as you can remember, well beyond your time, as you say, right back to the grandparents. What would it mean to you to win the great race?
Oh, everything. Like I said the other day on the radio, this is what the early mornings are for and the late nights. And, I was an 18-year-old girl when I first started doing this. I have no social life, As an 18-year-old girl being asked to go out, it was bedtime, it was dogs. I put my whole heart and soul into this sport. So, yeah, to be rewarded with a Melbourne Cup and a Bold Trease, it would mean a lot.
Well, Kayla, you're a rising star, 23 now. You started when you were 18. A lot of people might not know this. You actually worked in the racing industry for a little bit as well through Wendy Kelly and Mick Price. Just give us a little quick insight as how you ended up there and what drew you back.
So I was 16 at the time and I couldn't get my handler's licence. So I thought, well, I'll go be a strapper, which you could be at 16 years of age. And yeah, I ventured off with Wendy Kelly for a year because obviously mother and father knew Wendy and Kevin Kelly. And then I said to Dad I wanted to move to a bigger stable to obviously learn more. And yeah, he got me in at Mick Price's and I stayed there for 3 years. It was a big learning curve, like working with the thoroughbred race horses. And yeah, it was a great time there, but I wanted to make something of myself and not just be a stable hand and a number. And yeah, rang up Dad and he brought me back home, and yeah, I haven't looked back.
Is there anything you learned in thoroughbred racing that you might have brought across or that you might not have normally done that you do now?
Oh, they're much the same. They're animals. You have to make sure they're sound, they're fit, they're well, and, feeding regime, just everything like that, and their fitness. So, yeah, brought a bit back through the horse racing to the greyhounds. Obviously a different animal and a lot bigger of an animal, a racehorse to a greyhound. But, yeah, I learned a few little tricks and knacks there, so, yeah.
All right, well, we all wish you the best tonight. You've got 2 great runners and great chances in Group 1 races. You also got one going around a little bit early. Can you quickly tip us into that in a couple of seconds?
2 in race 5. The bitch in 7 does like being out wide. She likes room. He's magic. He's a bit of a sucker for the fence, so I don't like that draw from him. And look, if he can follow her across, but I think he'd be sucking in to go into the fence. So if I had to pick one out of those 2, it'd be Compton Gold.
All right, well, we'll let you go. You've got a busy night. Time to head over for a market for race number 2.
Yeah, race 2 on the program, quickly sneaking up on us, and a greyhound that I've tipped a couple of times, Summer Quinn, has been really well backed, and your favourite, $2.45 in from $2.80. Poor Vortex is drifted $3.20 out to $4.20. I think the notable drift is the greyhound drawn in box number 8, Paul Barton, $3.20 out to $4.80, sorry. Poor Vortex is $4.50 to $4.40. $8 for Shadows of Blue. I think it's a chance off box 1. Goes well off an inside draw. Ascendic Static's been well back. 13 into 7. None of my push. $9 for the 1. Aston Barton's out to 12s. Ethanol Secret, $23. And 81s for Stacey's mum that used to be trained by Kayla Cottrell. What are you really gambling with? For friend confidential support, call the number on screen or visit the Gambling Help online website. Now, these are my feed bets. You can scan that QR code there. Ascendic Static coming up right here, was up on the feed, $13 earlier on in the week, now at $7. So if you got on early, well done to you. Mally Beauties to race later on in the program. But scan the QR code, check out mine. You can check out a range of other punters as well.
All right, speed map time. This is the important part when we try and work this one out early. Let's take a look. Boys, firstly, again, is this the way you see your speed maps, and what are the key points here?
I think they've got Summer Quinn right. She's normally a pretty reliable beginner drawn box number 2, but for some reason the Sportsbet team, Smithy, They are a big fan of Ascender Static showing early speed, and it doesn't happen too often. She's expected to go forward according to this. Barefoot Elsa, Poor Vortex, up to 600 metres. They should be going forward, 3 and 4.
Absolutely. Shadows of Blue, I don't think will settle that close either. It's a dog that drops back and gets on in the run. But you wanted to have a look at Poor Vortex here, Jim, who from box number 2 last week got cluttered up a little.
Squeezed out of it, maybe a little bit outpaced. But I think the reason for the outpacing was Sharapova Star, Ross the Boss, Dacey's Rory. They're all very quick dogs. And I thought this was a pretty good run because I was predicting maybe just lobbing a little bit closer, but you've got Dacey's Rory right up on the speed. He goes through to qualify, and I thought Poor Vortex was okay.
All right, let's head trackside. Jason Adams.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. With Craig and Angela Langton. Now, 2 big chances in the race, boxes 1 and 2. I'd say this girl will lead, Craig. Summer Queen, what happens after that?
It depends what sort of run the one gets. If he gets a clear run and he's close to her, he'll win.
So he can run her down?
He can definitely run her down, but it depends how much of a lead she's got if he does get a clear run. But see how it goes.
So she should lead. Big danger, Shadows of Blue.
Yeah, as I say, it depends what sort of run he gets. If he gets a clear run, he'll be real strong on the run home. Gets a bit of trouble, just depends, but see how we go.
Good luck, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Craig Salkin there. Let's now go to Ben Magri's one gentleman I want to speak to. Mason Kaufman's another one here who's got Poor Vortex. Now, Mason, for a greyhound of this fella's ability, he hasn't won for about, well, he's only won 1 race for about 6 months, but this seems to be a combination, track and distance, that really suits him.
Yeah, I think 600's really his go. Over to 500, just gets a bit one pace, so, yeah, better chance to get out in front.
Jaws good too?
Yeah, I don't mind it, as long as we clear the red early, which we should. Maybe sit behind the 2 and see how we go.
There's Mason Coffin with Poor Vortex. Now, I quickly want to get a comment from Benny Magri, who's got Aston Barton here. Now, this fella's a machine, and we didn't see him get a chance in his last start, which is going back a little bit of time now at the Meadows. How's he been since then?
He's, getting better. So we didn't try, well...
Yep, well, we are probably due to get one more market, aren't we, as we head across to Mitchell Bay. We're getting close to the big jump of race number 2. We're only a minute out. Mitch, what have you got for us?
Yeah, Summer Queen's your favourite, $2.25. Poor Vortex, $4.40. Barefoot Ulcer is $6.50 out to 7s. The big move is 6, Ascender Static, 13 earlier in the week, now $7. And Shadows of Blue has had a nibble 8 into 7 off the red. But your favourite, Summer Queen, $2.30.
So 2:30 about Summer Quinn. They arrive at the start. 600 metres, the 595, the middle distance here, Smithy. Who wins the race, mate? What's your top 4?
I'm with Summer Quinn in this one. I think she's the one that is drawn to get a really nice run into the race. She should go untouched in the early stages with Poor Vortex likely to keep a pretty straight line. Shadows of Blue will likely get back in the field and weave his way through, as we heard from Craig Salkin. I'm expecting a Jeff Britton, Angela Langton, Quinella here. 2, 1, 3 and 6. Ascendic Static, I don't know where it lobs in the run, but if she gets close enough, then look out. She's a very talented dog.
Yeah, inside draws, I think, will be the dogs that can dominate this particular race. I'm 3, Poor Vortex on top. 2 starts, track and distance, 2 wins, so ticks a few boxes. Back up to 600 metres, I think, will be the plus. For second, I've gone 2, Summer Quinn. Doesn't always hit the start, but when she does, she's got terrific early and mid-race speed. She might be able to get to the front and take some catching. Shadows of Blue's the best drawn in the race, might be able to track through. And Barefoot Elsa, she's been sprinting well, was good here last week in the first race of the night. My number's 3214. Let's get upstairs to the caller tonight, the voice of the Melbourne Cup a bit later, Daniel Hibbert.
Race number 2, the $1 million wheel here tonight. Big opportunity if you're lucky enough to get to spin the wheel. A chance to win $1 million. They're set for race 2. Favourite in 2. Ready. And away. Slow to go was Shadows of Blue and also Aston Barton. And winning the start was Poor Vortex. And it leads early over Barefoot Elsa and Summer Quinn. Ethanol Secret gets up to 4th around Ascendic Static. Stacey's mum's a couple of lengths away. Then came Aston Barton and Shadows of Blue's got it all to do. Down the back, Poor Vortex gets away 1.5 lengths on Barefoot Elsa. Summer Quinn gets the inside runner now, starts to run on. Ethanol Secret, Ascendic Static are next. Poor Vortex in front. Summer Quinn is trying hard. Poor Vortex in front of Summer Quinn. Poor Vortex 2.5. Summer Quinn, Ascending Static and Aston Barton weave through the traffic late for 4th. Ethanol Secret, Shadows of Blue blew it at the start. Stacey's mum and Barefoot Elsa, and the time is 34:22. Number 3, Poor Vortex, Corey Grenfell. gets back in the winners list tonight. It's been a while, but he's had 3 starts now over that trip for 3 wins. 3, 2, 6 and 8 are the numbers on race 2.
I like reckon we'll see.
And 8. 2.5 lengths is the winning margin by 1. 2.5 by 1. 9:07.
You've got one nice and early. Well done. You had that on top. You were just telling us all about it too.
Could not let Smithy get too far ahead. He tipped the winner of the first, and I've just gone bang. But we're going to work out what price they are, and my one was a little bit bigger than what Smithy's
Well, that's all that
was.
counts, isn't it? I tell you what, how's the handler? He understood the assignment. He's got the Sportsbet beanie on as well. Do they get a bonus for that?
He'll ask for one, I'd imagine, Big Mason. He's a good fella, but that was a good performance from Paul Vortex. We're just seeing the replay here. Summer Quinn, who I expected to lead pretty confidently, didn't do that, but ran on pretty well, which was a bit of an upside-down race for her.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried here with the leader, Paul Vortex. The 4, Barefoot Elsa, was just applying the heat for the first couple of 100 metres. Right here, you think Paul Vortex is home. Summer Quinn was really good for second, but it's funny because Paul Vortex over 500, I reckon Mason said it well before the race, he seems to get outpaced in a sprint, especially at the top level. Gets up to 600 metres. For some reason, if you go through this dog's form over 600, he steps like that more often than not. Straight to the front, home he goes. 460 and 150. Good tip, Jim. $1.20 for Summer Quinn. 2.10 for Ascender Static.
Well, going into this race, he'd had 2 attempts at the 595 here at Sandown Park, undefeated. Yeah. He continues on there, and he still hit a little bit of that flat spot in the middle stages of the race. He was entitled to, though, with the pressure that he copped.
And it was a sprinter applying the pressure to him. I think if you take out Barefoot Elsa, who, as it turned out, didn't really run out the 600 metres, then he probably does break them up even more. And maybe it's not so of a flat spot, it's more of Barefoot Elsa just being a real genuine sprinter, I guess, testing the water over 600 metres. But yeah, Black Caviar type stats over the 595, 3 from 3. It doesn't get any better than that.
And the boys have got 1 each early. We're going to keep track of this across the night.
There might have to be a responsible side wager here. I don't know whether it's going to be a lunch or a thing of fish and chips. I know Jim is a pescatarian, so we can't go a steak dinner.
I attempted some meat last week.
Did you?
First time in 5 years, 6 years. We went out to a lovely little restaurant and steakhouse, and I thought, well, it looked really good. And the missus was saying, this is the nicest steak I've ever had. And I said, well, give me a little bit.
Well, my darling mother is a vegetarian, has been since she was 8 years old. She'll be shattered to hear that she's lost
look,
one.
I'm going to invite Joanne out for dinner, and we're going to organise her to go back to the dark side.
As long as there's something on, because I'll keep score. Time for a break now on racing.com. After the break, Simon Marshall with the Sportsbet crew. Welcome back to Sportsbet Melbourne Cup night here on racing.com. We just saw the end of race number 2, boys. And it was another good one.
It was a good race, wasn't it? Poor Vortex. He might be a dog to follow over this 600-metre range. You'll pay $4.60, $1.50 locally. A bit bigger price than what Smithy got in race number 1. $1.20 about Summer Quinn.
Are we waiting this, boys? Are we waiting this on SP price?
I think we'll decide after a few races and see where we're at. Jim will advocate for it now, but if it starts turning the other way, he'll certainly run.
I've heard he likes to change things up during the night. He changed his tips on the drive here as well.
Yeah, and I often will change my selection halfway through a race because then you'll tend to back more winners. But I'm just waiting for a corporate, and I'm hoping Sportsbet might be able to do this. A little bit of betting in the run. Imagine that being able to bet halfway through. Simon
You're trying
Marshall
to do that over the 295.
Yeah, well, that would be hard. Maybe over 700 we could get away with it. Imagine SD backing a winner halfway through a race.
Well, I tell you what,
awesome.
We're going to find out a little bit more about SD now because he's out there with the Sportsbet crew having plenty of fun.
Outstanding stuff here, Dream Chasers. We're up and running. How good is it? 2 races down, and now it's time to introduce Dan, who's a dog. Dan's a she, she's a he, and that's how it's going to roll. This is Gorringe. Dan, this is your dog.
She is beautiful. Obviously, my name didn't go far in the sporting industry. Gorringe is really lifting the name. So she's beautiful, she's a star, and I think I'm in love.
And Corey, you handle Gorringe. Tell us a little bit of the backstory about why you named this beautiful dog after a bloke. Now, she's a winner, but Dan's not.
Yes. Even I want to know this.
Well, my partner and I quite frequently watch Dan on socials and quite fond of him, and we decided we'd try and name a dog after him, but we thought he didn't deserve a dog but a bitch would have been better suited. So pretty much that's the name.
How about that, Dan?
Yeah, so that's good. That's good. No, I'm glad you did because absolute star.
And so Gorringe race name. You've had about 6 starts now, and you're a winner.
Yeah, she's had 10. She's had 1 win and a couple of placings, so she's going all right.
Fantastic. Now, Dan, synonymous, what's the go with the dog? Athlete, good type, good shoulder, great leg. What are you seeing in yourself here?
So much potential. Like, you know, can obviously run. That's one. That's the first thing. Strong, fit, powerful, much like me, but unlike me in the AFL, didn't go on with it. I think we have a dog here who will go on with it and do great things.
Chaser on the field. Now, she's a great chaser of the lure.
Actually, yeah, no, that was a lie. I was a bad chaser on the field. I was a real bad chaser. I was not good at all.
Outstanding stuff. Now, what do you like most about the big fella here? I mean, he's bringing a nation together, his podcasts and the way he brings footy alive and all that, takes on Carlton and so forth, changed his name to Richmond.
Yeah, he's hilarious. I think his sense of humour probably dragged me in, but he's good for our sport, good for our industry, and I'm glad he's on board with us.
Fantastic. Now, if you were going to give yourself a little bit of a pep talk as you were going to go out there and chase the lure to go and win your second win in your 7th start, Dan, now's your time to pep up Gorringe and give her a pep up and have a chat.
You're the only hope that I have left to make my mum and dad are really proud of me, okay? So if we could do that, that would be great. I'll get you so many chicken carcasses. Whatever you need, I need this.
And what does Gorringe like to eat?
Yeah, chicken. Yeah, she'll eat some chicken.
Yeah, you like chicken, do you, Dan?
I'm allergic to chicken, actually.
Oh, well, we might have to change her diet.
True, yeah.
Dan's a pescatarian, you wouldn't believe it. Rissy's a young rider, he's a big fan. He loves Dan as well. Going to pat the dog for the first time there, Ryder. Magnificent stuff. Turn around and have a look. You're a Pie supporter?
Yes.
How good's Dan Gorringe?
Good.
He's outstanding. And he's been fantastic tonight, and he's here all night. Now, we thank you very much, Corey, and we thank, obviously, Gorringe. And Josh, your partner of Josh Formosa?
Yep. Yeah, he had to handle dogs, so he palmed it off to me. To be actually honest, he palmed it off to me before we got here because he's a little bit shorter than me and he felt intimidated against Dan, so yeah.
Sure.
Actually, there he is over there.
The short and the tall, the rise and the fall, and he's about to propose to you too. But we've got to go. You wouldn't believe it. That'd be nice tonight. We'll be back with more.
Oh, what an absolute legendary segue to introduce the next man. Well, not introduce, go back to the next man. Mitch Abaya was vertically challenged with a market for race 3.
Well, Joshy and I, 2 Maltese people that height isn't really on our side. If you could see below me here, below my knees, you see I'm standing on a platform. Well, I got one from Molly last week and I've copped another clip about height, but it's all right. We ride with it. Liddell, maiden series final. This is a belt of a race, $1.75 and favourite. The Masseners have a really strong hand in this one. Naradan is $3.30 in from $4.20. It's got to avoid the one pushing up the track early. General Frankie's had some support for the Bartolos. Geez, they're a good kennel. They always perform, $5.50. Expedite's at $7 for the Ennises. So he thinks is $26. 31s for the 8 Whoppy De Vere. Now this greyhound is staggering overs, Dr. Babette. 34 out to $46 each way, more places, whatever way you want to go about it, but this dog will be running on strong. And Dr. Warren is $51. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Weren't sure if we were going to bring up the steps he was standing on earlier, but after that segue, we just had to, didn't we? Boys, this is the Vic Bred Maiden Series final that we're looking at the speed map for too. So one of the first finals of the night. Now this speed map again, does this tell us most of the story that we need early?
Yeah, I think so. I'm actually a little bit surprised that Liddell isn't off the screen. The amount of speed that it's shown in its 2 career starts today to 5.04 or 4.97. Usually that 5-second barrier is an absolute magical one. If you break that, you are flying along. And Liddell was able to do it last start. But in this speed map, and I think you're seeing it in the same way, the 2 might be a little bit closer than it has been. Mad railer, the 2. I want to show a replay of Naradan starting from box number 6 in the semi-final. Watch this. Steps, bang. Have you seen a greyhound come out harder for the inside rail than that? I thought his run was outstanding. Expedite gets out in front, clearly a greyhound with a motor. Naradan doesn't want to be 3 wide, but he's stuck out in no man's land, keeps on soldiering on, gets into second placing.
The data suggests that I reckon he is stronger than the kennelmate Liddell, and although Liddell will be going through to lead, it veers off the track. So if Naradan can just miss the start enough to let the kennelmate push off, I think this dog's going to be mighty, mighty hard to beat.
And that was Expedite leading, who is in this race from box number 6. But I wanted to take a look at Liddell's last start, because from box number 2 showed a huge amount of speed. 497, I said that is a magical 5-second barrier, and we're going to see it here. It just comes out flying. So I don't think Naradan is going to bother us too much early. While we do head up the track a little bit, I think that'll be in front of the 2 Naradan, and we should be off and gone. These sort of splits that Liddell was setting, they're top line splits. They're, as you would say after a race call, Jim, group level splits.
They are.
Can we talk about these splits just quickly for a second, just for the people watching at home that might not know? You talk about breaking that 5-second barrier to the first split. This dog, there's a little bit of racing.com coming through, has gone 4.95. That is flying.
Yeah.
How does that sort of split line up to the Melbourne Cup standard of time that these dogs need to run?
It would be enough to lead the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, Intrepidus went 4.97 last week, so very similar split. Got itself into the Melbourne Cup. Liddell here is into a maiden final running those sort of splits. So I know there's a lot more to it. There's quirks, there's traits, there's stepping up the track.
But you need speed.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day,
you need the speed map to suit as well. I think the red's going to jump, want to use a little bit of the track. And to put that in further perspective, 5.04 Liddell went on debut from box number 7. Naradan went 5.12, which is 8/100ths behind, which is roughly a length and a quarter behind. So if they do what they can do, I think the red clearly lands over a length in front. They can switch positions. I've got no doubt Naradan is the better of the 2, and I reckon the Czechs is going to run this hot pot down.
And that's a good point you made there too. Let's talk just quickly while we've got a little bit of time on times and lengths. You say a second in greyhound racing is about 16 lengths, that 0.06 or so. So it's not a lot, but it's a big difference in that first split especially.
Makes a massive difference, doesn't it, Jim? It's one of those things that doesn't sound like much, but when you add them up and you end up winning by 10 lengths and you go, well, it's only 0.6 of a second. That's a lot.
I can't help but notice the little smuck type of grin from our man Mitchie Abayer over at the Plasma. Mitchie,
you mean all the way over at the Plasma that's definitely not standing right next to us?
No, he's not, yeah.
If I wasn't on this little platform here, Jim, you'd be looking straight over my head. So
well, what are you laughing at, Mitchie? You don't believe in Naradan in this next race?
No, I was just how the emphasis that you put on he's a classier dog. And I think you are right. I was going to pose the question to you guys that if you switch the boxes 1 and 2, I think Naradan's probably $1.80 in this and just probably walks in. But I think that they can find each other early. I reckon the 1 wants to shift up, the 2 wants to cut down. I think the Massiners wouldn't be 100% confident going in thinking we might not get the clean running that we want.
I reckon they will. I reckon they'll separate nicely. Just noticing too, Dallas Massiner, she hasn't been here for the heat or the semi to handle. She might have been here, but she didn't handle. Chelsea, her daughter, has handled both of these greyhounds throughout the series, Liddell and Naradan, and that excites me because she's picked the quicker one, I reckon. She's gone with number 2, Naradan.
This is the sort of stuff that you do to Bert. He handles and then you just come in for the big finals. But there are a few other dogs in this race that are a big chance in it as well. General Frankie, I've got a massive opinion of, probably still learning his craft. Expedite will want to head across to the rail as well. So there's a few dogs in this that do have a chance outside of those 1 and 2.
Do we want to try and buy a dog here on the panel? Because I think Dr. Babette from William McMahon's going to be a real, genuine, handy stayer moving forward. The data, the GRV race data, where they have the GPS in their rug, the sectionals in the run home that she's produced in 2 starts are top shelf.
Well, you tip enough winners tonight, and we might be able to.
I still don't think we could afford that dog, to be honest.
All right, well, let's head out to Jason Adams, who's trackside now.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. And look, this is a pretty even contest, as we know. Now, we want to get the word from the camp. Now, Chelsea Madigan, which one is better between these 2, firstly?
Oh, I probably couldn't comment. They both go pretty good, so hopefully they don't get tangled up together and,
Well, that's the question. I mean, there's concerns there that they might get tangled up. So what do you guys think about what's going to happen in that first 50 metres?
Well, he always goes to the rail, so hopefully she can get out in front and miss it all. Yep.
And what happens after that?
Well, she's gone good the last 3 weeks, and so has he. So, hopefully they can keep going.
Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, there's the top 2 in the market there. Now, Bill McMahon's down here. You guys have spoken about Dr. Babette and the motor of which she seems to have. Is that something you've seen from her through an education point of view, that she can really run late?
Yeah. Just the box manners and early pace is the problem, Jace. You know, she's just learning. She'll be a lot better for the experience, you know.
Place hope?
No, I wouldn't be going that far.
Good luck.
Thanks, mate.
Bill McMahon there, guys, ahead of the maiden final, race 3 on Melbourne Cup night.
We're not too far away as they get behind the boxes here. Mitch Abaya, final thoughts on the market?
Yeah, Liddell is your favourite, $1.95. Naradan's now $3.30. Sportsbet One Flamer. General Frankie $5.50. $11 now expedite out from $7. And then we get out to, well, the big prices, $41 for the 3. Dr. Babette, $27. I like it each way. You'll get $27, $3.30 the drum. You can click on more places on your Sportsbet app or internet site and you'll get $2.05 for a top 4. I reckon that's a great way to play, but Dr. Babette for me.
I don't reckon there's a need to go top 4 if you're backing Naradan. I reckon only on top number 2. I'm 2-1-6-7. I am concerned about the kennelmate Smithy, but I am keen on Naradan to run a big race here in the Breeders.
Never short of confidence you are, but I'm also confident on Liddell, named after the UFC Hall of Famer, I would assume. So hopefully I'll deliver a knockout blow here against you, Jim. But let's head up to Dan Hibbert. I'm looking forward to the call of this one.
And big odds the other 4, headed by Dr. Babette, who's been placed in both the heat and the semi-final and was second to Liddell in the semi last week, beaten 4 3/4. It is always a very popular race, this one, the GRV Vicbred Maiden Series. The green light is turned on and the lure's on the move. Set. Racing, and Liddell jumped well on the inside. Naradan straight to the rail. Liddell led easily 2 lengths early over Expedite. Naradan's going through now. Dr. Warren on the inside with So He Thinks. 4.92 if you don't mind to the first mark. Leaders flying. Back in the field was General Frankie. Last of all was Whoopi DeVere. Liddell is the leader. 3 in front. Naradan starts to close. Dr. Warren third. They're well clear on Dr. Babette, but Liddell's in front. Naradan can't get it. Liddell burns some clock and wins it by 2. Naradan, now Dr. Warren, and fourth across the line, Dr. Babette making ground. Then came So He Thinks, Expedite, General Frankie, and Whoopi DeVere, and it's electric run, 29 and 23. But how about that first split? That's 4.92. That's down here for Fernando.
That it is a serious performance from Liddell and Dallas Messina. How good was that? I mean, you knew she had speed, but something like that, 4.92, roaring.
Yeah. Look, we've had big raps on her at break-in. She had a little problem, you know, we had to let up on her. We've seen this race 3-4 months ago and we thought, you know, we'll hold her, we'll keep working her, but she's a super little bitch, she really is.
So what's the ceiling look like? For a greyhound like her, she's doing it all, she's announced herself on Melbourne Cup night. What's next?
Oh, I don't know. We just get through one run at a time with her, see how she pulls up. Yeah, like, she's a super little bitch. She really is.
Pretty cool to do it on Melbourne Cup night?
Yeah, it is good. Yeah. Real good.
Good job. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Dallas Messina there, guys, after Liddell's absolutely lit up this joint in the 3rd on Melbourne Cup night.
Well, hey, lads, that dog it might just be in the wrong race tonight.
Yeah.
That is electric.
It's ridiculous early speed, isn't it? It's enough to lead and probably win the Melbourne Cup tonight. Those sections, I reckon, if Liddell at start number 3 could have done that in the Melbourne Cup, Smithy, she might have taken home the holy grail of greyhound racing.
I have no doubt Phoenix slot holders, there's still 4 slots remaining, Jim. I have no doubt they are just thinking, do we show a little bit of fortitude and go for a greyhound that's only had 3 starts? Wow, she's fast was going into the 7th start into a Phoenix. Those are group splits, as we said. And I was right, Jim, and I want to hear you say.
Yeah, you were right. You got this one right. Just on that 492, a lot of people will say she's too young, she's too inexperienced to go in a Phoenix. When you're running 492, you are going to be leading. You might not see another dog. You don't know how good the dog is running second. Yeah, that was phenomenal.
So to put that into context, that's a length faster than the fastest split from the Melbourne Cup heat winners last week.
To the first split in the first, 80 metres. Yeah, that was breathtaking. The Massinas, aren't they in form? I mean, 2 runners in the series. It's a 3-week series and they go 1-2. They are 2 dogs that are going to be worth following for the next 12 months. If you're backing next year's Melbourne Cup winner right now, like you do an AFL Premiership or something like that, you're backing this dog to win next year's Melbourne Cup.
Obviously, plenty of water to go under the bridge, and we can get carried away in the moment.
Oh, I
But
love
that
getting
was-
carried away.
We all do, Jim. But that was incredible. Those sort of first splits, that dogs just don't do that. If that can continue through the career, we're seeing something special.
You don't want to say water under the bridge. We let's get carried away about this tonight.
Yeah,
Well, what have we just seen? All right, let's head to Ascot. This is the Jungle Dawn Classic over in the west. 6-17-2 and a photo over in the west. Taropa gets the job done at a big price, knocking off a few of the more favoured runners there. We're not too far away. Well, actually, the next race over at Ascot will be the Group 1 Whittam Bottom as well, so don't go anywhere. There's plenty of Group 1 racing right across the channel in the greys and with the thoroughbreds. We're not too far away now from race number 4. Let's head across to Mitchell Bayer with the latest from Sportsbet.
Yeah, race 4 already. Who would have thought it goes this quick? I tell you what, the crowd's building up outside as well, which is absolutely fantastic. Let's have a look at the market. On the prowl is your favourite, $2.60 into $2.20. Robinson, $13 on opening, now $6. Sparring 6 out to $6.50. $6.50 also for the 6 resisting. Drawn beautifully last week, not so this week. $7.50 for the 10 flat out Freddy and the 2 gold tag, and $13 for the 3 Lissy's Demon. Let's roll over to the Black Book. Sportsbet Black Book, you can see Tim Zoo's name there. You'll get a notification when your greyhound that's in your Black Book is running. You can add all your favourite runners and get a reminder when they are going to be entered. So this is one of the great functions. If you like something that's trialled well, you might want to throw in Liddell there or Naradan, some up-and-comers. Use it wisely. It's a great tool. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call that number on the screen or visit the Gambling Help online website.
James, Corey, time to have a look again at the speed map. Geez, we've seen some electric early speed tonight just quietly, and are we going to see it in this race as well?
Well, I think we were. Off the chart is arguably the quickest dog, maybe up until we just saw what Liddell did in the previous to the first mark, and he's been withdrawn from the race, so that's the 7 as we see at the top of the speed map. On the prowl, another who can go forward off the inside. Lissy's a Demon, not necessarily a great box dog, but does accelerate. Resisting number 6 has early speed. And this dog out in box number 8, Robinson, I know the Manalitz's family pretty well, and they've always had a big opinion of this youngster. He's had 6 starts, 4 wins, and when he hits the start, Smithy, he comes out like a jet.
This is one of those races that's changed complexion massively after these scratchings, and it's a race where there's a few dogs that have some quirks. One I wanted to highlight here was Sparring from box number 6, goes hard left. This is 2 starts ago at the Meadows. Last start came to Sandown Park from the inside draw, and he was where he wanted to be. He goes now to box number 4. Is he going to put some pressure on the likes of Gold Tag, Lissy's a Demon? Can he get to on the prowl and cause a little bit of carnage in the early stages? You see him straight away here at the Meadows. This is a different gravy, this sort of race. This is a tougher race. This is a tougher draw, and I think he's going to find it difficult, but he may set up the race for a few dogs drawn off the track.
That is interesting because initially I had the 7 off the chart on top, but his expense coming out, I thought, well, Robinson then becomes the number 1 tip. I think the outside brigade are going to get their chance based on what you just said there with Sparring, but a greyhound like Resisting, it's a bit of an enigmatic young sprinter. She's clearly got a motor. What do you make of her drawn out there in 6?
Yeah, I don't love the draw from 6 out there. I think that the fact that Sparring is in 4 is going to create a little bit of room. Flat Out Freddy, though, going into the race in box number 5 rather than Lakeview Lynette completely changes the prospects of those drawn out wide. I had Lakeview Lynette originally as one of my value plays of the night. I thought that the 6, the 7 and the 8 would all take each other on out in front. Lakeview Lynette would keep a straight line in behind them, run around them. That's clearly not going to happen because of the scratchings. Same with Off the Chart missing out. But I think Flat Out Freddy is going to have a hard job trying to keep out the likes of Resisting and Robinson.
I'll tell you what, seeing the colour and seeing the crowd just behind us, there's a bit happening out and about. They're starting to warm up, and we're still a long way from the big ones yet. I hope there's some genuine stayers out there, some Bold Trease contestants, because this is going to be a big night.
Well, especially that fella we just saw the pictures of on the dance floor. We do promise there'll be more than one person on the dance floor as the night progresses. But yeah, it's a worry when you're hitting the D floor and it hasn't even got dark and race 3's just been run. But yeah, it's going to be a big night. The build-up's always immense and the atmosphere's always huge. And I think you can get a pretty good gauge on it now. There'd be, I reckon, at least 100 people just standing beside the track having a look at the track, and there's not even a race on. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a good turnout tonight. Weather at this stage, Sammy, looks like it's holding off, which is good.
It is, and that's a big plus because we've had plenty of rain around recently. Just quickly, while we've got a minute, for those who might not know, the dogs in the big races later, where are they now? Are they here yet? What time do these dogs get here early before the Group 1s?
They come nice and early, so half an hour before the first race is the cut-off for the kenneling. So they're all here, they're all in their kennels, they're all chilling out. And for anyone that's dealt with a greyhound in person, you know they're the laziest creatures of all time. It's a bit of a weird juxtaposition with them just coming out and being absolute speed freaks. They'll just be chilling out, they'll be relaxed, they'll be quiet, they're in the kennels now, and they just basically do nothing up until they get pulled out 15 minutes before they come out.
So nice and relaxed. I can vouch for that. I've had a few at home over the years, and they do like the couch more than anything else, don't they? So it should be interesting to hear that they get here so early before the first as well. That is nice and early. Just relax, just have a nap, enjoy. They get probably, when do they get back let out and do they start getting towards that race?
It's roughly half an hour before, 20 minutes before the race. The handlers or whoever it might be, the kennel rep go into the kennels and they receive the greyhound. They walk outside, they'll give it a little empty, put the rug on. That's where they get the GPS tracker put into the rug, and then they get the stir up. Probably 3/4 of a field will engage in a stir up, and that's the lure doing a couple of laps. They sit there and watch, and I tend to say that's like an AFL footballer running through the banner. Like that's the moment they go, we're here to play.
Oh, well, while we're talking about the Melbourne Cup, let's go to Mitch Bay and let's see the current state of affairs for the market. Mitch?
Yeah, the Melbourne Cup market is like this. Accredited's your favourite, $3.90. 2 Canya Mayhem at $4. 5 Dashing Slays, $4.80 into $4.20. Valenzuela's holding its price, $4.60. Intrepidus, who I know Patch Adams is quite keen on, is $9. Dacey's Rory's 12s. Poor Zuri, $17. Obviously out in box 6, had box 1 last time out in Sprightly Shan, 51 into 31. But your favourite as we speak, number 3 accredited, $3.90. But JVDM bet will give you around $6 or $7. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit the Gambling Help online website.
That market really remains really tight between those top 4, doesn't it?
I'd give you 10s on accredited, Smithy.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
10s?
I'll
take that.
Well, I'm just not going to pay out. I'll do a runner. But,
he'll give you the 10s. He just won't pay out. That's it.
Yeah, that's
I'll give you 20s. That's it.
Yeah, if it works like that. But no, look, I think he's unders. I think Canya Mayhem's the right price at around that $4 because he and Valenzuela are the two that are drawn to get good runs here, Sammy.
Yep, absolutely. He's going to be interesting, that speed battle, isn't it? We are getting closer to the next here at Sandown. This will be race number 4 as well, guys. Now, this is another final, a Vic Gray's series final. We're into the start of the better racing. And mind you, whilst the last one was only a maiden final, we obviously saw the track light up as well. Are we any chance of seeing the track light up in a similar fashion here?
Well, I think if Off the Chart was in the race, I'd say yes, in particular through the first few marks. Robinson's probably the greyhound with the engine room, I reckon, Smithy, to come out and do something really special, especially through the marks.
Well, to put it in perspective, the last race, 29.24 is what Liddell went. We've seen Robinson go 29.28. We've seen Resisting go 29.27. And these dogs still have full amounts of upside. We haven't seen the best of them yet, so maybe we see one of them announce themselves.
But the difference is Liddell, even in comparison to these more seasoned campaigners, would have been 2 lengths ahead of them at the first peg. And you can never underestimate how important it is finding the leader of a greyhound race. And that is why we're blown away with Liddell. So much so, I did a little bit of research. And she's in a league.
Did the research?
Is that the piece of paper that someone handed to you before?
There's not enough spelling mistakes for yours, I reckon.
Black Magic Opal, $4.90. Fernando Bale went $4.90, $4.91. Yoda Bale, $4.91. Purcell Bale, $4.92. Sharapova Star, Starline Express, Striker Light, all at $4.92. Sammy, Liddell tonight joined the top shelf. Excellent greyhounds of the past and did it in start number 3 to the first peg. She's going to be a megastar.
So maybe that was the horse we should have talked about buying. Dog.
Possibly.
It's
Smithy did.
They're like little horses, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They run like horses. Tips here for this one?
1, 8, 10 and 6 for me on the prowl on top. I'm a little bit concerned about the railers drawn to the outside trying to get across, but I'm hoping on the prowl can balance up and go bang. Robinson looks hard to beat. Flat out Freddie, where does it get in the run? 1, 8, 10 and 6 for me, Jim.
I'm 8, 2, 1, 3. I think Robinson's going to have to come out with the wheel spinning. Mitchie Abaya, last minute market movers.
I'm with you, Jim. Robinson, but been really well backed. Has Robinson, $5.50 into $4.80 now, $1.95 for on the prowl, and $8.50 for Lissy's a Demon. But the money's coming for the 8, Robinson. Jimmy likes it.
Some of the juveniles, the future stars of greyhound racing going head-to-head here in the Super Vic Grey Series final. $12,000 to the winner. Here's your caller, Dan Hibbard.
fourth of the night. The Super Vic Greys, 12,000 to the winner of this race. And they're all in. The green light is turned on and the lure is on the move. Set to run race 4. Favourite in red, ready. Set, racing on the prowl, jumped pretty well. Good speed out from Lissy's a Demon and also flat out Freddie, but on the prowl will lead. Robinson stuck out 4 wide into the first turn. Resisting was trying to save ground, got a slight check with Gold Tag, and Sparring's at the rear of the field, but on the prowl is away. 6 lengths in front now over Lissy's a Demon, and flat out Freddie round the outside gets to second. Robinson's trying to run on, then came Resisting, but it's all on the prowl. On the prowl by 6 lengths on Gold Tag. Flat out Freddie and Sparring. Robinson, Resisting. Lissy's a Demon at the rear. Hot Gallop 29 and 21. Number 1 on the prowl, charging through along the inside, held the lead, goes 5:03 to the first mark. 18:65 and 10:55 on the way home. 29 and 20 is the run. 1, 2, 10.
Decent run it was. On the prowl, gets the job done from box 1 and James Prosciutto. I mean, probably exactly what you wanted to see, wasn't it? Particularly from the draw.
Yeah, mate, absolutely wrapped it. He used the red to his advantage and begun and just got through it safely.
How does he compare to Off the Chart? It was unfortunately scratched from tonight's race.
Yeah, Off the Chart's probably got a lot more speed, but On the Prowl is stronger. Mate, just wrapped, he got up and he's put the time on the board too, so we'll see what happens going forward.
How quickly do you step him up into good races?
Oh, I think they show it if they're ready for it. Yeah, tonight probably wasn't, I don't know, mate. It's a good question. You have to ask Dad.
You got Without a Trace ladder on the Bold Trease. She's had a good week and looking forward to seeing her step out.
Yeah, mate, she's had a good week. She's freshened up real well. She pulled up after the run real good. And fingers crossed, she can just get through it safely, get around him and see what happens, mate.
Good job, mate.
Thanks, mate.
There we have it, guys. James Prosciutto after the win of On the Prowl, going 29-20 if you don't mind.
Well, that's another really slick time, isn't it, lads? This is a pretty sharp track. We're seeing some nice dogs.
Nice dogs, fast dogs, but I guess as well, look, that was an outstanding win. Blew away a really good field. Sections were outstanding. 5:03, off the back in 18:65, 29-20. So overall, Smithy, the odds-on favourite, you just love backing favourites, by the way. The odds-on favourite gets the job done, but the reason we're not yelling out Phoenix, Phoenix, Phoenix for this dog is because of that first section. Although it's red hot, it's still nearly 2 lengths behind what Liddell went in the previous.
That's really good sectionals.
Yeah.
What Liddell did previous was really
Breathtaking.
great sectionals. So there is a little bit of a difference, and it can sometimes be half a length difference. We've seen about a length and a half in that first split, around that sort of mark. That can be make or break in a greyhound race, and we see On the Prowl there is going to have a big future, going to win plenty of races. City class, absolutely. Whether it's group class, it needs to show that on a more consistent basis. So that was the fastest first split that it has set to date. If it can continue that, and the Prosciutto camp's on fire at the moment.
Aren't they?
If it can continue that, then it's going to have a big future.
I might not be tipping that many winners tonight, but I did say about a month or two ago that the Prosciutto camp have got arguably the best young kennel of dogs in the country. And to think they're sitting there with one of the genuine contenders in tonight's Bold Trease and arguably the number 1 stayer in the country, plus all of these sprinters. And let's not forget, Off the Chart was scratched from the race. So he would
was
have
the
been,
number 1 seed.
He was their number 1 seed going into this race. So, yeah, they are airborne, the Prosciutto family. Great family as well. We've got to know them on the racing.com coverage over the last few weeks, and bang, they win another feature. And you know what's funny? I had a little wager on one of their dogs that they've moved on to another trainer earlier today. Had box 8 in the first at Ballarat. I thought everything the Prosciuttos are doing just wins. It ran 3 lengths last.
So they're better judges than you are, is that what we're saying, Jim?
Yeah, that's not hard. So are you tonight, Smithy.
Thanks, just
Mr. Favourite.
Just for tonight.
Hey,
Well, he's got you covered. 3-1.
Odds on Smithy, we call him.
Well, only one was.
Don't go broke backing winners.
True.
All right, let's take the opportunity now to look a little bit further into the night again for the big Group 1, the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup. A little bit earlier in the night, Jason Adams caught up Lisa Delbridge, co-trainer of Paul Zuri.
Now, Lisa, your girl, Paul Zuri, lines up in the Melbourne Cup tonight. We know it's a big occasion. There's a lot of people here tonight. How's she going to handle the experience?
She's been around the traps for a fair bit now. She'll handle it good as gold. I mean, she's no fuss. Race day. She knows what she's got to do. So she's got that. She's by Christo, which is he was always a big professional when he got on the track. So I think it's thrown into her.
And the race itself, I mean, she's come up with a draw, which you're probably not that happy with, but you're optimistic she can cause an upset?
Yeah, well, out there, it's a bit hard. But, you know, you dream to dream, and these races, anything could happen. So just depends how she gets out, how the other dogs in the field go, and see what she can. She'll make her own luck if she can. So fingers crossed.
Go well.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Racing.com's coverage of the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup. We've seen some fast greyhounds go around tonight, and on the prowl, that is your winner of race number 4, running a pretty good time as well. It's been quite a night. So we've seen some really good times, and on the prowl, second odds on favourite, but we've seen some good dogs winning. And this one trained by the Prosciutto team, and we're lucky enough to be joined by Pete Prosciutto. And Pete, that's nice to have a winner there, but you've got the favourite in the big one, the Bold Trease, a little bit later for the Stayers.
Well, he got us off to a great start. I was hoping for that tonight, so hopefully that flows on for the rest of the night for us.
I'm not sure if we can pick it up in the microphones. There's plenty happening behind us as well as the crowd starts to really get wild here. So so apologies if you're getting any of that, but it is starting. If you're not down here and you are close enough, it is really starting to kick off. So get down here. Pete, so you went around without a trace last week. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get the job done over Aiden's Warrior. Can you turn the tables?
Well, I'd like to think so. I mean, I think last week was a pipe opener for her, more than anything. Look, it's great to win your heats, and she didn't win her heat. She ran second. She's qualified for the final. You know, that was a great pipe opener for her for the final, I think. She's pulled up fantastic. She probably feels better. She feels more upbeat this week than last week. So, I think she can turn the tails, but, you know, they're dogs and they're not machines, so we just have to cross our fingers everything goes right.
Suggesting last week's a bit of a pipe opener, just going through her form, mate. She raced in Sydney, went super up there, took home the Group 2. Then she had nearly a month off before coming back to Victoria Meadows, getting the job done in the Top Gun, and then coming here last week. So she's been sparingly raced. Is that by design, or is it just the fact that it's hard to get a race for a stayer that's so high quality?
No, it's by design. I mean, she tends to be that type of a race dog that just seems to go better fresh. Like leading into last week, she had 2 weeks between runs. So that was her preparation into last week, and that was the same preparation in the Sydney, more or less. And you know, I think she went better in the final in the Sydney Cup. So I expect her to go better tonight. But like I say, you plan for everything, but you just hope it all sort of comes to fruition.
Aiden's Warrior, obviously a bit of a threat. You've got as well Fade to Black. Aiden's Warrior, though, in particular, I feel he's got maybe a little bit of a better mid-race turn of foot than Your Girl, but Your Girl's got the speed where she can spear the start, get to the front, and if she leads, she's near impossible to get past.
Yeah, I think she was working home well last week at the end. Couldn't get around early, so probably caught 3 and 4 wide going in the first corner.
Do you want to get ahead of Aiden's Warrior this week?
I think ideally that would be the best thing. I mean, I'd probably feel more relaxed through the run if she did, but you know, she's shown in the past she can come from behind. I'd like to think she's going to be in the top 2 or 3 early. Possibly lead, and if she does, she'll be hard to beat.
I think she's going to be very hard to beat. Do you pinch yourself, mate? Because the last couple of years, you had Idolise a few years ago, who sort of put the Prosciutto name, I guess, onto the big scene, and the last 2 or 3 years, in particular, the last 6 months, your kennel, mate, they have gone from strength to strength.
Look, it is, and it's. I mean, you know, you get support from owners, which does help, and they're fast dogs, like the last winner on the prowl. Off the chart, who's probably the quicker one out of the 3. Simply stunning the other night, one at the Meadows, and they're fantastically bred dogs. I hooked on Scotches. I just can't believe he's throwing some fast dogs. I mean, probably underrated stud dogs. So there's a lot of fast ones of his going around. So look, I'm pitching myself, but it's great fun, and we're just going to enjoy the ride for now.
And you do it with the whole family. We know you can get a little bit emotional when we chat about the family involvement in the sport, but everybody's involved. It's not just you training the dogs. It's Nat, it's Jim, the whole crew. They're a part of it.
We were up in the morning. Well, Daniel especially, the young one, he works as well, but he's up in the morning with us and he helps out. James does his part, which is a fair bit. He handles when he can, and but he does a fair bit. And Nat, obviously, we've been together a whole lifetime, so she's supported me right from 40 years we've been doing this. So
and she's chief catcher, isn't she, Nat?
She's
generally
a chief catcher, but yeah.
You pay her the $10
work
at the
way
end.
up as a trainer now,
The $10 at the end for a catching fee. Does she still charge that?
No. I should bloody pay her, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you should. Should be looking after her. But talk to me about tonight, mate. What are the expectations? You've got the favourite in the Group 1. You've got the belief as a trainer. The last 4 years, 5 years have been phenomenal. Does that give you a bit of a kick to go in here and say, yep, we can get the job done tonight?
Well, yeah, when you've got the quality of dog that you've got in a race like this, yeah, it does give you the confidence. But then again, I mean, they've still got to perform on the night. So yeah, confidence is there. I trust her to do what she does, which is she's consistent. She's an honest chaser. So I expect nothing less tonight.
Group 1 Top Gun winner just recently. You'd be running out of fingers to count your Group 1s on now, wouldn't you?
Oh, I've still got a few more to go.
What are you up to, 4, 5?
No, only 2.
Is it only 2?
Only 2, but you know what?
I was adding tonight.
It wasn't that long ago. I just thought it'll never happen. Yeah. And I keep saying it to everyone. I just say resilience in this industry is important. You can't let go. You can't give up. You get knocked down. You got to get back up. And I think that's the key to success in anything, but more so in this game. So you can have your hard days, and when it comes off and you're having fun like we are at the moment, it's great.
Just in wrapping, Sammy, I want to find out, because he's got arguably the most exciting kennel in Australia right now, young kennel. Off air, we had a little bit of a chat, and you were suggesting that although On the Prowl was outstanding, the greyhound that you had to withdraw off the chart may well have given him windburn. I think was your words early.
Yeah.
Who's the kennel dog to follow moving forward?
Look, he is. I don't think we've seen anywhere near the best of him at all. Like, I just don't. His splits that he's been running, is elite. I don't think there'd be a dog that can go with him at the moment. That's what I believe. But he's had problems, and it's something they've got to work through now to get him up. The Silver Chief's coming up in 2 weeks, and that's the aim right now. So I'm hoping that he will be right. He could have probably could have risked him tonight, but I just felt he's too good a dog to risk, and get him right for the Silver Chief is the aim. So, but he is one. He's a ripper. He's a cracker of a dog.
Exciting times ahead, Pete. Wish you all the best tonight. There'll be plenty riding on her in the Bold Trees. Yep. Going outstandingly, so good luck. Time now, though, to head across for a market for the next. It's a John Dillon Memorial with Mitch Bayer.
Yeah, race 5, first leg of the quaddie, and hasn't this one been absolutely moosed? Miss Envy, $1.75. Let's have a look at the other runner. Sorry, now $1.85. $1.75 a second ago. $4 for Vincent Bale, number 2. He's magic, 5 out to $7. Probably drawn the wrong side of the track. 7 Compton Golds, $5.50 out to $8.50. $11 for the 4 Urana Xavier. 6 Vista Weird, 26 into 16. The punters thought that was too big a price. Poor Ike off box 5. Had box 1 last week. Is 14 out to $21 and $23 for the 3 Paul Barton. Not the worst at double figures. Same race multi. More places. You can have a same racer. You can use the more places function on the Sportsbet app. You select greyhounds to finish anywhere in the top half of the field at all Australian tracks. And I tell you what, this is one of the best going around. We saw it earlier, Dr. Babette to run top 4. It was about $27 overall to win, but top 4 was $2.05. So this is a great feature. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
All right, the Sir Don Gillen.
Yeah,
Who he is,
right.
Bob Dylan's cousin. Sir John Dillon Memorial, boys. Let's take a look at the speed map again. My question is, do you agree with the speed here?
No.
And he's, well, I'll let you take it. You tell us why.
What are they doing here, Sammy? I'm going to have a chat to Mitchie and his team at Sportsbet.
Get him down from his little pedestal.
Yeah,
Get him over here.
More or less just need Mitchie to go and have a chat to the crew at Sportsbet. Yeah. Miss Envy out 5 lengths last according to the speed map here.
Can I say something here, Jim?
You can.
So I did a preview during the week. If you click on the app, you'll see my preview for the race. I said to the crew, I said, this speed map is up you-know-what creek. I said, this is a joke, and they said, you know what, we're getting this from? We're getting it from GRV. So
they are too.
No, you know what it is? James has been potting me for tipping favourites tonight. He's about to tip a favourite, and they've said it's going to come out stone motherless because he's on it.
Let's look at her. Box number
far
4.
from
She
accurate.
almost leads a Melbourne Cup field in a race that was helter-skelter. Gets a massive check. Bang, bang, bang.
Outlast now.
Put right out the back of the blue, and then look at the way she hits the line from here. This is an elite run. I reckon she'll lead this race, so the run home, she'll be bursting clear of the field.
All right, so what we're saying is, who will we potting, GRV or Sportsbet there?
No, we won't. Definitely not either.
Let's
No,
head out trackside.
Mitch. We're potting Mitch.
We need to head out trackside to Jason.
Thanks, Sam, with Jackie Greeno, who's got Miss Envy, as she did last year when this girl was in the Melbourne Cup. And, Jackie, it just feels right for her to step up in distance at this point of her career.
Yeah, Steve's he's certainly thinking about stepping her up even up to 700 because he thinks she's that strong. So she's having her first run here out of the 600 boxes, so we'll cross our fingers and hope she does everything right.
So she hasn't trialled out of these boxes?
No, she hasn't.
Box 1's good.
That certainly helps.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, they're getting called into line, guys. We might leave it there and get back to you ahead of the John Dillon Memorial, the first of the big features tonight.
All right, Mitchie Abaya, what does the final market look like from Sportsbet?
Miss Envy, if you got any of the 240 earlier in the week, well done to you. I know Smithy's keen, I know Vandermart's keen. I'm also keen. $1.80. The punters have liked it. We're going to be in plenty of multis, and you can probably go one out in the quad. $4.80 out from $3.90 for Vincent Bale. You know what? They're the only two greyhounds in single figures. Get the $10 Urana Xavier off box 4, $10 for the 7 Compton Gold. How's this for a drift? He's Magic box 8, $5 on opening, out to $18. Absolutely unwanted. And Vista Weird's had a nibble 26 into 16. But all the rage is the red 175 and the Sportsbet 3-flamer.
I like her, Miss Envy. She leads them out to the boxes, and I think Smithy, she'll be leading them home as well. She's drawn beautifully. Last year in the Melbourne Cup Series, she was outstanding. She loves this time of year. She loves this track, and I think she's just going to be far too brilliant. I'm number 1, a special Miss Envy to beat the 2 Vincent Bale, who I think will tag her every step of the way. 5 Poor Ike, 6 Vista Weird to round out my top 4. 30 seconds away around that even money mark for Miss Envy.
Yeah, well, Miss Envy this time last year, we were talking about her as one of the best dogs in the country. Probably unlucky to miss out on a Top Gun, unlucky to miss out on a slot in a Phoenix. She's now crying out for this sort of journey. She's been over it over in WA. She's been good over it. As Jackie Greeno just mentioned, has never trialled out of these boxes, which can be a little bit nerve-wracking, but there's not a huge amount of speed drawn on her outside. Vincent Bale hasn't been nailing the start. Paul Barton, Urana Xavier, they're not speed dogs in the early races. So I think Miss Envy is going to be able to punch up, take the inside, and if she gets out in front, class will prevail. My numbers 1, 4, 2 and 7. I find it hard to find a reason for these wide runners to be able to get into the race. I'm honing in on the inside. I'm honing in on Miss Envy. She's my best bet of the night. Let's get this one home.
Yeah, she was outstanding last week. 5:01 to the first mark, which is within half a length of being the quickest to the first peg out of all of the Melbourne Cup heats last week, and she steps up to middle distance where they just don't show that type of speed. She should lead. She should be very hard to beat. 1, 2, 5 and 6 my numbers. Let's go up to Dan Hibbard. This is the Sir John Dillon Memorial at Group 3 level.
And he's won 11 of 11 races, and 5 of them have been over this trip. So they're getting set. First leg of the quaddie, the Sir John Dillon Memorial, the Group 3. It's a cracking field, and the favourite wears red. They're set. Race 5. Racing, Miss Envy jumped well on the inside. She pushes through. She leads. Vista Weird's on the outside. Railing through was Vincent Vale on the outside. Compton Gold between them. Poor Ike. He's Magic was next. Further back then to Poor Barton. And Urana Xavier's at the rear of the field. Miss Envy the leader. 2 in front. Vincent Vale closes in. Wider out Vista Weird. They're clear on Compton Gold. And then came He's Magic. But Miss Envy dropped into another gear. She's 3 clear on Vincent Vale. She opens up. And she absolutely bolts in. Miss Envy rolled away, and she won by 7 lengths. He's Magic's run second, I think. Third home was Vincent Vale. You're not going to believe the time in a sec. Vista Weird was next from Paul Barton, Poor Ike, and Urana Xavier, and she has just busted the clock, 33 and 59. Amended
that
to
is
33.
electric, boys. The best bet of the night lands. And how about when she put the afterburners on coming around for home?
Well, we were sitting here going, she's home, and then Vista Weird lobs second. We thought maybe he's a smoky to run her down, and then you saw the big V, Vincent Bale, who's probably in the twilight of his career. Smithy loomed a third. But the data last week blew up for this girl. She was quick early, she was strong home, hence she's come out and nearly broken the track record.
That was phenomenal. Just .02 outside the track record. She led, she was strong. Her mid-race pace that you just mentioned, Sam, was off the charts. I can't wait to see this one in terms of the data after the race, because Miss Envy, that was as professional, as impressive as you can see. And we know that dogs have been running fast times tonight. We know that Miss Envy is a special animal. But that performance, I think, exceeded all expectations.
You know what? I've got a case of the goosebumps right now. And you know why? Because I've just realised something. Miss Envy, we heard from Jackie Greeno pre-race saying that the Shinners camp are thinking maybe she could get to 700 metres. She will get 700 metres without a worry. She's just run home in 10.64, which is good for a 500 metre dog, let alone a 600 metre dog. And then she can split 5 flat to the first mark over the 500 metres. You put that together. The data last week was as impressive on GPS tracking data that you'll see of a dog getting beat, I reckon, since that they brought it in. She could be, and I know she's in the twilight of her career now, Smithy, but she could just about be unbeatable as a stayer, this girl.
If she can jump like that and she can run it out, maybe she'll be a little bit too brilliant for it, but the stats are going to tell her. The times are going to tell us that she's going to be able to run it on her ear.
Who could lead her out when she goes 5:01 over the sprint, over 700?
No, they're not going to. And to be fair, I know we're honing in on Miss Envy here. The runners in behind, they were impressive as well. Vincent Bale had his heart broken a touch. He was still good, and his magic was awesome as well, Sam.
We've been very lucky. There's been some very good dogs go around tonight. Now time to head across to WA. This is the feature, the Group 1 Winterbottom Overpass versus Joker's Grin. They'll call it a race in 2. It's going to be a belter. Let's get back here. That's Miss Envy we're seeing there in the Sir John Dillon Memorial. It was a really strong winner, nearly broke the track record as well. And I tell you what, we're on racing.com tonight, but we're here for the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup Greyhounds. And there's a good little segue here, because James Vandermaat, who's been with me on the panel tonight, headed out to tell a little bit of a story about Group 1 winning horse trainer Peter Moody, who most of us will know well, and Ned McDonald, a young, recently new Group 1 winning dog trainer who's also got a dog in tonight's Melbourne Cup and is aiming to be the youngest Melbourne Cup winning trainer if he takes it out.
We're at Group 1 winning trainer Ned McDonald's place to take a proper look at what it takes to run a greyhound property. And we've brought a man who knows a thing or two about running an elite kennel. I mean stable, Peter Moody. Moods, you've done it all in the world of horse racing. What got you involved in greyhound racing?
Oh, listen, it's just an exciting sport, and it's something that, listen, I wouldn't say I'm hands-on or anything like that, but I just love watching the dogs go around, and listen, I love it. But I'm the best owner Ned's ever had, because this is my first visit to his property.
Well, mate, since you've been an owner at Neddy McDonald's, he's now a Group 1 winning trainer as well. What's that, he's 65 behind you?
Yeah, around that. So we've won 65 between us. So I'm pretty excited to get here and have a look at his setup. And through my great mate Mick Bryant, who's done a lot of work with dogs and horses, I know there's a lot of crossover and similarity. So I'm looking forward to learning a bit here myself today.
Let's go catch up with Neddy. Well, here we are now with Mr. Group 1, Neddy McDonald. I've chucked the work boots on, mate. I'm going to do a bit of work here. I want to find out what it takes to run a greyhound property, and I've bought the apprentice, Mr. Peter Moody. What are we up to today, mate?
No, we'll just run you through a bit of an everyday routine of what goes on here and what we do to get the dogs up to the races.
All right, Neddy, so this is pretty vital to being a key greyhound trainer, is getting some form of exercise into him. As we can see, Moody's just sort of standing there and the dog's excited. Is this regular occurrence?
No, this is just, I think the biggest thing in this is you got to keep the animal happy. So going out here, we can have a little jog around if he wants, he can, type thing.
And this dog, his name's Pete, original name, owned by Pete Moody.
Kennel name Pete, yep, owned by Peter, and I've got a couple there, so I called one Pete and one Mood, so keep it nice and original.
One thing about keeping them happy is much the same in our caper, is it won't make them run faster, but if you've got happy, sound, healthy animals, canine or equine, they'll do their best for you.
onto this rotary walker. How long would they go on the walker for?
So they go on the walker for 40 minutes each.
Yeah.
Bit of controlled exercise instead of loose exercise.
So this is similar to what they do in the Gallops world, isn't it, Moods?
Yeah.
Treadmills, rotary walkers. What do we look at feeding?
My father always taught me, keep it basic, keep it simple. So they just get a full cup of kibble. We're actually that old school, we still feed in pounds and ounces. So they get...
just like the radio here in the corner.
Yeah, that's it. So they'd get about £1.5 in venison, and they would get 2 ounces of fat, which is just like sword fat.
Yeah, okay.
And he's racing tonight, this chap, so he gets a sardine on top.
We're oats and corn are the base of our feed, and we feed an additive feed, probably a bit like the kibble, that has your minerals and supplements that you want. So you're not adding powders and liquids a hell of a lot, and then we have to feed a fair bit of roughage as well with the horses, so they've always got chafs and hays available to them.
All right, fellas, I think I've worked out the key to being a Group 1 winning trainer. I haven't got there yet, but I endeavour to do that one day. Hard work. Are you surprised with what goes into greyhound training here, Moots?
No, not at all. It's quite extensive what we do in preparing these athletes, and like I said, equine and canine, I think there's a lot of crossover.
Well, you've had some success, some great success with horses that you've been able to get to that next level. Our man Nettie did that last week with a dog called Accredited, mate. That must have been a great thrill, just to tick that box as a Group 1 winning trainer. What was it like?
Oh, no, it was good. It was, yeah, it's what we do it for, you know. I've said it all along, it's hard to win any type of race, and if you can win a big one, it's just rewarding and humbling.
What did you actually feel through the first Group 1 win?
No, I've made it very clear. I looked like a jockey behind the boxes, because when he was coming back past the 600 boxes, I knew...
And he was 10 lengths in front.
I actually, pulled the big windmill out and give the box a bit of a slap, and I said, home you go, boy.
And Accredited leads all the way and wins the Hume Cup.
All right, that was a bit of fun, wasn't it?
It's very well put together, and you boys are having a bit of a laugh at my ankles, which were sticking out through the bottom of the pants, but it could be worse. I think I might have mentioned earlier in the coverage, I've got a bit of an ingrown nail and ingrown toenail, and I tell you what...
I think we're going too far for this.
No, I'm just going to say...
Keep that for your only
If you think the ankles are bad...
Sportsbet. The Cup Stayers race is on next. Let's go to Mitch Abayer, who's got a market from Sportsbet.
Yeah, second leg of the quaddie, and Jim, you know you need to wear socks before you put your boots on, mate, but Belair Ethel's been absolutely smashed. An up-and-coming star in the staying ranks, $2.10 in from $5.50. Jimmy said before, $5.50 was well overs, while the punters have agreed $2.10 is the price. Pass marks $2.15 out to $3.10 as a result. Poor Quinby, can it run out a strong 700? It's $5.50. $9 from Sevens is the one Rapido Spirit, your likely leader. 7 Magic Snowdrop is $12. $21 for the 3-star Stay. Miss Mary Jo's won at this sort of price before, $23, and $26 for the well-boxed King Ron, who should have won last week. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
All right, time to take a look at the speed map now. This is the stuff. It's not quite a consolation for the Bold Trease, but a lot of these horses did go dogs as well. I'm going to do that a couple more times. We'll
Second
count.
time of the night.
That's the drinking game that we're playing at home. Good luck getting through to the last. This speed map, Stayers race might not quite be as important as previously, but still very important.
Yeah, I think they've got it right in the sense Magic Snowdrop, Poor Quinby, Pass Mark, 4, 5, 7 respectively. They all go forward. Rapido Spirit's got more speed than what they're showing there. And Belair Ethel's the interesting one. Star Stay will flop out box number 3. We haven't seen Belair Ethel get up to 700, Smithy, but she's given the indication that she'll run it because she does hit the line really hard over 600, and she's probably going to lob a decent position. Before we get to that, just want to show you Pass Mark from last week, box number 4. He's a genuine front-running stayer. The sectional data in this race was actually really encouraging in the run home. Now, Sweet Sundown led, Magic Snowdrop up to second, Flying Envy third. Passmark's sort of the best of the big guns here, but just sort of running into a little bit of trouble, and I don't think it was all his fault. 2 rolled out Flying Envy, Magic Snowdrop came in, and he was the meat in the sandwich. Just gets held up at such a vital stage. Fade to Black gets the fly on him, draws to the front. This is a complete forgive run for the 4, and I don't think it was his fault, to be honest. He's back toward the tail, but what I did like, boys, the data told me that his run home was just about as good as any. Now, he shouldn't have been back where he was. Unfortunately, the way the race played out, he got a lot further back. I think he's going to lead tonight, and I'm so confident that he's going to run a big race.
Hashtag data.
Data.
All right, let's head out trackside to Jason.
Thanks, Sam. With Brendan Purcell and Bel Air Ethel. And Brendan, what we've seen from this girl over 600 metres suggests 700 is going to be a walk in the park. What do you reckon?
I'd hope to think so, but you never know until they do it. But, yeah, look, run home times have been very good, and she's showing that she wants to stay, but they've still got to do it. So, yeah, fingers crossed. If she does it, I think she'll be a nice stayer. But, yeah, we'll find out tonight.
You've had plenty of stayers in the past. What's your reservation? Is it sort of that they sort of finish too hard over 600 metres and not sort of be that one pace? Is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, it's sort of. I mean, they can sometimes... they'll run out the 600, but that extra 100, they just cannot get it, you know what I mean? And which is a surprise a lot of the time. But, look, I mean, her run-home time's saying she's got to get that extra 100, so, yeah, I'd be surprised if she doesn't.
And how do you rate the field she's up against tonight? She's been well backed.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're all seasoned dogs, and she's not. And they've been around heaps of times around this distance, so she's got to be able to, like, overcome that. But, yeah, look, I think the ability's there, and I think she'll stay. So, yeah, I think she's got a very good chance.
Good luck, mate. There's Brendan Purcell and Bel Air Ethel. Craig Solkin's got pass mark. I'll get on this side here, Craig. Now, for the Racing.com audience, for those tuning in or wherever you might be tuning in, part owner of this boy is Mark Alexander. Shout out to you, Marky. Part owns also here to Shock, who won the last at Caulfield this afternoon. Now, Craig, this boy's normally up against the best stayers in the land. You could argue that he's not against them tonight. What's your gut feeling the way he's going to perform?
Yeah, look, he had a hard race last week. You know, it's disappointing not to be in the big one tonight, but is what it is. So hopefully tonight goes a bit better and can step away and hopefully lead and see how we go.
Good luck.
Cheers, mate.
There we go, guys, ahead of the Cup Night stayers over the 715 metres.
As they approach the 715-metre boxes, let's head across to Mitchabaya for one last market.
Yeah, Bel Air Ethel still all the rage. Did touch $1.85 before, now $1.90. Staggering move from $5.50 when the markets open. Pass marks out to $3.10. $9.50 for Paul Quinby. More than doubled the price of opening from $4.60. Rapido Spirit, 7 out to $18. And $11 for Magic Snowdrop in box 7. But all the rage, $1.85 now for the 2 Bel Air Ethel.
Very, very short price for mine. Getting into odds on, a little bit of unknown at 700. The indication is she will run it. Your tips here, Smithy?
Yeah, I'm with 2, 5, 4 and 3. You can be forgiven for tipping a favourite when it's $5.50 into $2. I've got it on top, but this is a cracking race and you're with Passmark.
You are smart. Number 4, Passmark for me. I think he's going to lead. At worst, sit second and be very hard to beat. 4 from 2, 3, 8, and I'm half keen on this one. This is the Sportsbet Cup Night Stayers.
Sweet. Thank you. They're set to run. Ready? And away. Slow to go with Star Stay. Nothing new there. Rapido Spirit won the start. Leads Bel Air Ethel. And King Ron out wide. And now Paul Quimby pushes through. So does Magic Snowdrop. Passmark's following the inside running and goes right through now to second. Going deep there was Bel Air Ethel after that. It's gone back to second and third last. And Star Stay's going through along the paint. It's Paul Quimby in front of Passmark. Running on with Magic Snowdrop to the inside. Miss Mary Jo. Star Stay's really close here. Next was Bel Air Ethel. She's making some ground. Then King Ron and Rapido Spirit. But Passmark took the lead. Paul Quimby's trying to run on. So is Miss Mary Jo. But class is going to tell. Passmark in front. He's too good. 3 lengths Paul Quimby. Third Miss Mary Jo. Star Stay was 4th. Next in Magic Snowdrop. Bel Air Ethel. Next in from Rapido Spirit and King Ron. And the time is 42.03. He was the class runner in the race. And that's the way it proved in the end. He was strung up in a little bit of traffic in the early stages.
Somewhat of a consolation, Craig, to win a race like that.
Yeah, it is. You know, I'm happy for Mark and the owners and that. So, yeah, that's always very good. Got a bit of trouble out the boxes. They cut down on him. So he kind of spat back a bit, and I was kind of a bit worried, but he got a good run round. So, yeah, happy with that. And Jeff will be happy, Mark will be happy. So, That's the main thing.
They'll all be happy, and we know it's a kennel that's got a lot of good dogs, but he's just been the consistent warrior, hasn't he? He just doesn't put a paw wrong.
Yeah, no, he's been consistent for a very long time. Been in a lot of big races. Unlucky not to snag a couple of big races, but you know, it's really good for Mark, you know, to have a dog like that. So yeah, very good, and see where we go from here.
Go and get him, mate. Good job.
Cheers, mate.
Craig Solcombe there, guys, after Pass Mark wins the Cup Night Stayers.
And James, you had it on top, you claw one back, and that was the dog that, as you said, maybe should have been in the Bold Trease final.
Yeah, when you go through the stats, a winner of 22 races now, 76 starts, edging towards, in fact, with that run tonight, cracks $250,000, 15,000 to the winner, so 251K in the bank. You could argue got a little bit lucky here, but this is a greyhound that just knows how to win, and I don't reckon you can underestimate a will to win in greyhound racing. The red might have been a bit unlucky there for Justin Bowman.
Yeah, the red and 1 and 2 were both a little bit unlucky that they clipped off heels a little bit. They found themselves in a little bit of trouble, and the dog that ran the race upside down last week, Pass Mark, has done it again. He got that luck in the early stages when he needed to, but he showed his class. He showed he's a dog that just has a will to win, and he's going to put himself in spots in races that if he can capitalise, he will. And he did that there. Poor Quimby was a good run. Probably didn't quite run out the 700 as strong as the proven dyed-in-the-wool stayer in Pass Mark, but he's just a proper animal, Pass Mark.
What do we make of Bella Ethel? She was the heavily backed commodity, just did a bit wrong early. Do you forgive that first go over 700?
I'm putting a massive pen through that. She wanted off the track in the early stages. Listen to the boxes that she's had recently. 4, 8, 8, 6, 2. 886. She's been drawing off the track every single race. She comes over the 700 metres for the very first time, shifted up the track, which is where she's used to being in the recent times, clips off heels a couple of times, probably through no fault of her own, maybe through some fault of her own in one of those instances, but I think that's a complete forgive run. She will improve off that. She will be a proper stayer.
All right, another good one. Jesus, we've had a good night for the winners, haven't we?
Have we not tipped the winner of a race between us? No.
Between us?
If you, well, myself
including
and Smithy,
myself.
yeah. I tell you now, mate, this is why you tune into racing.com. You've got experts like myself. Smithy's just the rookie coming through.
You can tell he's just managed to drag his second on top selection home.
Third, I think, wasn't it? Third tonight.
Corey had the 4 from the first 5.
Yeah, I know, but Smithy's the $1.80s. I'm getting those $3, $4 shots, mate. If you're following me, I reckon you've made a few more dollars.
All right, guys, we're getting closer to tonight's feature, the Melbourne Cup. As we go to a break, David Gill, trainer of Sprightly Sand, caught up with Jason Adams.
Well, Dave, you're no stranger to winning a Melbourne Cup. Your girl, Sprightly Sian, she's here. Does she have a different mentality when it comes to this time of year, or she's sort of the same every time she rolls up to the racetrack?
No, she's the same, Jace. Even though there's a lot of cars out there, a lot of people, but she's just been the same as she normally would be if she rocked up here on a Thursday night. So, and she's the type of bitch too that I think that the big occasion, the place starts to rock and hum, as you lead up to the race. And she's the type of bitch that won't worry her.
And the race itself, the draw. I mean, she's a roughie. Can she come out and give him another shock like she did last week?
Yeah, she's a roughie. She's the slowest heat winner, as we all know. She's 5 lengths slower than the others. Box 4. So, yeah, there's a lot against her.
Welcome back. Melbourne Cup night here at the Sandown Greyhounds. And have a look at this. That's Pass Mark. It's better than a Pass Mark, that. Well done. Couldn't quite make the Bold Trease final, unfortunately, but takes a little bit of consolation.
Yeah,
what word I was trying
gets
to
a little
get
bit
out
of a
there.
consolation, I think, would probably be the way to do it. But I'm not the one to go to for the correct pronunciation. Even though I'm a race caller, I can speak racing okay, but...
You do it fast enough that you keep moving.
Yeah, I'm actually quite simple. But Pass Mark, look, no fault of his own last week. That's what I thought. Last week should have been in the Bold Trease, wasn't. Class rise to the top. The cream rises to the top in that occasion.
We've seen plenty of that happening. We've seen plenty of that happening across the night. All right, now, Sportsbet. They're obviously sponsoring the night. They're having plenty of fun out on track. Let's head out to SD, and he's got the grubs with him.
Very much there. This is magnificent. We've had 2 heats so far. You got to pad up, you got to put the helmet on and the gloves. You got to run through. The first 2 go through to the final where they've got to catch a ball for $10,000. What we have now is Dan Gorridge taking one for the team for the grubs. Dan, you warming up? Hammy's good?
No, not good at all.
Okay, fantastic. We could have an incident. Magnificent. Now we've had Flanners and also Hammy have a run through, and we're going to hand the mic over, and I'm going to say ready, set, go. We're going to get this thing going. You ready, boys?
Let's do it. Here we go. Dan Gorringe for a spot in the final. He's slow out of the blocks. I tell you what, over on the far side there with the bare feet, the young lady looks like she's our early favourite here, Flanners.
Yeah, I saw her limbering up in the mounting yard. She looked ready to go for this, and she's moving pretty quickly early.
A little bit of a clumsy handle on the pad here, just on the edge of the track. Gorringe, he's got 1 pad on so far. Remember, the first 2 go through into the high ball catching final, Flanners.
Yes, we've got most contestants with 1 pad on. Goz getting his 2nd one on now. And there's a couple not far behind him. He's got the helmet on now, Goz. He's moving towards the gloves. First glove is on. Moving at 2nd.
The young lady on the outside there, she's got 1 glove on already. 2nd glove going on now. The stewards are having a look at some of the technique in the middle. Off she goes. Gorringe, he's taking the mick. 1 hand in the air. He's going to go through to the final. We've still got potentially 1 spot to play for here, down to the pointy end. But the young lady, she's the first one through. Dan Gorringe is through to the final as well, Flanners.
It's a photo finish here. The last 3 contestants, one of them goes through to the final. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be the inside track? He's almost got his pad on. Lane 2, he's got his first glove on. He's looking for his 2nd.
It's pretty agricultural glove work. Here we go. He's nearly strapped it up. Here we go. He's got the RMs on down the middle of the track. There we go. There's our 3rd place, SD. Back to you.
Thank you, Hammy. Thank you, Flanners. Dan Gorringe, outstanding. Just grab your helmet and your gloves there, and you can just run on through. Grab your helmet and your gloves. Take all your package. That's what it's all about. Giving that they may have a bit of fun for $10,000. We have a final coming up after the next race. Does it get any better? It does. We'll be back with more.
Well, that was something to watch, wasn't it?
He's found his place, SD, hasn't he? Commentating that stuff.
I'm looking forward to seeing that final as well. But time for a break. One more break now.
Just on that, I think there could be a protest because of that young girl. She put the pads on without undoing the Velcro, and I think that's illegal. So there might be a protest on the first race.
All right, stand by. Lights on. We get in the stewards room a little bit later. But time for a break now here on racing.com. We are counting down race by race and not far away now to the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup. Welcome back. Sportsbet Melbourne Cup night here at Sandown Park. We thought the athletes were only going to be of the 4-legged kind tonight. Well, weren't we blessed with that sprint?
Yeah.
She's pretty happy with herself too.
And look at Dan. He's just pads are on a little bit.
He's just wondering where it all went wrong.
Well, he qualified. We heard last year, and I think it was last year, Palawa King, year before, in the lead up to the Bold Trees. Jack Smith, wonderful trainer, lives up in Forbes, country New South Wales, travels across the whole of Australia. Pretty much his motto is have dog will travel.
Yeah.
Goes anywhere for a race. Came down for a heat of the Bold Trees. We all thought he'd just be winning. He was like $1, I'm going to say $1.40, $1.50, and he gets beat. And anyway, comes out. He won the final the week later, didn't he? And Jack Smith, he said, well, it doesn't matter what you do in the heat. It's all about what you do in the grand final. And it was just something about old Dan Does Footy there, Dan Gorringe, that just said to me, let's just qualify, get through, and then when the chips are down, I think he's going to be very hard to beat.
Yeah, he was saving the hamstrings, wasn't he?
He was,
Kieran Perkins from lane 8 sort of areas. Is that what you're expecting?
Well, I think he's throwback.
Yeah.
All right,
you do that
guys.
sometimes, don't you? Yeah.
But the Cup Night Sprint is the next on the card. We're only 1 race away from our first Group 1. Mitchie Abaya, what a sports bet looking like with the market for this?
Yeah, this is a belter, this one. I tell you what, you said where did it all go wrong for Goz. I think pick 10 in the draft was part of that. But let's have a look at this here. Poor Oz old favourite, $3.30. Zipper on Times had some support, $4.50 into $3.80. My girl, Sharapova Star. Geez, she gave him a sight last week. $3.80 out to $4.50. $6 for Smooth Plane, my on top selection. I know Smithy's keen as well. $6 Nigel DeVere, $6.50 out to $8.50. Also $8.50 is the Wellbox Zelda Cavilla. $7 Deadly Avenger is $12 and $46 for poor Fabian DeLuca. Fast form. one of the key features of the Sportsbet app. Click on the race. You can see their fast form, place rate, early speed, in form, career records, you name it. It's all there to make it easier for you sitting at home or wherever you are having a play. But fast form, it's an easy-to-use icons to help you find a winner. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit the Gambling Help online website.
All right, boys, the Sportsbet Cup Night Sprint. We're going to take a look at the speed back now, but this is essentially a little bit of a consolation for those horses, dogs, who didn't quite make it. It's 3. Geez, you're going to be drunk. If you're on the tequila for the horses v dogs. All of these dogs went around in the heats last week.
Especially if you're on the tequila every time I tip a winner. Or Smithy, I tell you what. We're going to be loose by the end of the night. But race number 7. Yeah, Sharapova Star, I think she's clearly the speed dog. Poor Oswald's going to get a nice run through. We need to straighten this ship up for a moment. And I did say ship. Zipper on time speed. Take it away, Smithy. What do you think?
This could be the first time ever that it's been thrown to me to straighten up this ship. That speed map is just about spot on. There is a huge amount of speed in this, and we're seeing it.
Poor Oswald.
Jim, with
Yeah.
Oswald.
Stuck on the outside of Sprightly Sian. It cost him the race here last week. Look what Sprightly Sian did. Just sort of laid into him. I still feel like he should have won from here, and that was the only concern I had going into tonight. Second to that, I think the GRV grader needs a little bit of a clip around the ears on this occasion, because I feel Tribeca and Mally Beauty, maybe we needed 10 boxes out on the Sandown track for this race, because to leave them out just doesn't feel right. And I feel like a greyhound like Poor Fabian probably doesn't deserve his place ahead of those dogs. But it is what it is. What do you think of Poor Oswald just on that replay?
I think he's arguably in career best form. I think he's a Group 1 winner. I know he was a little bit plain there, but he's used to leading. I don't think he's going to be able to lead in this one. I think Sharapova Star is going to punch up on the inside. Zipper on time. Nigel De Vere, they've got speed as well. But I wanted to take a look at Smooth Plain here, because Smooth Plain is a dog that he's going to get back in the field. He's going to sit off the speed, and if all those speed dogs take each other on, then he's going to be rattling home. That's the way that I see it.
I think he can, Sammy. This is the biggest danger to my tip, number 2 in this race, Smooth Planey. Nothing went right. A little bit like Passmark last week. Wasn't necessarily his fault. The good news is from Team Daly, Team Formosa, Team Corey Heinrich, whichever way you want to look at it. We were getting murmurs that last week might have been his last race start. They have confirmed that if the option presents, they will head Phoenix bound after
you heard it here first.
Yeah.
All right. Let's head out to Jason, his trackside.
Thanks, Sam. And can I have a chat with Joe Borg, who's got Deadly Avenger. Now, Joe, we sort of put the acid on him last week, given we didn't quite know what to expect. He went around, obviously wasn't successful. Was he better for that run ahead of tonight?
Look, he made a crucial mistake coming out of the boxes. He headed right and he clipped into Giacomo. And they both shut themselves out of the race. There was no run on the rail. He was last out of the turn and still run a creditable 5th. Today we've drawn probably a little bit awkward in 7 and all the paces on the inside, so just need a clean run into the first turn.
Good luck, mate.
Thank you.
All right, there's Joe Borg. We might go for a wander here and head over to Luke Thompson, who's got Zipper on time. And this is a greyhound that, look, a lot of expectations being put on her. She went around last week and it didn't all go to plan. Luke Thompson, what's your gut feel on the way this girl's going at the moment?
Oh, look, she was still pretty good last week. Just had the wrong dog sit in behind her. Probably didn't jump as clean as what she can, so she'll need to do everything right tonight. It's a pretty hot race from a middle draw. Yeah, she'll need to be pretty good.
Good luck. Luke Thompson there with Zipper on time. Scored so gallant last week before being run down by Valenzuela. And I tell you what, guys, the assignment certainly doesn't get easier in this one.
Geez, you've got to love this late time insight from Patch Adams out on the track. They're getting behind the boxes. Amici Abaya, what's the final market looking like?
Yeah, Old Stilts Abaya over here. 2 Poor Oswald, 340 into 250. It has been well backed, and I reckon the punters are tuning into the great man JVDM. 250 Sportsbet 2 Flamer. Zipper on time. Well, it was $4 a second ago. Now it's $5.50. 1 Sharapova Star will lead, $6.50. 3 Smooth Plains, $7, holding its price. I'm pretty keen, as is C. Smith. I reckon he can get up at that price, and $14 for the 6 Nigel De Vere.
Okie dokie, the Cup Night sprint, Smithy. I'm with Poor Oswald, number 2, 2381, but I'm going to be honest with you, I've had a little place bet on Smooth Plane as well. He might let them go and then try and run them down.
Speed, and more speed in this one. 1, 2, 5 and 6, all capable of running sizzling sectionals. I want to be with the strength dog. I'm with the old boy Smooth Plane. He sits behind that speed going into the first bend, and then he cuts loose down the back. Look out for Smooth Plane late. Let's head up to Dan Hibbard for the Sportsbet Cup Night Sprint.
It is an awesome Cup Night sprint field, and the favourite is number 2, Poor Oswald. Set to run. Ready, set, and away. Sharapova Star and Poor Oswald jump together. Sharapova Star will lead Poor Oswald early. Smooth Plane gets through to the third and is right behind them. Then came Paul Fabian. Next in the field was Nigel De Vere. Further out to Deadly Avenger making ground. Well back Zipper on time, and Zelda Cavilla's at the rear. Sharapova Star a length. Poor Oswald to the outside, running on Smooth Plane. Deadly Avengers making ground. Sharapova Star, Poor Oswald on the outside. Poor Oswald reads the lead. Fine, Deadly Avenger want to run in, but Poor Oswald won it. Deadly Avengers come from a mile back to run second. Third in was Smooth Plane, I think ahead of Sharapova Star. Next in was Paul Fabian with Nigel De Vere. Put Zipper on time, couldn't get into it. Zelda Cavilla was last. It's 29 and 30 the run.
Geez, he's a good dog, Poor Oswald, and Mark Delridge, despite him not being in the Melbourne Cup tonight. Geez, good performance in a good field.
Yeah, it was. It was just a matter of, wow, I thought the red would probably lead and hopefully he could posse up and hopefully run it down, which he did.
Is he the best greyhound in your kennel?
Oh, yeah, at the moment, yes, for sure.
Is he easy to train, given we know there's a lot of fast dogs around and sometimes they put it all together, sometimes they don't. More often than not, this boy does. What does that make it like training him? Is it easy, or just get him to the races and let him do his thing?
Oh, look, he's easy to train, as I'll do what I have to do at home, and then do what he has to do at the races.
Is there a feature race up next for him?
I'll take you to the Paul Wheeler races at Wentworth Park, but other than that, no, I'm not sure yet. As I said, he's pretty consistent. He's consistent in his races, so other than that, no, not yet.
Well, mate, for you, hopefully it's a start to a big night with, of course, Paul Zuri in the Melbourne Cup. Good job.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Mark Delridge there, guys. Poor Oswald. Geez, he's a consistent performer and in a very good field. He brings his finest work, 29.29 the time.
Well, Poor Oswald, he was knocked off by the outsider. Yeah. Stopped him from getting into the Melbourne Cup final. This is some consolation, but geez, he's run well here.
It's a small consolation when you think he could have been a real genuine player in the Melbourne Cup, and the fact he's been able to stave off Smooth Plane. Deadly Avengers run a cracking race. Huge. They got to Sharapova Star late. You just get the vibe what could have been with this dog, Poor Oswald, because how did he not run Sprightly's yarn down last week?
Absolutely. No excuses for Smooth Plane there. He lobbed in a really nice position. Deadly Avenger showed that he's getting back to what Deadly Avenger can do. That was a really impressive performance. Just got squeezed up as he was trying to take the run up the inside, but all credit to Poor Oswald. Similar sort of race setup as what he copped last week. Looks like he's learnt, looks like he improved, looks like he got better and got the job done this week.
Smooth Plane?
I think that may be him. That might be the old boy's last race. I think he got himself into a really good position. Smooth Plane of 6, 12, 18 months ago.
3 months ago.
Would have won that very, very comfortably. But I don't want to write him off because he's been such a good dog for such a long period of time. He's been an absolute star. He'll get his crack at stud, courtesy of Team Daly. But, yeah, he was a little bit plain there.
Did you hear of the commentary around Billy Brownless when he got Geelong into a grand final many moons ago, kicked a big goal? I think it might have been Sandy Roberts. Billy, you are the king of Geelong. They're screaming outside
I'm going to take
here.
that question on notice and come back and talk about that after we go.
No.
Back to Ascot for the very last, but I will come back to it.
Yes, please.
6, 2, 12 and 3 in the last at Ascot. Favourite goes down. I tell you what, if you got a bit of that first 4, you are doing very, very well for yourself. So no joy, Lady Boss. But 6, Thermosphere Lad wins at a big price for the Angela Johnston Yard. As we head back here now to Sandown Park, Sportsbet Melbourne Cup night. We're not too far away. We're only a couple of races away from the big one. And I've got the pleasure of introducing someone who I've known for a little while as well, and I'm very, very excited. Jess Hopkins, you've got a runner here tonight. Not only a runner, you've got one of the hottest favourites in. It's been a big year or so in racing for you. You won your first Group 1. Life's good.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
People have been asking, am I nervous? It's a different feeling. With Canya All Class, I always had the feeling people were wanting him to get beat. Whereas this dog is under the radar. No one really cares.
And we're talking about Canya Mayhem as well. I probably should have premised that a little bit better off the top. But you're a good heat winner. You were the second fastest heat winner as well behind Accredited. So you must come here with that little bit of confidence.
Yeah, he's pretty consistent early, which he'll need to be tonight. If he walks out, any dog's going to get beat if they walk out in this field tonight. So if he can run 5 dead again, he'll put himself right in the race.
Cranbourne Cup night, he's off an inside draw, the red there, and he just wanted to use a little bit of the track. And I reckon last week you would have been absolutely thrilled with the fact he looked like the Canya Mayhem as a puppy, where you said last week he wanted to get to the rail.
Yeah, it was a strange thing that he has gone through that phase of moving off the track a bit. So I can't be certain he's not going to do it tonight. It's the most pressure he's ever going to be under. But if he runs like last week, as you said, he did get room. Nigel gave him a bit of room, but if he can rail up, Sprightly Cyan and Dashing Slay should give him a good map. So hopefully he can punch up under them, and I can start cheering.
Well, you say that you're surprised that the horse didn't move out the way that the dog. The dog didn't move out the way that you thought it would. He's one of the least experienced greyhounds in this field as well. So you're still learning about Canya Mayhem as well. So it must give you a little bit of excitement that you haven't got to the ceiling yet.
Yeah, definitely. When he come back from Adelaide, Peter Jovanovic said, we weren't expecting to be here tonight. Looking forward to the Australian Cup and next year's Melbourne Cup. Threw him in the Cranbourne Cup and he went well. That was sort of the test to see if I'd put him in a Melbourne Cup. We're here, but he'll just keep improving. Touch wood, everything goes to plan. But mentally, I know he's 2 at the end of August he was, but mentally he's probably not even over 2-year-old yet. He's a big baby.
He's an up-and-comer. I know you had a big opinion of him from a pretty early age. You must be thrilled with the rise that you've had in the last couple of years. You've been backed by some big owners, including our man, Corey Smith, who's on the panel. And, of course, he purchased a share in Canya All Class, your first Group 1 winner. So, no doubt, he would have supported you again and bought a share in this boy.
Did he knock back a share?
Did he?
In Canya Mayhem?
Yeah, I was hoping to leave this till after, and if he won, bring it up. But yes, he did. This night last year, we were having a few beers after this night upstairs. You were up there.
I never got offered a share, though.
I think you were training one for us at the time, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
And Nick sort of said, Corey, do you want to share? We've got another one. He goes, really good. And he said, not at the moment.
My phone must have been broken when those phone calls were being made.
Well, I was here in person and the communication was broken on that occasion.
Yeah.
But on a more serious note, I like the map for him tonight. Valenzuela stepped beautifully last week to go with Zipper on time, but as a rule, doesn't show that speed. That's the red taken care of. You can cross the red, I feel. And Accredited, I reckon, will be looking to lean up the track early, in particular in the run to the first corner. So if your boy steps, he's gonna get a chance to win a Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, I'm more happy with the map with the 4 and the 5, hopefully keeping the outside dogs out. Hopefully Accredited does what you said, but he should. He should. So, I'm saying he should because you've said yes.
I can't wait for the post-race chat if she wins. Because
I will be cheering.
Last week, she didn't even let Jace ask a question, and she answered everything.
She talks well. Good luck tonight, Jess. I will be cheering, I promise. We are minutes away from the first Group 1. Let's head out to Jason Adams as he continues to set the scene ahead of the Bold Trease.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. This is a great race. I mean, it's not the richest staying race on the calendar, and nor has it been in the past, but it's been won by some absolute gun stays of the sport. We go back to 2012. The likes of Miata getting the job done. Not long after that, Fan of Bale, as she broke through the $1 million barrier for the first time, as the lights go out ahead of the first of the Group 1s here. We then fast forward to the likes of Tornado Tears, and as soon as Palawa King in the last couple of years. So it's not won by the faint-hearted, and we've got a ripping lineup of stayers to do battle tonight. So Without a Trace, obviously has the star status, the promise of which it takes to become one of those big names of which we mentioned. So we'll get another one join the honour roll for the 2025 Bold Trease, and we only have to wait probably about 5 or so minutes to find out who it is.
Head across to Mitch and see if we can get the latest market here ahead of the Bold Trease.
Yeah, cracking field this one, and the market Without a Trace is your current favourite, $2.80. 210. Let's have a look at that here now. See the rest of the runners. 380 for Aiden's Warrior. They're the two that they want, but without a trace, 210. Aiden's Warrior's 380. $5.50 for the two late night news. 3 fade to black is what the cameras have, well, the lights have just done outside. $8.50. They're the only dogs in single digits. $17 for the 7 Mapungalara. I think that's over. She was awesome last week. $19 for the 1 Payback. A Pillar, the South Australian dog, at $20, and Galactic Spartan $35. But all the rage is the 8 without a trace, $2.10. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential sport, call the number on screen or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. And let's have a look at this promo. Sandown Park, all races, run second, get a bonus bet back. How good's that? If you like the 8 in this, run second, get a bonus bet back. If you like the 4 in that, same thing. It's a great promo.
All right, this is the Bold Trease, the first of the Group 1s. This is the Group 1 for the stayers if you're watching at home. The big one's still to come. But boys, we're going to have a look at the speed map here. The market says this might be a little bit of a race into. We don't see Ethanol Water make the final, which might have robbed it of a little bit more class, but these two are very, very capable. What do we make of this?
Yeah, they're 1-2 in the Top Gun, so you could argue that these are the two sort of number 1 stayers, 1 and 2, the top seeds for this year's staying Group 1. The speed map's intriguing. The 1 and 2 aren't going to show speed. Fade to Black is going to show speed tonight. Aiden's Warrior is going to show speed tonight. I don't think Mapungalara is going to go maybe as far forward as what the speed map suggests. And without a trace, I think for her to win it, she has to step as if she is shown there on the speed map, Smithy. Straight out, stay out wide, try and drive straight to the lead from the outside draw.
Probably needs a little bit of bunching to happen for her to really get into the race. We're going to see a replay here where we had Aiden's Warrior from box number 2. We had Without a Trace from box number 6. Now, the fly in the ointment in the early stages was Copper Rush, who put a little bit of pressure on. I'd expect Fade to Black to play that role. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very similar. Can Without a Trace begin a little bit better? Will Aiden's Warrior come back to them? That is the question. But when Aiden's Warrior is drawn to the inside of Without a Trace, they're 1v1. It's happened twice. They're 1 each.
He's got more mid-race speed. She's got the better initial box speed and the better closing section. But I think the key to the race is Fade to Black, because if he steps like he normally does, he missed it last week, found a way to win. I think he'll hold Aiden's Warrior for the first couple of strides. That'll give Without a Trace the room and the momentum just to whip around the field. And from there, the number 1 stayer in the country will be claiming the Group 1.
Does Fade to Black have a chance from there?
Yep. Yeah, I think so. I think Late Night News is the other runner, because the red will miss it, and then you've got Late Night News who might get ahead of the red and just sort of slot in behind them. What are we looking at here, Smith?
This is a race at Sandown Park, Jason.
This is Fade to Black
here with
big win.
Massive win. Fade to Black is a greyhound I've always had a big opinion of. Going back a few months, raced against Canya All Class, raced against Without a Trace at Bendigo, and served it up to both of them. So this is a greyhound that's always shown ability. We spoke to Kayla Cottrell earlier on in the night, and Fade to Black is a dog that hasn't had a massive preparation as of yet. Didn't show the early speed in this race, similar to past Mark. Ran on well, ran out the 700.
We're all trying to work out why this dog ran on so well last week. Maybe it was because of the lack of strength in the race and the map just suited, but definitely a greyhound on the improve as a stayer.
All right, well, the Group 1 stayers, they are out trackside. Let's head out to Jason.
Yeah, thanks, Sam, with Peter Prosciutto. And Pete, we know all about this girl, how good she is. I mean, the performance last week against Aiden's Warrior was certainly admirable. Is there a danger the race could play out in exactly the same way tonight?
I guess so. There's always a possibility of anything, but I'm hoping she just boxes well and goes to the front or lobs second and runs a better race than last week, but I think she can.
Is there anything to take from fitness levels or anything like that second up?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I say, she had the 2 weeks leading in last week. She did her best work at the end, but I think she goes better like I've prepared her. Cross my fingers, that's how it sort of worked out before. I'll stick to the same things. But yeah, I would think she's going to be fitter for it, and hopefully she boxes the same way and does what she can.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Peter Prosciutto there Without a Trace. All right, let's move around. We've got Holly Thompson over here with Aiden's Warrior. Holly, he was sensational last week, and the key part to that race was him getting ahead of Without a Trace. Do you sense the same thing happening here?
Oh, well, I hope so. I mean, I'm happy that I'm boxed inside her again, and if he can just begin like he did last week, it will definitely be a race to watch.
I'll ask you the same question I asked Pete just before. From a preparation point of view, is he any different last week to what he is tonight?
No, he's exactly the same. Kept the routine exactly the same. He's happy, so nothing more we can do.
All the best.
Thank you so much.
Holly Thompson there with Aiden's Warrior. We'll keep moving down the line before they head to the boxes. And Tim Richards here has a pillar, and we might just get the camera in front of Tim. Now, Tim, this race is named after one of the all-time great back markers who did some outrageous things throughout his career, Bold Trease. This girl here can get back, and can she run on? Can she do it tonight?
I'm hoping so. It'd be nice if she does. We always love her, whatever she does, though. So,
what needs to go right in running?
Get out, not get hit. Yeah, that's pretty well it for us.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Guru Lanigan, Galactic Spartan. This boy is another one who gets back and runs home well. It's sort of hard to predict when we're going to see his finest. What do you think tonight from the green?
Box won't worry him one little bit because he'll just drop out the last. For us to win, the pink has to not lead. That's the secret for us. But he'll be Storm and home, we know that. And he's miles over the odds.
Good luck.
Thank you.
There we go, guys. There's the latest from some of the key players out on the Bold Trease for 2025.
Certainly interesting hearing from a lot of trainers' connections talking about whether they can win, and they're really relying on a dog like Without a Trace not showing up.
And I don't think she won't show up. I think they're probably relying on Aiden's Warrior getting stuck outside of Fade to Black, and then Without a Trace getting caught 3 wide, and things just going a little bit pear-shaped. If that happens, the dog that could be the beneficiary of that is Late Night News. Like, his sectional data, again, I speak of the GRV data. To get to it, grv.org.au/race data. I don't think it's being utilised the way that it should be. I don't think enough people are using this data, because if you looked at that, 2 greyhounds are outstanding. Probably the third section was Mapungalara. Her move down the back straight was really exciting. And the other one was Late Night News, who didn't look that good in the race, but when you watch the vision, he was making ground, but then when you pair it up with the data, he was really finding the line. So if there is a mix-up, Late Night News will be thumping home at the end.
There's no doubt about it that the staying ranks are pretty thin at the moment. There's been dogs that have either come on season, retired, been injured. There's a lot of dogs that are out and probably not in this final, but the top end is still there. You've still got the likes of Without a Trace, Aiden's Warrior. You've got Late Night News. Fade to Black is starting to come on the scene. A Pillar's a Group 1 winner over this sort of trip. Mapungalara is a dog that is just coming on in leaps and bounds week after week, and he's trained by a trainer that knows how to train stayers, and Jeff Britton. So this is a fun race, an intriguing race. It's probably not a vintage edition of the Bold Trease, but it is got question marks throughout. There's dogs that need to have certain scenarios pan out, and will they get them? We'll find out shortly.
All right, Mitchie Abaya, the race in 2, are we starting to see them tighten or get further apart?
Drifting a little bit is the 8 Without a Trace, 210 out to 225. Aiden's Warrior is still holding, though, at $3.80. Late Night News, $6.50. The movers come for the 7. Mapungalara, $17 now into $14. But yeah, Without a Trace now is into $2.15, so a big late go there. Look, I think it's still a race in time with the 4. I think $3.90 is a great price. I reckon it should be around the $3 mark for the 4 Aiden's Warrior. But you're getting $3.90. I think it's overs. $2.15 your favourite, though, the 8.
Without a Trace, favourite Smith. Is the number 1 seed in staying greyhound racing going to win the Group 1 Bold Trease?
We'll find out very shortly. I hope she can. Without a Trace on top for me. I think Mapungalara is definitely the value in the race. This is tipping versus punting sort of scenario. I think a place-heavy play on Mapungalara is a nice bet to take. 8, 7, 4 and 3. I'm looking for class to rise to the top here.
I'm with 8 Without a Trace. You do not win the Group 1 in the heat. You do win the Group 1 in the grand final, and that is her grand final tonight. She's a winner of 13 of 23. She's an absolute star, and I think with a little bit of a bottleneck underneath, she'll whip to the front, and it might be an anti-climax to this year's Bold Trease. 8, 4, 3, 7, my numbers. Same numbers to you, Smith, just a little bit of a different order. Aiden's Warrior for second. I can just paint a scenario where he gets stuck on the outside of Fade to Black, and then Mapungalara, who's the up-and-comer, and who knows, 6 months down the track, she might be the star in staying racing. Getting set for the first of the Group 1s tonight. It is the Sportsbet Bold Trease for the stayers.
Stayers of greyhound racing in this country, 4 Sandown Cups, an unprecedented 4 Sandown Cups. And the staying race on Cup night is named in his honour, and they're set to run for the Group 1 Bold Trease final. Set. Racing now, Without a Trace, flew out from out wide. Oh, it's going to lead for fun here. Fade to Black second. Mapungalara third. Aiden's Warrior back to fourth. On the inside, Late Night News. The Pillars next. Then came Galactic Spartan, and at the rear of the field was Payback. Leader was without a trace. Aiden's Warriors got through to second. It's 2 lengths away. Fade to Black was third. They're clear on Late Night News, and they drop the others a long way back to Galactic Spartan and Payback. Without a trace, a length and a half in front of Aiden's Warrior. Trying hard was Fade to Black. Running on was Late Night News. Without a trace is in front. Aiden's Warrior can't get her. Without a trace is going to win the Bold Trease. Without a trace, won it by 3 lengths. Aiden's Warrior. Photo third. Late Night News and Fade to Black. They were a mile in front of the rest. Galactic Spartan, the Pungalara. Then came Payback in the pillar. And the time is 41 and 49.
41 and 49, it's absolutely scorching. Big race performance, fast timer overall. We expect nothing less from this budding superstar stayer, and without a trace, Peter Prosciutto, this roller coaster's reached new heights. She was unreal.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to cry again tonight, but...
Just do it.
No, yeah, it's close. Yeah, you feel the pressure every week. You know, they've got to perform. And she performed again, so it was fantastic to see again. I can't believe how good she goes. She doesn't let us down.
Aiden's Warrior was threatening. He was the one that caused grief last week. Did you ever think, geez, she's got to work a bit hard here?
Yeah, I did. But then I sort of thought when she got past us back here again, I thought that was it. I didn't think he'd get her. When he couldn't get around this bend here, I thought once she comes past us here, she just sort of kicked again, and then like towards the end, she really did kick again, so she opened up. But yeah, what a marvel.
Mate, you've been a part of this night for years. To win a Group 1 and Melbourne Cup night, being the Bold Trease, must be pretty special for a training achievement for you as well.
It is. I mean, all the years you're in dogs, you see this race. I mean, Bold Trease, superstar. You know, I hope she does him proud. You know, as a stayer, but it is a night that probably won't forget. But one to remember.
Mate, your wife's got her over there, so go give them both a kiss and congratulations.
Thanks, Chase. Thank you.
Peter Prosciutto there, guys, without a trace. I mean, for a long time, haven't we known she's been a star on the up. She won the Top Gun Stays in dominant fashion, and now another one on her resume being the Bold Trease. She's an absolute weapon.
What a fantastic finish to that race, or what a fantastic race. Looked over early. Aiden's Warrior went to it. You thought, oh, hang on for a second. It might not be, but far, far, far too strong, and she's run time.
She does have that tiny little mid-race lull, and that's where Aiden's Warrior can really gain on her. But once she stepped like that, it was game, set, match. And I just love the Prosciutto story as well. You can see Pete and Nat over there embracing post-race. And the word is that there might even be a sponsorship deal with Kleenex, the tissue company for our man Peter Prosciutto, because he's always tearing up. But I love the passion, the emotion. This is why we do greyhounds. This is why you're involved in the sport, to try and do what Peter Prosciutto's doing at the moment. He's a Group 1 winner tonight with Without a Trace. He won earlier with On the Prowl. And this is one for the good guys.
Absolutely, it is a good family of greyhound racing, and Without a Trace, she could not have been more impressive. That 6:04 early, to put in perspective, 5:93 or 5:94, I think, is the split record with Untapped, who's a Group 1 winner at this track and trip as well. So just entering into some nice company, about a length and a half, a length and 3/4 outside that split record, Shanghaied, as they say. Yeah. And we know that she hits that little bit of a flat spot mid-race, and Aiden's Warrior, that's his wheelhouse. That's his bread and butter, his one wood, however you want to say it, that mid-race pace. He started putting a little bit of pressure on her, but you just felt she was always going to go again. That class, that cream rises to the top, Jim.
And unfortunately, we had to go to Ascot earlier for, I think it was the last race, and I was halfway through saying something, and we rudely had to get to Ascot, didn't we, Sammy?
We're always going to come back, weren't we?
We were always going to come back, in particular after tipping the winner of the Group 1. But what I was saying, Billy Brownless, you are the king of Geelong. Jimmy Vandermart, you are the king of Sandown Park. Another winner in the bank, not just the winner, Smithy, but in a Group 1, Johan Jimmy Vandermart has just nailed the trifecta in one. 8-4-3.
I've just sent word over to the kennels to get a muzzle sent over here, because I think the great JVDM needs one right now.
Speaking about yourself in the third person, that's got to be some sort of a fine here on there. But I will say kudos, boys, and if you are watching on .com here, both of the boys have got 5 winners from the 8, so it pays to watch, doesn't it?
It does.
Quite literally.
What a beautiful looking dog. I mean, she is an absolute weapon, and you get the feeling she knows it too, Without a Trace. Now, a dual Group 1 winner. That's Peter Prosciutto's third Group 1 as a trainer as well. 24 starts, 14 wins with this girl. And you know what I can't wait for? I'm just looking into the future. I've got my crystal ball. Miss Envy v Without a Trace over 700
My question
in a couple
was,
of weeks.
now is she undisputed heavyweight champion of the staying ranks?
She's not even of the staying ranks. I think she's undisputed heavyweight champion of greyhound racing right now. I think she's the dog that is taking it to the next level. She's the dog that might be able to transcend the sport. She's got the dashing good look. She comes from a good family. She ticks absolutely every box.
All right, well, we get closer to the big one, the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup. And as we go to this break, Rob Pilotta, trainer of Intrepidus, they're calling it the dog from heaven. Jason Adams caught up with him a little bit earlier.
Now, Robbie, your boy Intrepidus, he's arrived, he's out of the car. How's he feeling?
He's feeling really good today. He's feeling probably better than what he was last week. He's a little bit more relaxed today, so that's a good sign for him. So, because obviously when he's like that, he sort of jumps. So hopefully that's what he needs to do tonight. So
that's going to be crucial. And of course, the draw, although it's wide, it looks like he's going to get room to accelerate. What's your sights on how this race will unfold?
Well, if he jumps like he did at to the Geelong Derby, then he can get to the front, and then obviously he can cross. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for, because obviously if he gets around there, I mean, they'll have to catch him. So, but look, as I said, he has to jump.
But he does.
Then if he doesn't, then it'll be a different story then. But I think he will today.
Welcome back to Sportsbet Melbourne Cup night. We're only 2 races away, boys, but how about this? Without a Trace, beautiful pictures. Group 1 winning trainer, Peter Prosciutto.
I just love it. I'm trying to just sit there and work out when the tears started to flow. I reckon it was right about there. A little peck with the wife, Natalie, and they're the dynamic duo. Nat doesn't say a hell of a lot, but you can tell she's just a lovely, honest lady, and Peter Prosciutto, they're a terrific family. 220 and 140. I reckon that was overs in the end. $1.30 Aiden's Warrior.
He says about his own tip.
Yeah, fade to black. $2.40.
Favourite punter, James Vandermark.
Trifecta, $32.80. Did anyone snag that in one? Just checking. I tell you what, people...
Did you mean the favourite beating the second favourite beating the third favourite?
All right, yeah, fair enough.
I'll build you a statue.
You know what? I've spent too much time working on SEN track and we don't have any humility there. So it's sort of rubbed off onto my racing.com stuff. So I apologise, but yeah, you don't go broke backing winners.
Speaking of little humility, SD and the Grubs, they're back out for another cricketing fiasco out on the track. SD.
There's no doubt about that. This is what we've all come for. Don't worry about the $1 million wheel. It's all about the $10,000 catch. And Hammy's with me now from the Grubs. And, well, Hammy, it's been a big build-up. And what we can say is the contestants here, we've got an eclectic bunch.
A massive eclectic bunch, SD. Even more eclectic, though, is the man feeding the machine. He's taken 5 minutes from feeding himself tonight to feed the balling machine, so thanks to Flanners. But we've got 10 grand up for grabs here. Can't wait to see who goes home with it.
Righto, the rules are you got to catch it with 2 hands. Everybody goes through the line. If you drop it, you're out. Then we're going to go right hand, left hand behind the back, left hand, right hand behind the back, and then we're going to do some whirls if we still have a contestant to win the 10,000. Are you ready, Australia, for this? We're going to start pinging the balls. First contestant up, please. Hammy, away you go.
Here we go. This gentleman was exceptional padding up earlier tonight. He's going to go with 2 hands for the first one. Flanners about to feed the machine here. He looks calm and collected. And here we go. A few issues there with the pull noodle for Flanners. There it is, we're away. Good technique. Great technique, SD. He's away, he'll progress. The old 2-step. Here we go.
Sponsored by the local gymnasium. I'm not going to pick on him. He's got magnificent arms. He's got a great set of hands, but I like the gold chain as well.
Here we go. He's under it, and he's got it. Save us houses. And a good arm on him too. Here we go. Now, this young lady, she was the first qualifier through SD from the third heat.
Put the pads on and the gloves and the helmet beautifully. And the dash was magnificent. Has she got the hands?
Here we go. Oh, no. She's out. She looked so composed in the heat. Couldn't bring her best game in the final. Another one of the young ladies here who's progressed through to the final.
She comes onto the blue dot. Get the web going, the hands underneath it there. Watch the ball at all times.
They've got the crocodile looking sort of technique here. This will be interesting. Flanners not going great. Oh, there we go. She's still alive. How good. Yeah, good throw as well, a good arm. Good to see good representation in the final.
here in this beautiful competition. 10,000 up for grabs. Here we go.
Away you go, Flanners.
The Reebok's on. The Reebok Aces.
Oh, there we go. Safe as houses.
Never even flinched. Never even flinched. Oh, I like the trot. Righto. Here we go. 2 hands or 1?
2 hands. Here we go. Oh! Jeez. Should have gone 3 hands, SD. Yeah, should have gone with 3. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen.
For the mousetrap.
He went for the mousetrap. Dan Gorringe. Oh, okay. Little kiss.
Normally first slip.
Yeah, find his way to the cordon with hands like that, SD. All right, we're into the second round now. So we're going to see the left hand behind the back, and we're going to see one-handed catches with the right hand.
Righto, Flanners, you're going beautifully there with your pinger. What's he doing with the noodle?
I don't know.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh! That's a rerun.
A dodgy throw. Yeah, that was a foul ball.
Noodle. What was Flanners doing with his noodle?
Yeah.
Oh!
Well done. Flanners having a few issues with his noodle down there.
It's an apparatus. It's an interesting apparatus. One hand, and then oh!
All right.
10,000, just like that.
We're down to 3. Here we go.
Here we go. Oh, there was a little bit of, excuse the feedback there.
Sorry for the
One,
language.
oh!
Okay.
Yeah, she was going the alligator and
Yep.
then went the under. Yeah.
That's right. You got to commit to 1 early, haven't you, SD?
Bring it down softly.
And then there were 3.
We got the Reebok Aces back. Reebok Aces and under. No! Right, okay. And
Then there were 2.
then there were 2.
Including Richmond Gorringe. Here he is.
We do have a winner, Dan. Unfortunately, you can't win the 10,000, which means... Oh!
That'll do us. We've got a winner. We've got a winner.
Here we come. Here we go. Come on, back into the blue dot. There, put your hands together. 10,000. 10,000. Up you come, sir. Bring yourself up in your New Balance shoes. You look magnificent. Look at you. Fantastically dressed, matching his sneakers. Congratulations. That's 10,000 in the skyrocket. What are you going to do with that?
It's probably going to go out tonight on these.
Great answer. You're going out tonight. You're going to have a little bit of a punt later. Responsible, that is for sure. Call the 1-800 number for free and confidential support. And now, what, the $10,000? How many mates have you got here?
Just a couple, but I'm sure there'll be a few more that show up now.
Grab that cup. There'll be a few more now. What about your strategy? You handled the nerves quite well.
I actually came in with a bit of wrist awareness today.
Oh, a bit of wrist work.
Yeah, it was a bit sore, you know. Didn't know what was going to happen, but...
You might want to thank a few people right around Australia, and including the sponsor.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Sportsbet and Mum and Dad.
G'day, Mum and Dad. What are their names?
Scott and Kylie.
You brought him up well. Well done. Good work. And what is your name?
Jackson.
Jackson, congratulations. You got 10,000 in the skyrocket, and he's going to enjoy it here tonight. Thank you, Grubs. Magnificent stuff. Flanners, Hammy, and also Dan. That's how we operate here at Sportsbet at Sandown. More to come.
Too good, SD. How about that? Says the big fella with the head tats when he dropped that one. I saw you were going out there to give him a sledge.
No,
Not a good idea.
No, I went the other way. That was the plan. I was staying well away from that, but it was good fun.
You were there taking it all in. What do you think?
It's good. I love it. It's just a great way to get the crowd involved. I think a couple of years ago they actually had a running race out there where they actually did a couple of laps of the track, and I love the initiative. I think it's good to get young people involved, not just in the racing, but to have a bit of a night out. It's more than just a greyhound meet these days. It's entertainment, and one thing I would like to see is our man Mitchie Obey get out there, because each and every week he says he would win the 5,000, the 10,000. I've got no doubt he'd say the same this week.
Well, let's get across to Mitchie. And Mitchie, you can return fire here. That's all right as we have the market for the next.
Well, I don't know if Jimmy's been informed on what we've actually got planned, but Molly told me that in the lead up to the Phoenix, Jimmy and I are going to go up to the Meadows. I'm going to start from the 600-metre boxes. He's going to start from the 525, and we're going to go helter-skelter to the post. Jimmy,
I'll bring
you
quad
v
bike.
me, it's going to get taped, and that is going to be the lead-in to the Phoenix night production.
It's actually good. I'm happy to do it because I just purchased a UTV. It goes about 80 k's an hour, so I'll jump in that.
And I tell you what, after you ate a bit of meat during the week, you run even quicker.
That's fair.
All right, let's have a look at. I think we're looking at a market, aren't we, for the next? Here we go,
Do your job,
$1.90.
Mitchie.
Best of the night. This is my best I had her as the best last week. She was awfully unlucky. Tonight is the big drop in class. $1.90 is the price. I'm staggered. She is not shorter than that. Tribeca is $5. $6 for the 4 Whiskey Whiskers. 2 My Name's Eden's 10 into $7.50. 1 Come to Party. Jimmy's saying come to Papa. $9.50. $9.50 about the 8 Cheeky Chompers. It's mapped beautifully out wide, I would have thought. $15 for the 3 Select Daily and the 6 Quillen Bale or Killen Bale. $91. $1.90. Mally Beauty seems over the odds. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Well, lads, I just want to give a nod as we go to the speed map for this. This is the Farewell Fernando Bale, and it sits in between the Bold Trease and the Melbourne Cup. He has sired 5 of the 16 runners in those 2 Group 1s. Now, for those who aren't aware, we lost Fernando Bale, who was an 8-time Group 1 winner and a 7-time, I think, champion sire as well. He was elite.
He was the best, I think. Simply the best is on the front page of the form guide with a photo of the great Fernando Bale. You're spot on. Great to have a race on Melbourne Cup night, and as you say, great position too between the 2 Group 1s because he was an absolute megastar. Speed map here. Tribeca, yellow, out fast, go to the rail. Quillen Bale, number 6. Can't win the race, but can impact early. Speed, go to the rail. 7, Mally Beauty, left alone, out beyond the middle of the track where she wants to be. And number 8, Cheeky Chompers. This dog's got a huge engine. Now, not an engine that's going to test Mally Beauty, I wouldn't have thought, but can run a bit of a race. Look at Mally Beauty here. Box number 6. She wants to be on the outside. Gets a bump when she challenges the speed. The speed map's perfect for her tonight.
She also got dragged down, and this was her first ever look at Sandown Park, whether it be a trial, whether it be race conditions. First go around Sandown, she still nailed the start. She still went 5.03, but it's Sprightly Sian who goes into a Melbourne Cup. Poor Oswald, who's franked that form line previously tonight, they beat her. So they showed that speed. She's going to be left alone, as you mentioned. She's exactly where she wants to be. Ridiculous stats when she's drawn middle to wide boxes. Up over 80% strike rate from a winning perspective for Mally Beauty when she is drawn out there, and she's drawn to get left alone again tonight.
There's a bit riding on this too. If Mally Beauty comes out from a wide draw, does a really good job.
You're going to say the P word?
I am.
Phoenix.
Sounds like the
PH.
F word, doesn't it? Phoenix, but
well,
it's actually
we'll call it the F
You're
word.
right.
All right, trackside, let's head out to Jason.
Thanks, guys, with Brooke Anness and Tribeca. And Brooke, this is a boy that I'm sure you've had a lot of promise for and excitement. He hasn't yet delivered in a big race, but tell you what, it's going to be a big hope despite the strength of this field.
Yeah, look, he probably doesn't draw that great either to, feature in a big race. It was probably stiff to miss out on the Cup night sprint tonight, but I guess that's our grading system. But, yeah, look, I think tonight is probably a little bit harder just the way he's drawn and what's drawn around him. But, if he can come out and lead, he's a good chance.
His PB's super quick from a physical point of view. He's sort of in that bracket to repeat that if things go to plan?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, he just has to begin. We're really happy with him and where he's at, and I guess if he can get clear air for the first few metres, he's definitely a big chance.
Good luck.
Thank you.
There's Brooke Anness and Tribeca. I tell you what, these people I want to speak to, opposite ends of the yard. We're going to go down and speak to Dave McKenzie, who's got Cheeky Chompers. Now, as briefly mentioned before about his performance last week, and despite him not running a place in a Melbourne Cup heat, his run was absolutely mammoth. Dave McKenzie, this boy, Cheeky Chompers, I've seen him in good races that you guys have put him in. I'm thinking, geez, they must have an opinion of him. I think last week we saw it, even though he didn't sort of feature on the podium.
Yeah, we did, mate. We saw his run home last week. We give him 9 up the back. I think he only got beaten 2.5, Jace. We just need a box, mate. We just can't draw a box. It's going to be hard from the pink here tonight, but we'll just keep at it and see how he goes.
Dave McKenzie there with Cheeky Chompers. He'll get home well, but of course it is all about the star South Australian in Mally Beauty.
All right, let's head across to Mitch Abaya. Mitch, have we got any market moves late?
Mally Beauty still $1.95. Tribeca's out to $7 from $4.50. Staggering price. Whiskey Whiskers $9.50. Come to Parties $9.50 into $8, and My Name's Eden 11s. But really the money's still with 7 Mally Beauty, $1.95. That price is holding up. If you liked her before, if you like her now, still think it's a great price.
She looks absolutely perfectly drawn, doesn't she, out there? She looks perfectly drawn, our girl Mally Beauty. I think she's going to be hard to beat, Smithy.
Yeah, I've got her as well. She's one of my better plays for the night. My Name's Eden is in for second for me. 7, 2, 4 and 5. I really like My Name's Eden's return at sale a couple of weeks ago. Was blistering. Just went outside the track record there. Has to translate that form here. Tribeca's going to head across to the rail. Whiskey Whiskers is going to use a little bit of the track after being slow early, but it's all Melly Beauty for me. 7, 2, 4 and 5.
7, 8, 5, 1 for me. Melly Beauty to carve across, stay out wide and then just go bang. I think Cheeky Chompers, the data was enormous on this dog last start. 7, 8, 5, 1 for me. Here's Daniel Hibbard, the race, the entree to the Melbourne Cup.
Named after the greatest of the sport in the modern era, Fernando Bale. Farewell, Nandy. This is the mix 4 and 5, and the favourite is in box number 7. They're set to run. Ready? Racing, and Melly Beauty stays wide. Jump well. Speed, My Name's Eden. Going forward was Quillen Bale and Come to Party. The leader was My Name's Eden from Quillen Bale, and Melly Beauty now gets to second. Come to Party was next. Further back then to Whiskey Whisker, Select Deli, Tribeca, and Cheeky Chompers at the rear. My Name's Eden, the leader. Melly Beauty is starting to thunder home. Clear then on Come to Party, and wider out was Whiskey Whiskers. Melly Beauty reached the lead, dashed away, and she's off to the Phoenix for sure now. Melly Beauty won it. Seconds a photo. Come to Parties dived at My Name's Eden, and Whiskey Whiskers out wider. Next was Cheeky Choppers, Tribeca, Quillen Bale, and Select Daily was last. You've got to pick her after that. 29 and 32 the run.
Well, she's made her best case for the Phoenix, has Melly Beauty, and Jade Hurley. Were you worried at any stage during that race?
As long as she jumps, she can do whatever. You just got to come out of boxes.
Is it a different side of her to see her run on as strong as what she did?
No, she does what she does every week. It's just she got to get the clear run.
And for the Butcher family as well, we know it's been publicised about Cam's illness. I'm sure they'll be back at home in Adelaide soaking up what was a good performance.
Yeah, he'll be thrilled with that run.
Good job.
Thank you.
There we go, guys. Jade Hurley after the win of Melly Beauty, and for many, the best bet of the night gets home.
Well, can we say the F word? The
Phoenix.
The PH?
The spelling's wrong.
We'll get there.
Well, I'm not sure. Look, this is the key. She steps straight to the outside. Couldn't have got a better run. Now, I don't know if she's going to be able to lob so close.
And is 29.31 fast enough here with some of the times we've seen tonight to go to a Phoenix at the Meadows?
I'm glad you said here, because if she ran 29.31 at the Meadows, then she'd be winning a Phoenix. But it's that early speed that she's got. She's got that quirk where she does use plenty of the track. That can help in a Phoenix when you get to pick your box.
Well, it's 2 weeks in a row now. We've seen her jump cleanly, run time, but still have to come across and find the outside of dogs inside her, which have maybe cost her a length or two as well.
Yeah, look, I think just the fact that she's a good beginner, but she's not a breathtaking beginner, and that's probably that is the one concern. I don't want to be negative about her leading into a Phoenix, because I think she can win a Phoenix. She'd have to get the 6, 7, 8, which is a big chance. You pick your own draw in the Phoenix, and that's going to really suit her. But to be fair, and no disrespect to the dog she beat, Tribeca was always going to find trouble from 5. He did. Quillen Bale was going to come across and apply the heat. So that was the perfect speed map for her. She had to win the race. 29.31. Now, if I'm a Phoenix slot holder, Smithy, am I sitting there saying that's a pass mark? Probably not.
If I was a betting man, I'd say she'd already be locked in, Melly Beauty. I'd be fully expecting her to go to December 13th at the Meadows. She may have a race in between them, whether that's at the Meadows, whether she goes back to South Australia. I'd be expecting that we see her for the final night of the Dream Chasers Festival. But Come to Party runs second there. The only dog in the race side by Fernando Bale. It would have been a nice little sweet, wrap it in a bow sort of moment if it had got the job done, but all credit to Melly Beauty.
I hope she does get a go in the Phoenix, and this is why. Box 7, straight toward the outside. I don't reckon there's one other dog going to this year's Phoenix who has that type of trait, that wants to push straight to the outside, and that's the key. If you're a Phoenix slot holder, you say, well, I'm going to lock in Melly Beauty. The reason being, I'll draw box number 8 where no one else wants to be. No one else will want to be out there but Melly Beauty.
I completely agree with you, and that's the beauty of the Phoenix, is the way the box draw is conducted.
The Melly Beauty of the Phoenix.
That's it, the Melly Beauty of the Phoenix. Thanks for interrupting, Jim.
Sorry.
But that is the beauty, the Melly Beauty of
That's
the Phoenix, where the box draw, you get to pick your draw. And if you get drawn out first, you've got the choice of 1 to 8. They're going to bypass 1. No one's ever done that in the history of the Phoenix.
All right, well, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Phoenix later on, and this is going to be a hot topic nonetheless. But right now, we start the build-up to the 2025 Sportsbet Melbourne Cup. We head for a break right now on racing.com. Don't go anywhere. The big one is on the other side. back. Sportsbet Melbourne Cup night. We are minutes away from the big race. Let's take a look at this. Mally Beauty winning the last, the Fernando Bale, the farewell Fernando Bale. And what a place to have this race in between the two Group 1s. We may have just seen a Phoenix slot locked away for the Meadows. It was very impressive. There's plenty of talent there, and looking forward to seeing if we can see her there at the Meadows next week. $1.70, $1.80, $1.80, well found by the market. It was a dominant effort, the Cameron Butcher trained dog. All right, the Melbourne Cup. We are here, we are ready, and this is the one they're all playing for.
In the world of greyhound racing, there's fast, and then there's Melbourne Cup fast. 515 metres, 8 of the best dogs ever bred, chasing $1 million in prize money and a place in history.
And Explicit is going to win the Melbourne Cup.
From legends like Bombastic Shiraz, Whiskey Riot, Dyna Double One, and the electrifying Hardstyle Rico. Tonight, a new name joins them. When these lids fly, it's instinct, power, and pure heart. 29 seconds to create a legend. Welcome to the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup. Greatness starts now.
You go and see the best. Oh, this is what they are playing for as Tina Turner launches in the background. This is the trophy. This and $750,000 worth of prize money as well. Time now to head to Mitch Abaya as we take a look at our first market for the big one, the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, well, this market is absolutely jam-packed. $4 the field, and let's have a look through it here. Accredited $4 and your favourite, still 6 or 7, maybe even 10 with JVDM bet. Canya Mayhem, $3.60 out to $4.20. Dashing Slays, $4.20 in from $4.80. Valenzuela for George Ferrugia, good luck to him and connections. It's $4.80 as well. Intrepidus, $9. Dacey's Rory's 12 into 10 off the 8. 6 Paw Zuri is 14 out to $18, and the 4 Sprightly Shan 51 into $34. Crazy field, crazy speed, crazy market, $4 the field. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on screen or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
All right, it's the big one, boys. We're going to take a look at the speed map now as Tina Turner reincarnated rocks out in the middle, and I tell you what, you can hear the crowd getting behind it in the background as well. But let's look at the track. We just saw the market still can't split them. Looking at the speed map, this doesn't really help us either.
Yeah, in a way it does, because I think that what that shows is the outside brigade are going to find it awfully hard to get across, and they put a bit more effort into this speed map because the 5, Dashing Slave, will be out the back. I think that's a fairly reliable stat there, but the key for me, Valenzuela, can he step like he did last week to get right behind Zimmer on time? Can Canya Mayhem step like he did last week? And the big question for me, Smithy, is Accredited. Got all of the room in the world in his last 2. Can he show the speed and try and push Sprightly Sian to the first corner?
Well, we've spoken about the first split. That's been the theme of the night, and there's been a lot of fast greyhounds tonight, a lot of dogs that have broken that 5-second barrier or gone very close to it. Last week in the heats, the slowest first split in the heats was 5.07 from Dacey's Rory, so we know that they are going to be going absolutely helter-skelter in this one. Only one of these dogs is a Group 1 winner, but this...
We're going to start, we're going to go back and have a look at the heats. We're going to run through them all. We're on borrowed time. This is heat number 1. Sharapova Star, who we saw lead them up again tonight, leads up here.
Sharapova Star leads Ross the Boss, but it was when Dacey's Rory lobbed third that I think most people would have been sitting there going, hang on, Rory's close here, he's going to be strong, these are going to come back into his lap, he's just got to be smart, pick his way through the field, and that's the theme of his racing.
Yeah, how does he do it from box number 8 in a race like this? That's the $500,000 question, I guess you could say. There he is. I know this feeling. Even when you're racing in a Tier 3 race, you get excited when you're in the kennels. The dogs are raring to go. I couldn't begin to imagine what the greyhounds and what the handlers are feeling right now.
Well, that's the first heat. Let's take a look now at heat number 2. Boys, I'll let you run through this. You're the expert here. What are we going out of this from Valenzuela from the three?
So Valenzuela, number 3, on the outside here of Zipper on Time, who didn't quite get the start right tonight, but got it right last week. But Valenzuela is a dog that's been over 600 metres. He's strong. He's known for his strength, and a little bit similar to Dacey's Rory. He was a dog that lobbed when he got to this sort of point in the race. You go, hang on, he's going to be real strong here, and he's going to run all over the top of Zipper on Time. He has been jumping better. He's been freshened up from that middle distance campaign. 5:03, 5:06 his last 2 starts. He's going to need to do it again.
Right at the end where he hit the lead, our man Georgie Ferrugia was standing right where Corey Smith is now, and he looked like Austin Powers. No word of a lie. He was shaking and shagging and carrying on like a pork chop. But this is a serious dog. If he can hold a place, he can win the Melbourne Cup. He's drawn beautifully.
Too. Let's take a look at heat number 3 now. Boys, I'll let you again take us through this.
Racing Deadly Event.
What do we learn from this?
Third heat of the Melbourne Cup, Intrepidus. Well, we learnt that he's got genuine speed on a city track. We knew that on the provincials. I've just been sitting there waiting. I know Robert Pilotta fairly well, and I know what this boy can trial in particular as well. And I thought it was only a matter of time before he came out, burnt a race like this, and just went bang. And it is exactly what he did. Just brutal early speed. The sections were off the charts. The concern for me is the wide draw in the Melbourne Cup final tonight.
And a couple of dogs drawn in 4 and 5 that can occasionally show speed or definitely show speed in the terms of the 4, Sprightly Sian, and whether he can get across, whether that was a bit of an outlier in that sort of company. This is another step up. He's still young in his career.
All right, heat number 4 is the one next we're going to take a look at. They've all run time. They've all blitzed early. They've all run really strong first splits, haven't they? So this is the one. What do we make from this?
This is Dashing Slay getting absolutely posted wide here from box number 5. The same draw that she will be jumping from this week. Wyong Dallas unfortunately goes amiss, but it was Dashing Slay that was always going to gobble him up with the position that she got to. Speaking to Kayla Cottrell earlier on tonight, she's a dog that is such a professional. She can get battered around a little bit. She can have a fair crack at going to the lead if she can get everything right. Last week, 5:02. She showed that a little bit earlier on in her career. Doesn't show it all that often at the moment, but if she gets it right tonight, look out, because she's drawn exactly where she wants to be on the track.
It's that best time. It's a ripper, isn't it? That's
yeah, she's a weapon. 28.95. You'd have to argue if she runs that, Sammy, she's the Melbourne Cup champion.
And never missed a top 3 from her 8 attempts at this track and trip.
She wins if she does. All right, next heat to take a look at. It's Canya Mayhem. Now, we saw this dog not go right, which we did expect, or at least hold its own, and it grew a little bit in this heat. And are we going to see that continued improvement tonight?
A little bit brave, too, to hold the pressure of Scalacci and Nigel De Vere. I think he's the winner from the draw. He gets every chance. Valenzuela, who I was tipping earlier in the week, right now I'm tipping Canya Mayhem. I just think if he can hit the start the way that we know this young dog can, he might be able to cross the red. Accredited run some cover to the outside, and all of a sudden he's scooting down the back straight in front of Melbourne Cup. And what was, I think, really pleasing about that win, Smith, the way he hit the line. The sectional data in the run home was that of a young 600-metre dog.
Yeah, and look, I think a lot of was made of his penchant to push up the track, but I think that was a bit of carry-on. It was a bit of carry-on, Jim. I'm using the big words for you. It was a bit of carry-on, I think, because he kept drawing wide. That was where he was used to being. Now he's drawn down near the rail a few times in the last 4 or 5 starts. He's a dog that is learning his craft. He's becoming more of a professional, and he gets a nice draw tonight.
Interesting to see these dogs getting up and about as we hear the lure behind us start to go past as well.
They wouldn't even hear the lure where they are. He's just obviously a really happy dog as well. But they will have the stir up, so I'm not sure if he's obviously on the indoor section. So they actually block the stir up through that sort of soundproof door. Yeah, that's right. To try and
see a crack
not.
Through that.
Yeah, I know. Maybe they need to seal that. But anyway, it's designed to not get them greyhounds too revved up because they're a little bit over the top. And I think Jess Hopkins has said that about Canya Mayhem, that he can be a little bit over the top, but he looks like he's settling, he's maturing, and he looks happy and ready to go, doesn't he?
All right, let's roll the next heat from last Saturday night.
Heat number 6 of the Melbourne Cup, and this was accredited, and this is the concern I have. Number 2 just veered straight up the track, so he never had a shoulder leaning into him at the first corner, Smithy. And for me, that's the problem tonight. He's going to have Sprightly Sian. He's going to have Porzuri. He's going to have Intrepidus all applying heat to his outside. But Smithy, you're confident that he's going to handle that pressure tonight?
Yeah, I'm happy to take you on here with accredited. He's a dog that I really like his preparation. I know he won a Group 1 over the 600 metres. We saw that not that long ago with My Redeemer. Dave Gill stepped him up to 600 metres, got his confidence up, brought him down to 500, and he came out much better. Here's the head-on, where he heads down to the rail and then shifts up a little bit, Jim.
Yeah, that's the concern. Down to the rail initially, and then when the pressure goes on, I think that move to the outside, and even there, he's 3-4 off the rail to the back straight.
He's had the saloon passage.
I'm just not sure he's going to get that tonight, and I reckon when the pressure goes on, he's going to probably overcompensate a little bit and want to go even further to the right-hand side, and maybe that makes the race for the 1 and 2.
Which is why you're offering 10s. All right.
Yeah.
Next
Which
heat
I'm willing to take.
that we are going to take a look at. We can roll as we start to get towards the back end of the heats now.
And this was another really fun race here. Poor Oswald goes to the outside of Sprightly Sian, and Mally Beauty, who we just saw frank the form line previously in the most recent race number 9 on the program. But Sprightly Sian has that early speed, has that blistering back sectional, does cop a little bit of heat later on in this race from Poor Oswald, and Mally Beauty finishes off the race pretty well as well. I think it's on record from Dave Gill saying she might not be as good as his Melbourne Cup winners of the past, but she's going to put herself in the race, and from that middle draw that she had in the heats, you can't completely discount.
No, but I think Dave's probably being a little bit kind to Sprightly Sian. I don't think she's at all a Melbourne Cup type of dog, but the one thing she does is she shows early speed, so that could be the key. Plenty happening here on track. She would need to lead by a big margin to win.
Just as a little bit of a stat, no dog in the history of this race has won and paid more than I think $25.90. So as the outsider of the field, you'd think it's going to need to break a record. As we take a look at the last heat, and this is the heat won by Poor Zuri from box 1, holding him out to the turn.
Just able to hold them, wasn't it? The first corner, get up underneath of a Rise of Sparkles, and just as we hear in the background, I'm sure the Racing.com viewers would be able to hear this in the background. There's a lot happening here, and these dogs wouldn't have experienced this, and that could be a concern for the youngsters.
I would like it on record. They should not turn the lights off while the dogs are coming out to the thing. It's part of it. It's part of the big crowd. I don't like it at all, but Poor Zuri was an impressive performance here. A Rise of Sparkles was probably expected to win that race talent-wise, but Poor Zuri showed that it can handle that inside draw, is a professional race dog, but box number 6 tonight is going to be difficult.
I can see exactly where you're coming from with the lights not going off, because these greyhounds aren't used to that, but obviously they're trying to do it for the theatre, and in a way we do need to promote the product still, but this is probably something we need to have a chat with the trainers and say, are we happy to do this? If they are, we then go and do it.
Well, we're getting a chance to showcase these dogs as they look to win the big one. We call it Australia's greatest race, don't we? That's
greatest, yes.
The greatest, yes.
It's the most prestigious greyhound race.
It's still the prestigious one, yeah. Absolutely, that you want to win. And $750,000 is still a lot of scratch.
I think if you did a straw poll of all the trainers that are either registered or even just here tonight, the Melbourne Cup is the one that everyone wants to win. It is the race that everyone wants on their mantelpiece. It is the race that sorts the wheat from the chaff, Jim. This is, as you being a trainer, being a participant, you would probably advocate for. You want to win a Melbourne Cup.
100%. I think this is clearly the most prestigious, but probably the hardest race to win. 8 heats, winners go through.
Absolutely.
It's cutthroat, and then you get a field like this where...
And you still have to make the heats as well, because we've...
the preludes.
Yeah, you've got the preludes as well.
Correct.
Let's head across to Mitch Abaya for one last look at this market. Mitch, are we seeing any real shift at the top? Are we finding a clear favourite yet?
I don't know if any of the punters even have an idea about this market. This is absolutely chockers. $4.80 accredited, $4 for Canya Mayhem. Even Dacey's Rory's been $10 into $9. It's one of the more open markets that I've seen in a while when it comes to Melbourne Cups. Early speed aplenty. Accredited's $4.40, as is Dashing Slay, our joint favourites. Canya Mayhem's out to $4.80, $5.50 for Valenzuela. You'll get $9 for the 7 Intrepidus, $9.50 for the 8 Dacey's Rory. Poor Zuri 18, and Sprightly Shan's even nibbled 34 to 23. It's a crazy market. Good luck dissecting this.
All right, guys, we'll get to your tips shortly. We've still got a little bit of time, but when you give your tips, I want to know, who do we want to see win? What's the story here? What would you love to see happen tonight?
Jess Hopkins, I think. She's just a ripper young girl, and Canya Mayhem, she had that great success with her dog. Corey had a share in Canya All Class, and he won the Group 1, and this is just the next level. To go and win a Melbourne Cup, it would be a phenomenal story. Obviously for Georgie Ferrugia as well with number 1, and Intrepidus for Rob Pilotta. I mean, he still works for a living. He delivers bread. He runs a business delivering bread, and yet here he is chasing a $500,000 race.
And we read the story about the dog from heaven, because His father passed away not long ago, and he said he wished he had a good dog after he left, and he said he'd send him one, and this is the dog they say that it is.
I honestly think there's great storylines in every single runner that we've got here. Intrepidus would give Rob Gallotta his first ever Group 1. Dacey's Rory. Tom Savalas grew up in this area, moved to Queensland. He's been coming here since he was a kid, before he could walk. Ned McDonald only recently became a Group 1 trainer. This is a great race. This is where storylines are built. This is a proper race. Regardless of whether it's the strongest field we've ever seen, this is one of the more intriguing ones, and this is a race where there are so many storylines that are going to come out of it, Jim.
I cannot believe the vibe and the atmosphere right now.
This is insane.
It is buzzing. We haven't seen a greyhound race like this for a while, Smithy. Maybe the Phoenix last year. 1, 2, 5, 7 were my numbers, but I'm on the Canya Mayhem bandwagon. I've shifted. I am 2 on top. Canya Mayhem from 1 Valenzuela, 5 Dashing Slay, 7 Intrepidus. Who do you like, Corey?
I've been keen on the 3 all week accredited, and I'm not going to jump off. He's a little bit like Jarks Callis. He's an all-rounder. He can do it all. He's got early speed. He's got mid-race pace. He can run on home as well. Canya Mayhem will be a great story. Obviously, Jess Hopkins will be absolutely phenomenal to see her win a Melbourne Cup. But as it would for all of these, 3, 2, 8 and 5, my numbers, this is going to be exciting.
Get him home, Jess.
Oh, I can't wait.
Get him home, Jess.
See what happens. They're at the start now for the big one. It's a race that can change the life of those who happen to win it. Mitchie Abaya with a last-minute update.
Accredited outright favourite, $3.90, $4.50 Dashing Slay. Canya Mayhem now $5, $6 for Valenzuela. Intrepidus into 8, Dacey's Rory 9, 34 for Paul Zuri, and 26 for Sprightly Shan. What a market, what a race.
The vibe, the atmosphere, like no other. It is the most prestigious, the most sought-after race in greyhound racing. It is the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup. The runners just mingling behind the start. It's a race for champions, and some of the all-time greats of the sport have won it. Let's get upstairs for Daniel Hibbert for the call, the voice of the 2025 Sportsbet Melbourne Cup, the big one.
$3.90 accredited. Thank you, James. Runners at the start, and they're about to move in. It's a wide open race. It's a very even field. It's all about who jumps well, who can get through that first corner, the hustle and bustle. And then it's all the way to victory after that if you can do it. It's a ripping race, the 2025 Sportsbet Melbourne Cup final. And the green light is on, and the lure's on the roll. Set to run. Ready. Racing, speed out from Canya Mayhem, wide out Dacey's Rory, Dashing Slay got a clear run through, Valenzuela's pushing through, they go through the first turner, Canya Mayhem's in front, Dashing Slay is second, third then was Valenzuela, they're a mile in front of the rest, headed by Paul Zuri, then Dacey's Rory and Intrepidus, off the back Canya Mayhem, after it was Dashing Slay, trying hard was Valenzuela, Canya Mayhem in front, Dashing Slay's trying to come to the outside, but Canya Mayhem won the Melbourne Cup. Canya Mayhem won it and beat Dashing Slay and Valenzuela. Well clear on Paul Zuri, who runs fourth ahead of Dacey's Rory and accredited. Next in Sprightly Sian and Intrepidus. 29 and 15 is the time. Jessica Hopkins has won the Melbourne Cup.
She's done it. Her first Group 1 last year with the Top Gun Stayers in Kenya All Class. Fast forward 12 months. Jess Hopkins, you are a Melbourne Cup winner.
As a kid, fully into horse racing and dog racing, my earliest memory is Ollie saying, "Let's see, I've just won the cup." So, Patch, I've just won the cup. Something I always wanted to say, and he's just a dream, this dog. He's, as I said on air before, he's just no fuss, there's no frills. There's not that hype that there was with All Class and the pressure with him. He just does everything right. Like tonight, we're walking out and he was just like wagging his tail, and I'm like, it is a pretty serious thing we're about to do, Sammy. So he got it done though.
How long has this been a dream for?
Since I was born. I was born into greyhound racing. So I think I was in hospital for the first 2 weeks of my life, and then I think I was at the track the next day. So there's a photo up in the kennels of me at about a year old. I think with Just Gypsy or something like that. I'm in a photo there. I think one of the Brian's wives has got me in a photo when Nan and Pa won one of the memorial races. So the kennels are still filled with Nan and Pa's photos. I've got a serious stitch here. not.
What about the owners, Nick and Frank? What does it mean to them to win a Melbourne Cup? Be massive.
It is. They put so much money into this sport. They live and breathe racing. I know they got jobs, but Frank's up early with his fruit and veg, and he still watches the races at night. They've both flown down here tonight, or over and down here, and it's great to see them. Yeah, they supported me. They could have easily gone to a bigger trainer like that, had a better record than me, but they trusted me. Peter Jovanik was massive in getting him to trust me, and yeah, I can't thank him enough. We're on a fair ride at the moment, and hopefully it doesn't end.
And your mentor, Peter Jovanik, I'm pretty sure he's won a Melbourne Cup, and now you're alongside him.
He has. I think it was 91. I hope I haven't got that wrong, Peter. He'd be sitting at home. I spoke to him last night, and he had a bit of a croaky voice, and he said if Sammy hit the front, he'd probably lose his voice. So to Peter and Leslie, I hope yous are okay. I hope Nan's okay. She had a fall earlier at home. I was here, and Mum was, she called and she wasn't here, and Nan had a fall, and she's broken her nose and whatever else. She should probably be in hospital, and she wouldn't go. She's come here tonight. Yeah, so we might have to take her to hospital after this. But no, I'm pretty sure she's all right. She, when I seen her when she got here, she seemed okay. My auntie actually said, do you want to take her to hospital? Do you want to tell her to go? So yeah, like I grew up with their dog Wiley Boy, and still I'll never see another dog as nice as him, but these ones are pretty close. He just had the best nature though, that old Benny boy, but he's the reason I'm in it.
All right, your boy Sammy's made history, as you have too, Jess. Off she goes, reunites with her mum. Canya Mayhem, guys, they have made history. Jess Hopkins, Canya Mayhem, the winners of the 2025 Melbourne Cup.
Have a look at this. Well, we discussed earlier who you wanted to see win this race, what would be one of the great stories, and we all know Jess quite well. What a fantastic result. A young trainer who is really on the rise the last 12 months and thoroughly deserved that.
Yeah, Smithy, and this is probably a moment for you to talk, mate. You've got a dog with her who won her first Group 1, and this is so special, so special.
It's incredibly special, and it's not about us. It's not about any of the people that are on the periphery here. This is about Jess. This is about Nick and Frank. This is about her mum, Cherie, her mum, her grandma, her nan, Val, who we've just heard has had a fall today, and she's toughed it out and she's come. Jess is a person that has always put everything into the sport, arguably too much at certain points in terms of her passion, her emotion. She's someone that is... There's not too many people that love the animal more than she does. She always puts them first. She'd make sure that they've got food on the table and really just does everything to the nth degree to make sure that the dogs are happy, the dogs are healthy, and they're doing the right thing. She's got 5 dogs in her kennel. She's won a Melbourne Cup. She won a Group 1 last year, which was a special moment, but this is so well deserved for a girl that has lived and breathed this whole sport from day one.
Yeah, and I don't think it's hit home for her yet either. You can see she's just taking it in, and I think it will. This is the holy grail of greyhound racing, and you can see what the dog means to her. But as you said, like if I was to call her up to do a podcast, no matter what time of day it is, she makes it happen. She's always been one to give for the sport. And again, I said earlier, Peter Prosciutto, one for the good guys. This is one for the good girls. Not that anyone's bad, but there's something about Jess Hopkins. I love the story. I love the girl, and she's just won the Melbourne Cup. I mean, it's crazy.
All right, let's head out to Jason Adams. He's trackside.
Thanks, Sam. I'm with Val here, the nan of Jess Hopkins. Val, that was special. How proud are you of not only her, but your whole family to achieve this?
I'm that proud of Jess. She's a wonderful dog trainer, and she deserves this win. I can't love her enough.
Yes, Nan's there.
Don't worry about this. Go give her a kiss. Go celebrate this. Soak up the moment. There we go, guys. Special stuff down here.
That's really special, isn't it? And I've known Val well enough for long enough that if she fell over and broke the nose, there was no way she was going to hospital instead of coming here to cheer on Jess tonight.
Yeah, I love the whole story as well. Like you'll see Val in the back of the dog car. She's got a seat in the back, goes with the dogs, and they go everywhere.
Talks to them the whole way.
Yeah, they go everywhere to trial. Like this isn't just Jess; it's the whole family that have done it, and it's just such a special win. I'm probably using the same word over and over again, but this is one of the most memorable Melbourne Cups I think we've seen for all of the right reasons. $5 and $1.80. He was a good price too, so that adds to it as well, doesn't it?
And look, well done, 10th female winner of the Melbourne Cup. The girls with Kayla, they've run the Quinella as well. No knock on Kayla's dog. That's a dog that's still with plenty of upside and done a super job. I think the first 2 across the line. And can we say the F word again, the PH word?
I think you have to say Phoenix.
You have to go Phoenix.
You have to go Phoenix. If you're a slot holder out there and you're bypassing the dog, who is an up-and-comer, he's only a baby. He's only just turned 2 years of age. He's had 19 starts for 10 wins. And he realistically has pulled their pants down in a Group 1 Melbourne Cup. Yep. Dashing Slay is the strongest female in the country. Maybe the best 500-metre female in the country. And
had every opportunity.
Right here, you're thinking maybe. But the data last week suggested Canya Mayhem is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. What a memorable result that is.
We could also sit here and talk about Jess and Cherie and Val, the three generations that lived together, that trained together. But we've got to give a bit of a nod to Nick Lally and Frank Cremona as well, and everyone involved in purchasing this dog, breeding the dog. The Canya team, they've been throwing plenty of good dogs over the last few years.
Is that a little bit underrated, just how good the Canya kennels have done? I mean, they're breeding young dogs, getting them ready for the races, and then selling them to potential buyers, and they are producing so many big winners.
And they're still part of the journey. I know this time last year when Canya All Class was in the Bold Trease, they flew down and they enjoyed themselves here, and they take note of these greyhounds, and they keep them there, and you have the prefix of Canya there, which shows it kind of gives them a nod to their breeding operation. So it's a massive well done to everyone involved. I know Jess is a well-deserving winner, and she's built her whole life towards making this happen, and she deserves all the kudos in the world. But well done to Nick, Frank, Jess, everyone that's been involved in this, because it's a special, special victory on a really special night.
Something special, isn't it? We're going to have more to talk about this after the next break, and that's where we probably have to head now here on racing.com. That was the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup, a fitting winner, Canya Mayhem, trained by Jessica Hopkins. Welcome back to the 2025 Melbourne Cup night. The winner, Canya Mayhem, trained by Jess Hopkins, becomes only the 10th female trainer in history to win the race. Thoroughly deserved, and you would think puts this dog firmly in front of anyone with a Phoenix slot looking for next Saturday night at the Meadows. It's been an incredible 12 months or so for this young trainer. She's won a couple of Group 1s now, and it looks like the sky is the limit. She only trains a small team, but what a result tonight. This is the race that everyone wants to win, and she's done it fairly early in her career as well. Well, that was a $750,000 purse on offer there. But tonight, there's also $1 million on offer as we head out to SD for the $1 million wheel, thanks to Sportsbet.
Outstanding stuff there, the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup. Wow, what a dog. Wow, what a win. Wow, what about the wheel? Don't worry about the wheel. It's all about the wheel coming up right now. And Sharon, congratulations. You were able to jewel the winning dog of the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup. How are you feeling right now, Sharon?
Very nervous.
Very nervous. Now, fantastic stuff. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You got a favourite footy team?
Collingwood.
Yeah. You love the Pies. Who's your favourite player?
Mick McGuan was.
Mickey McGuan, fantastic. What about cricket, the Australian cricket team?
It'd have to be currently probably Steve Smith.
You love Smithy, do you? Yeah. Smudger, fantastic. All right, now we've got the best spinners in the whole wide world here, the Grubs. Hammy, you got any advice how to spin?
Hey, just enjoy yourself. I got to say, not since I saw Todd Murphy presented with his baggy green have I been this excited to see a bit of spin live and up close.
Outstanding stuff, and we'll come across to the Grubs who have been outstanding here tonight. Now, Flanners, you can't rub this big wheel on you know what, to shine the ball, but any advice for Sharon to win $1 million?
My advice would be to have a big pull and hope for the best.
Fantastic, there you go. You got to give it a nice pull. Now, Dan, have you won anything in your life?
No, never. No, it's as close as I want to get.
What would you do with $1 million if you won it?
Geez, I'd be the closest pub. Where's the closest pub? Wherever that is, I'll be there.
I'm going to shout everybody here. Let's go back to Sharon now. Everybody ready for Shazza to give it a good wheel? We can't hear you. Righto, Sharon. Now what we got to do is you got to bend the knees a little bit and go whooshka. It's got to go around at least 4 times. Sharon's going to win $1 million right here live for Australia. Ready, steady, go Shazza. Here we go.
Oh, yes. Well bowled, Chaz.
Great ball. Great ball, Shaz. This is magnificent. Oh, Shaz, stand forward. Let's have a look together now where it is. Go the million. Go the million. Keep going the million. Keep going. The million's a chance. Come on, Shazza. Oh! Shaz. That is one of the greatest turns we've ever seen on the big wheel history of wheels. Congratulations, you have won $10,000.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Sportsbet, and thanks, Sandown, and thank you to my friends.
Where are our friends? There they are, right behind us. Magnificent. Now, Shaz, you were 1, 2, 3. 3 little turns with $1 million. Unbelievable.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
You're an absolute superstar tonight. We love you, Shaz. Congratulations. $10,000 richer. Thank you, Dan. Dan Gorringe, Flanners from the Grubs, also Hammy. That's what it's all about, sharing the love.
Well, we nearly saw the $1 million go off.
Well, would have been
10,000's a good little kick, though, isn't it, as well?
Is it a good kick when you're so close to the $1 million, though? That's the query. There are the totes on the Melbourne Cup. Canya Mayhem does it for JJ Hopkins at around $5. What a phenomenal result that was.
All right, now the next man I'm going to introduce, Nathan Corden. It's a very interesting story. Since 1998, you've been bringing a group of racing enthusiasts over from the UK and Ireland on an annual pilgrimage down under. Tell us a little bit more about this.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, just behind you, there's a bookies board there with Rapid Journey at the bottom. 1998, we saw the Top Gun here for the first time, and we brought dogs out after that in International Top Gun. And we've just made it a thing, you know. We think all codes of racing, we should work together. It's good to knowledge share between the Australians, Irish, and the UK guys. And we can all learn from each other and stand up against everybody together as well. So the trips keeps getting bigger and bigger in size, so it's great.
And a lot of the crew that you bring over are very much involved in greyhound racing
100%.
over there in the UK.
So they're all trainers, they're breeders, some are regulators. There's a whole mixture of people. So, you know, we are all-encompassing. We've had kennel visits out here. We went to see Tommy Shelby when we were in Perth. We've been to David Giles' kennels this week. Very kind to let us know he had a Melbourne Cup finalist, so, you know, it's very kind of him to let us in there. It's great to see.
How did this kick off? You said your father kicked this off back in the day.
So back in 1998, I think there was a World Greyhound Conference that was over in London, and I think a few of the guys from Australia came over and trying to promote the International Top Gun. We just loved the idea, and it sort of ran ever since, really.
Boys trip?
No. We allow the ladies to come along. They drink more than us sometimes.
I was about to say, too, we're up to race 10 on the card. How many pints deep are the guys upstairs?
Well, we have a lot of Irish, so I think some of them came in about 4:30 this morning.
I did hear the Guinness was sold out about race number 3, so that might have been the reason why. You mentioned just a moment ago that the group is getting bigger and bigger. They're getting rowdier and rowdier because I had a couple of these guys following me around. Hillsville Friday, they came to the Meadows Saturday night, had them up in the broadcast. They're getting right around to a few different tracks on this tour.
Yeah, I think there's a few punters in the crew. And
they're after a tip, don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think you'll hear the oi-ois coming in when the dog comes home, which... I think shocked a few people at the Meadows last night.
Yeah, well, they had a couple of winners, I think, last night, but they were talking sort of United Kingdom language, and I didn't really know what they were talking about. I was just nodding. They were saying they won a few bags and they've done this and they've done that, but I didn't really know what they were talking about. But they had won a decent amount of coin last night.
I think one of them put a lot of money on Miss Envy tonight, and he's going to go home very happy and hopefully just pay for the whole trip next time.
Yeah, we did mention, though, a couple of tracks you've been to here, but you've done the Royal Tour. You've been provincial out to tracks like Ballarat. You've been to WA tracks, Hillsville. What did you make of straight racing?
It's all very new for us, and, you know, we couldn't quite work out. The dogs were just running straight, whereas, you know, I think our dogs would come across to the hair. But it was a bit of a, you know, we don't have anything like that back home, so it is all new to us, but it was strange what position they kept.
Is that something you could bring back to the UK or Ireland to have straight racing, or is it not on the agenda?
Probably not, but certainly in the UK, because of location of tracks, I think you need a bit of space, so... we don't get a great deal out of the media like you guys do. You know, I think if we had a blank canvas, we would take a lot of what you did in the very beginning and go back to the start.
All right, Nathan, I'd love to chat more. We're just running out of a little bit of time here, so
well, we'll
you
be
get
back
back
in 2
upstairs.
years.
Oh, well, we'll see you here in a couple of years as well. Time now to head across to Mitch Shabaya for the market for the next.
Yeah, we've got race 11, the race after the Cup to dissect. Honk Honk is your favourite. And I'll tell you what, how good was the Melbourne Cup? If it was the first time you've watched it, it was an absolute classic. Well done to Jess Hopkins. And if you backed the winner, well done to you. $4 Honk Honk. It was off box 1 last week. I think it's drawn better tonight. $4.40 for the 3 Mavriko, out from $4. $4.50 Scalacci, almost got back to his best last week. Just couldn't quite keep up with Canya Mayhem, who won the Melbourne Cup. $4.60 for the 2 Keep Rolling. My selection, number 1 Treble Beer, $6. I think it's some value. $8 for the 8 Lightning Speed and $34 for the 6 Poor Vince. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on screen or visit the Gambling Help online website. Dream Catchers Cup with Merv Hughes, Dan Gorringe and the Grubs. What a lineup that is. Have a crack at the Ultimate Cricket Challenge for your chance to win some cash. That's at the Phoenix. Saturday, 13th of December. Entry is free. Get there. It will be an absolute corker of a night. You get to see Big Merv and his mustache, as well as Dan Gorringe and the Grubs. Be there. I'm going to try and enter this as well.
Well, boys, there's a speed map for race number 11. Lobs up. You saw Jess's mum stop in and say hello. How nice is that? And those the kennels, they never stop. She's got to head home now and doesn't quite get to kick on for the celebrations at the moment. But
James mentioned before that it didn't look like it had sunk in yet, and Tree said the exact same thing. I think what will happen is, once they know the dog's home safe and sound and in its kennel and ready to go to sleep, that's when it'll sink in for them, because that's their number one. The greyhound welfare is absolutely paramount for all people, but particularly the Hopkins family. So it's one of those things that I think it'll take a little while, but it'll definitely be after the fact the dog's home.
As a greyhound trainer, you do dedicate your life to pretty much revolving around what their needs are. It's like having kids. Race 11
really,
here.
really fast, hairy kids.
Yeah, that's right. Honk Honk expected to go forward with Scalacci. I'm not sure if Honk Honk's going to be the leader, but that's the potential. Keep Rolling's an interesting runner down low who has got early burn, does want the inside rail. What do we make of that? Is the speed in the guts like Sportsbet is suggesting?
Yeah, I think it is. I think there's that Honk Honk at her best can nail the start and come out running. She probably hasn't been coping as well with pressure as she was a little bit earlier on in her career. She had a few runs where she was low on confidence, and she's coming back into it now, but she's a greyhound that is incredibly fast. We know that.
Didn't you make a really good Honk Honk joke recently on one of your podcasts?
How'd you know that?
I did my research.
You have done some good research there. Yeah, I did. It was just in regards to the Monash Freeway and what would you do if
we don't need
you're stuck in
trust
traffic.
me, we don't need to go over it again.
That would have been the third time I've used that one, but yeah, look.
Mitch Abaya was throwing popcorn from the cheap seats over there.
What I was showing here replay of was the 3, which is a bit pointless. Keep rolling. So much so, mate, I'm actually thinking about changing my selection.
Again?
Yeah, first time tonight, I think.
To be fair, you've picked 8 from 10 winners.
Well, I did go Valenzuela initially, and then I went, Canya Mayhem. And you know why? grv.org.au/race data. Kept on pulling that apart. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. What about Treble Beers here?
Yeah, look, Treble Beers is a greyhound that I've always had a big opinion of. We saw him through the Great Chase series where he was just absolutely enormous through that. He's lobbed up here outside the leader. He had to work really hard and probably couldn't burn a candle throughout the whole race. He ends up finishing second here in really fast time behind a dog called Shimmer Blush, who absolutely just blouses him right on the line. We've seen Shimmer Blush step up to 600 since then. Treble Beers is a dog that probably won't have to work as hard tonight. He can put himself in a more prominent position from the inside draw rather than box number 7 that we just saw on that occasion. So it's all about the start for him. He has done a little trick in the boxes before, Jim, where in the Meadows, he flipped around in the boxes, which you don't see it very often. He did his satisfactory trial. All has been well since then. He just needs to make sure those box manners are on point. And here is Scalacci. This is the Phoenix a few years ago, and I know it's a long time ago and the form line probably don't really matter, but this is him at his best from the same draw, box number 5, where he nailed the start against one of the strongest fields you'll see. Hector Fawley, Postman Pat, Big Energy. They all couldn't go with him. Postman Pat tries. He gives him a fair run for his money late. But Scalacci, at his best, high balling out in front. He's probably only got a few weeks left of his career, but this is him at his best.
If he rolled along out in front and ran some time, could you think about it?
You could think about it. Doesn't cost you to think about it, does it? Could you do it, though?
There he is. He's still in pristine nick. Is Scalacci. He's a beautiful boy. He's been so good to the whole Talgi family, and Jihad Talgi has prepared him beautifully throughout his whole career.
Yeah, I still feel like there's something left too. When you go back and have a look through his form, beaten 3.5 behind Canya Mayhem last start. Canya Mayhem won the Melbourne Cup.
Won a race
Winning
earlier
form,
tonight.
good form.
It is. Let's head out trackside to Jason Adams.
Thanks, Sam, with BP, Brendan Purcell. Now, they want to race order BP, so come with me. We'll do it on the run. You've got Treble Beers in box 1 and also Lightning Speed from the pink. What's your read on this race?
Nah, no good at all. He shouldn't be in this race. Got outgraded to buggery. He's only a free win dogging against group dogs, so yeah, very disappointed to be in it. But anyway, look, he's only a pup, but he goes very good, and we'll see how he goes.
I was going to say, he's still good enough to win it.
I don't know about that, but anyway, hopefully he'll punch up and run up there somewhere.
Good luck, mate.
Ta.
There's Brendan Purcell with the 2 runners that he has got. Holly Thompson has Hong Kong, and just quickly, Holly, Hong Kong, what have you guys learnt about this girl in the month or so of which you've had her?
Just keep her happy, and hopefully she does the same for us.
Is she bursting to really explode in a race sooner or later here?
I hope so. Yeah. She's feeling good. She's trialling good, so all we can do is see what she can do.
Good luck.
Thank you.
There we go, guys. The latest from the yard ahead of the penultimate on Melbourne Cup night.
Well, race 11, we're not too far away as we head to Mitchabaya for one more look at the market ahead of this second last.
Yeah, all the rage here in race 11 is the 5 Scalacci, 480 into 420 and favourite. 4 Hong Kong out to 460. $5 for number 3 Mavriko, $4.80 for Keep Rolling, and number 1 Treble Beers was $5, now $6.
Runners about to move in. Your selections here, Smithy.
1, 5, 3 and 8. Hopefully Brendan Purcell doesn't nail it tonight.
I am 2, 5, 4, 3, sticking with Keep Rolling. Here's Dan Hibbard for the second last.
For 2025, set to run race number 11. Ready. And away. Quick out wide there was Lightning Speed from the pink. There's Speed Mavriko. Lightning Speed's trying to get across. Hong Kong gets to third. Next was Treble Beers underneath of Keep Rolling. Scalacci deep and Paul Vince saves ground the rail. Mavriko the leader. 3 in front. Lightning Speed away from the rail. Hong Kong's trying to push through. They're clear and the others have all jammed up. Taking a tumble there was Treble Beers. Leader was Mavriko. I think it's home here, Mavriko. They're not going to get it. Mavriko too good. Hong Kong second. Lightning Speed third. Keep Rolling got through to fourth. Paul Vince, Scalacci and Treble Beers took a tumble coming off the back, but he gets to his feet and chases them all the way to the pen. It's a ripping gallop too, equal to the Melbourne Cup time, 29 and 14.
Could have won a Melbourne Cup with that, Johnny.
Yeah, it's a good run. A bit stiff last week. His tooth got stuck in the muzzle, so just another way of getting beat. So, when he lands on the arm, he can run.
He can run all right. What now?
We'll just plan it week by week. Let's go from there. So.
Now, give us some insight as well. We've got a thoroughbred racing audience out there. The owner of this boy is Jared Fry. He's a big supporter of greyhound racing, isn't he?
Yeah, very good bloke. Lets me do what I want with the dog. No pressure, and just enjoys the ride. So.
That's what it's all about, mate. Good job tonight.
Thanks, Jace.
There we go, guys. Johnny Barber after the very good win of Mavriko in the 11th.
How about that? Shout out to Frizy. He's a pretty handy jockey himself. I'm not sure he's had as much success as some of these dogs will have, but that's a really slick win.
G1 winning jockey, and I tell you what, do we say the Phoenix word now for Mavriko, because he was able to zip through. Sections are outstanding. He's gone 5:01. I think it's 18:52 down the back, and gee, that would have had him right up there in the Melbourne Cup for a long way, and this was a good win.
Proper
really good
race wheels. He's shown that throughout his career, but he's put it all together tonight, every step of the way, whether it be the blistering early speed, that off-the-charts middle section, and then the run home was much, much stronger tonight as well. So he's put it all together, 3, 4, 8 and 2 the numbers, and he's beaten a couple of handy ones. Hong Kong, we know, is a very, very fast dog when it gets it all right, but it was all Mavriko in this one.
Doesn't always hit the start like that, but Johnny Barber's a great mate of mine. So proud of him to have a winner on Melbourne Cup night. If you go back 3 starts ago, I love my straight racing. This was one of the best wins you'll ever see a dog win at Hillsville. He was out the back, missed the kick, checked over heels early. You thought, nah, there's no way. And he just picked up so much ground. It was like he had wings on. He just flew past them, won at mile length. And tonight was the opposite. Straight to the front, could use that acceleration. Instead of gaining on them, he was putting them away. It was a big win. And yeah, 29-14. I mean, that could win a Phoenix.
Yeah, absolutely. Time now for a break here on racing.com. After the break, we're going to be catching up with Melbourne Cup winning owners Mick Lally and Frank Ramona. Welcome back to Sportsbet Melbourne Cup night here on racing.com. Race 11 has been run and won. Maverico in a blistering slick time of 29.14. Lit the track up. It was a strong win and could it possibly put the dog in Phoenix contention into next week. It's one of the slickest times of the night that we've seen. $5, $4.90, $6.40. We've seen some fast times all night, but this was right up there. All right, well, we've seen the Melbourne Cup run and won. We've still got one race to go here. But for one last time, let's head out on track for SD and the Sportsbet team, including the Grubs.
It's been raining. So much fun all night here on track, and it's because of these beautiful people from the Eastern Cricket Club, that is for sure. Eastern Garden Cricket Club, and that's Hammy, that's Flanners, and also Dan Gorringe coming in from the Swan Street end, right arm over the wicket. To Jackson, who won the $10,000, padding up, putting the gloves and the hat on, champion, $10,000. We hope you're okay at a drip tray somewhere. And then Sharon, what a toss. Boom. How good was Sharon?
Unbelievable. This close to $1 million, $10,000 could have gone to a better woman.
Fantastic stuff. Now, the Australian Cricket Tour's on its way now, boys. Geez, we've started well.
Started very well. We're on track for the whitewash SD 5-0. Bring it on. Going to be a hell of a summer.
No doubt about that. And you're subbed out next week.
A little bit of rotation policy for the Grubs. I'll be out. Skip and Rambo will be in. Merv Hughes will be on track as well at the Phoenix. So make sure you get down there and get around the boys.
Swerve and Mervyn, get him up here. We love him. No, he's a Victorian. Now, Flanners, you've been fantastic tonight. Obviously, you'll be better for the hit-out when we get to the Phoenix.
Yeah, very excited for the Phoenix on the 13th. If you loved it at Sandown tonight, as we all did, you'll love it even more at the Phoenix. Going to be an absolute belter on the 13th, so get down there.
Now, the noodle with the ball shooting stuff. You've got a bit of work to do there. Yeah. You had a couple of little sort of misdemeanours. Can you work on that during the week for the next 2 weeks before you get to the Phoenix?
Yeah, unfortunately the technique with the noodle wasn't quite there, but I'll sort that out during the week and we'll be right to go.
Well, because it was only half a noodle. He's normally better with a full noodle. But anyway, Dan, thank you so much. The punters here have absolutely loved you unconditionally tonight. The photo opportunities have been magical.
It's been great. Sandown Park, you know, absolutely. I'm going to say it, greatest night of my life. I met a beautiful, big, bold bitch called Gorringe. Love my life. So I've had an absolute night of my life, mate. It's been great.
Well, you haven't seen anything yet, Dan, because in 2 weeks' time you'll be going to the Phoenix. That is for sure. That's the music for us, though. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, guys. Love you all.
Thanks, SD.
And Hammy.
Thanks, SD.
Australia, we love it. We love getting out there. I hope we entertained you. Stay tuned in 2 weeks' time when we get to the Sportsbet Phoenix. Oh, yeah.
Magnificent job, as always, Simon Marshall, out and about here on Sportsbet Melbourne Cup night. Well, I feel like the odd one out here. Group 1 winners left, right and centre. I'm joined by Jess Hopkins, I'm joined by Nick Lally, and I'm joined by Frank Cremona. This is the team behind the Group 1 Sportsbet Melbourne Cup winner, Canya Mayhem. I'll start with you, Jess. Has it sunk in?
Nah.
It hasn't, has it?
No, I think I'm going to have ulcers tomorrow. That many lies that I wasn't nervous. I was packing it. So, yeah.
What about the owners, Nick? You've been there, you've won a Group 1 before, but the Melbourne Cup, it's something else.
It's the pinnacle. It's why we buy dogs, really, to win the race like this. Like, it's just, something I thought I'd never do. We buy dogs, and, I speak to Frank all the time, and that's the race we just want to win on the calendar. So, I still can't believe it. I'm shaking.
You've done it. 44 years Frank Cremona's been involved in greyhound racing with one goal, and that is to win a Melbourne Cup. And Frank, believe it or not, you've done it.
Finally done it. 45 years I've been watching the Melbourne Cup on TV, saying one day I'm going to be there. And finally, with the help of my good mate Nick and super trainer Jess, we've done it.
She is a super trainer. Talk to me about the replay.
Yeah.
Speared the lids, didn't he, Jess? Straight to the front.
This is the first time I'm seeing it. So I knew he just crossed Valenzuela, and I seen Dashing Slay behind, and I think I might have dropped a little F-bomb that she was behind me, because I knew she was one that could run us down. And here, he just drifted off a bit, and she went for the fence, and thankfully he just went back in front of her. And I think I started screaming through the catching pen the first time, but still got a voice.
Boys, talk to me about that. Watching the replay, here's Jess. That you probably could have been a jockey, to be honest, the way that you rode that dog home. But Nick, talk to me about the emotion of that race, that 29 seconds of pure bliss.
Well, as soon as the lids come open, I was like, wow, he's jumped here. We're a chance, and obviously anything could happen going into that first corner, and I was just like, get through, boy. And I see him there turning off the first corner. He's out in front a couple of lengths, and I was looking to see who was behind. I saw Dashing Slay, and I thought we could be in a little bit of trouble here. And to her credit, she was coming. And I would have been wrapped if we ran second, mate. Like, it was just the feeling, the emotion, the adrenaline. Like, it was just something I've never felt before in my life. And I'll cherish it.
South Australian boy, you'd know just how strong Dashing Slay is.
Yes, very, very strong. I've seen her, a lot of her racing back home, and she's a weapon. She is a real weapon.
Now, this is a greyhound, Canya Mayhem, that's owned by owners that pretty much come from every square inch of Australia. We've got Frank. You've made it down from New South Wales. Nick's come from Adelaide. Jess, obviously, in Victoria already. But how special is this? Greyhound racing, it can bring you guys together as mates, and you get to experience the greatest thing in greyhound racing together.
Yeah, you can't beat it, mate. Words cannot describe how I'm feeling at the moment.
Nick?
And friendship's the biggest thing. Like 5-6 years ago, I didn't know Frank at all. And we bought a couple of dogs, SA, and you muck around and have a bit of fun. And then we, probably say, up the ante a little bit and tried to go a little bit more expensive and, try and pick dogs that we thought, could try and race and match in races like this. And then, like, he's been a great mate since, the last 5 years. And
yeah.
It's been great. That's probably the best thing about it.
Yeah.
Like, just friendships and Jess, like, communication's just fantastic. We get a video almost every day of what all our dogs are doing, and we just sit back, mate, and she does all the work, and we get a bit of the glory at the end of it.
You all reap the rewards of a Melbourne Cup. It's a phenomenal story. What will be the drink of choice in the Melbourne Cup later on tonight? What are we drinking out of this thing after race number 12?
Anything.
Nick, have you got a drink of choice?
I'll drink anything, mate. I'm still stunned.
Frank, are we going to go with a Pepsi Max, or are we going to go with something a bit firmer?
I'm trying to work out how I'm going to walk up those stairs.
Oh, I love it. I love the story.
A quick word to somebody.
You can.
I'd like to thank Jessica Windiet and Toby Weeks
Correct.
for the job they've done in rearing and breaking this dog in for us, and all the dogs that we've bought off them. They're special people, and they give us first choice on most of the litters break in, and I really, really appreciate everything they've done for us.
Well, it's an amazing story. So many different things having to fall into place to try and win a Melbourne Cup, and this team right here, they've done it tonight with Canya Mayhem. It'll sink in soon, Jess. Congratulations. Yep. The Melbourne Cup champions with Canya Mayhem. Over to you, Mitchie. You've won a Melbourne Cup for the last market update.
Thank you.
Yeah, the lucky last on the program. Congratulations, guys. What an absolute thrill. And guess what? Jimmy Vandermatt tipped it as well. So $5 was that price. This is one of my best on the program. Aston Contash. Fast car, fast dog. $1.90 out to $2.05. 2 Morning Boss. $12 into $4.60. 8 Texas President is $6. 1 Ascend Geranium, real hit or miss beginner, but $6.50 is your price. 7 Mapunga Donna is $9. 6 Faye Valentine, who wants to shift up the track, it's $11. And the 5 Paul Harris is $23s. Can't believe this 3 is drifting, $2.05. Seems well overs. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Get up the 3.
All right. Well, time to have a look at a little bit of the action outside. Here we go.
The calm
We're still
before
going.
the
I
storm.
was just putting my head out the door as I said that, because it did seem a little too quiet as I stuck my head and looked down there, and we do see they are still partying up the end. They've taken the big Tina Turner act off the middle so we can hear ourselves, but they are still going up the end, and they're going to be going hard upstairs.
They will. This is the opposite to the calm before the storm. This is the calm after the storm. We've had, I reckon, one of the great atmospheres at a Melbourne Cup meeting tonight. It's been awesome to be here and to witness it, and yeah, I still don't think that's sunk into Jess Hopkins that she's a Melbourne Cup winning trainer. Race 12, speed map, Aston Countach expected to lead. And I reckon that's with the 4 coming out as a scratching. That's why our man, the Peacock, is just chomping at the bit over there. Potentially just roll straight to the front, Corey.
Yeah, I think so. Now that flat out Freddie's out of the race, who was going to be one of my best bets of the night, I think he's going to get all the room that he needs.
Couple of lovers out there
the calm after the storm, didn't I?
Dancing on the way. Is this your mum and dad or yours, Corey?
No, not my mum and dad. I don't think they've got moves like that. Well,
Yeah,
if
they're
they do,
having a crack.
they certainly didn't pass it on to me.
You still got bad knees.
They don't get any better, Jim.
Throw it to Mitchy for a market. I need a break.
All right. Yeah, let's go to Jace. He's out trackside.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so. He's probably got one more in him, doesn't he? Out to you, Jace.
All right. Thanks, boys. Jeez, it's all happening back there. Let's stabilise some things with Glenn Rounds and Aston Contash. And Glenn, this is a boy that started his career in blazing hot style out here at Sandown. What does he need to improve on to take that next step?
Just his strength as he gets older, I presume. He's got a lot of pace, the dog. He's just learn how to race and stuff. Late race tonight and to handle things like that, I reckon.
His odds suggest that he's going to be really hard to beat in this race. Is it the same way you see it?
Yeah, providing he times his start really good. He can run the very good quick splits early into the back, and then it's about holding on, I suppose, with him, yeah.
Fair win of the Melbourne Cup tonight too with Canya Mayhem.
Yeah, well, the leaders are winning all the races tonight. It's a pretty fast deck, and it's taken over the racing, isn't it? So, yeah, but he was good. He was impressive, yeah, for sure. Low 29s in the Melbourne Cup. He was boxed well too, the dog, I thought, on the draw, and it done the job.
100%, mate. Hopefully a replica with your boy. Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks, mate.
There we go, guys. Glenn Rounds with Aston Contash, who will jump as the favourite in the last on Melbourne Cup night.
As they start to head back towards the boxes now, let's head across to Mitch Bayer one last time.
Tell you what, I'm absolutely baffled here. I've just copped a little bit of
I saw that drive by.
pressure from some of the great listeners of SEN Track. Just said, who's winning? I said the 3. Well, $2.15, now $2.50 for Aston Contash. Out the gate, Morning Boss $4. The money's come for the 6 Faye Valentine, 11 into $8.50, and the Sportsbet 2 Flamer, and 1 Ascend Geranium is $6.50. $2.45. I think that's well overs. Imagine what you could be buying instead for free and confidential support. 1-800-858-858. Let's get the lucky last underway and get the 3 home.
The lucky last on Melbourne Cup night. Smithy, who are you with? Are you going the favourite?
I am with the favourite, Aston Contash, with Flat Out Freddie out of the race, who was my initial pick. Paul Harris is slow out. Faye Valentine will keep a straight line. Morning Boss is hit or miss, can make a few mistakes. I think if he'll miss it tonight, then Aston Contash will dominate. 3, 1, 8 and 7, my numbers in the last.
I'm with 2 Morning Boss. Enigmatic would probably be an understatement, a way to describe this dog, but I reckon he's in the top 10 in the country for speed when he gets it right. Does he get it right tonight? I'm willing to find out. 2 on top from 3-1-8. The Toongabbie Lodge to round out one hell of a night of greyhound racing here for the Melbourne Cup night. Morning number 2 is like a weapon, but it's
Set. And away, Aston Contash jumped Wells, accelerated very fast, and the favourite leads. Mapunga Donna goes across to second. Morning Boss the inside with a Sin Geranium. On the outside was Texas President. Poor Harris second last, and Faye Valentine was last. Aston Contash the leader. Morning Boss has got the inside running, is coming through. Just got the door shut on him though. Texas President's the one winding up. Then came Mapunga Donna. Aston Contash in front. Texas President charges through. Texas President won the last beat. Aston Contash and Morning Boss. 4th home was a Sin Geranium, or on the outside Mapunga Donna. Poor Harris, Faye Valentine, 29.38 the time.
29.38 to the President, Texas President in the last on Melbourne Cup night. Cristiano can run like the wind when he gets room to do so, and he did tonight from the peak.
Yeah, they just sort of parted for him and he just found all the right spots and off he went. Couldn't believe that. He made up a lot of ground in that last 100 metres even.
It was superb, but let's quickly touch on your boy, Valenzuela, in the Melbourne Cup too, on the podium. You must be pretty proud of him.
Yeah, I was really proud. Like, I don't think he could have gone any better. So, you know, he jumped well and then the other dog was just too good for him.
And end to a pretty good night. Good job.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Cristiano Boss there, guys. Texas President takes out the last on Cup night.
Well, you didn't manage to nab that winner. Where'd you end up? I think you ended up with 8 of 12. A very interesting race the way this one unfolded.
Morning Boss could have won and could have just won how he pleased, but snagged the box first 4 in the end. Texas President's always been a dog that hits the line hard, and when Morning Boss was up challenging and maybe just wanting to lean in on top of the leader Aston Contash, it just brought those back markers into the race.
Yeah, Texas President was probably a dog that you didn't know where it was going to lob in the run. You knew exactly thought Morning Boss was going to do when it got to the point that it did. Aston Contash, no real knock on the dog. It's run some nice sectionals, run nice overall time, just didn't get the job done. Was a bit of a sitting duck for those that were drawn to swoop on it, and that's what Texas President did.
He's a bit wobbly at the end. With our Irish friends here tonight, they'd be saying he's a bit wobbly, that number 2, but... yeah, look, it was an interesting way to finish the night. 29.38's a good run from off the speed, and always been a dog who can hit the line. And
we've seen some pretty consistently slick times all night, haven't we? There haven't been too many who've been slow.
Well, to be honest, it's one thing I like about Melbourne Cup night is you've got the feature races, but then you've got that next tier, whether it be a Super Vic Greys or a GRV Vic Bred Series final. They're all good races, so you're attracting
grade 5s at the back end of run time.
Yeah, that's right. You're attracting good dogs, and the next step for racing.com is to go to the Meadows on Phoenix night, December 13, and there's a little bit of a change to the way the scheduling is over at the Meadows, and it's heats of the Silver Chief on Phoenix night. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly right. We've got heats of the Silver Chief. Hopefully we get 8 heats. That's for the young dogs, a Group 1. Basically a derby style race is the Silver Chief. So over the 525 metres, that'll be an absolute ripper. A nice support card for what is the Phoenix. Challenger match race as well, and then the Whiskey Riot, which is for fawn and brindle greyhounds only. But I was just going to say, there's probably a few people that are watching tonight, a few people that are here on course going, oh, the track is hot. The track's clearly in good condition. Fast dogs run fast times, and we expected to see them run fast times tonight. There was a lot of quality throughout the whole program, and we've seen that on display.
And weather conditions have held out too. There was a bit of rain forecast through the day, but we've had a pretty clean, clear night, and hence a great crowd. And I really want to chat about that, because I feel like the crowd tonight, the vibe and the atmosphere when that Melbourne Cup ran, as an owner, as a trainer, as a breeder, they're the races you want to be in the spotlight. You want to be a part of that. Like, imagine loading your dog into the box for the Melbourne Cup and having a crowd of God knows how many people just going absolutely bananas. And yeah, didn't he handle the occasion though, Canya Mayhem?
Especially with everything that goes on beforehand too, which we saw. The pre-race is significant as well for these dogs. Young dogs like him who haven't seen much before, let alone Tina Arena singing at them with a spotlight on you.
Yeah, that's right. And you add to the fact, not only has he handled it, he's handled it so well that he's then come out and dominated in the Melbourne Cup.
He's been simply the best.
And he's beaten dogs, that was good from you, he's beaten dogs like Accredited, who's already locked away for a Phoenix.
You can't break him mid-sentence, can you?
No.
Unless it's his.
Exactly right.
Exactly.
That's the rule. When you tip 8 out of 12 winners, you get a little bit of leeway.
I'll just give you the arm. Just settle down, Sammy. Settle down,
We're going to come back after this break and talk all things Phoenix, but it is time now for a break here on racing.com. Sportsbet Melbourne Cup night. Welcome back, Sportsbet Melbourne Cup night. The races are run and done, and this was race number 12. Texas President getting the job done, running over the couple of leaders late.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of King Ron action there, approaching the winning line from last week from Morning Boss.
If King Ron didn't get a holiday, he ain't getting a holiday.
No, that's right. Exactly the same as what King Ron did. But yeah, Texas President was the beneficiary of the jam up in Aston Countach. If it wasn't for Morning Boss being there, is probably the winner of the last. 10.20 and 6.90. Jeff Britton with a winner on Melbourne Cup night. Aston Countach 180, no third. Morning Boss. And Ascend Geranium picking up fourth.
Well, that's it for the Melbourne Cup night racing portion of the show. All eyes now. We turn to the Phoenix.
We do. We do.
Explicit goes to the back, clear on Dacey's Rory. Up to third was Smooth Plain. Sunset Fraser was next, in came Explicit. Lakeview Emily's well back, Excavation and Big Energy. But around the turn comes Explicit. He's 4 lengths in front, and the best greyhound in Australia wins the world's sprinters race.
The most perfect way for one of the best sprinters we've seen in years to sail away into the sunset.
He's a champion. He's just, this dog, he's just been the best. This is what we live for.
Explicit last year, wins the Melbourne Cup, goes on, wins the Phoenix. Canya Mayhem doesn't have a slot yet, but by the time we leave here tonight, you would have to suggest does. All right, this is where all the bold statements are made. Can Canya Mayhem win a Phoenix?
Oh, 100% you can win a Phoenix. You'd argue that the Melbourne Cup is the hardest race to win. He's come through that as a young dog and won the race. So if you can win a Melbourne Cup, you can win a Phoenix.
Absolutely you can, and we've seen that he's just getting better and better, and he's learning his racecraft. He's kind of shook that habit where he was shifting up the track a little bit. He's a dog that's on the up, he's on the improve. You've seen the passion tonight, you've seen the dog handle it all. Phoenix is a whole nother level in terms of the atmosphere. It goes up. It's a bit of a tribal sort of atmosphere on course with all the slot holders and connections cheering on their dogs, and he looks like he's a dog, temperament-wise, that'll handle that occasion.
Well, we'll talk about tonight's greyhounds soon, but first I want to talk about, well, the favourite when we were coming into the night in the Phoenix, and that was Cumbria Jack. This is an interstate dog who trialled the absolute house down during the week, having his, I think it was his first look at the Meadows.
Well, I had a chat to the trainer in New South Wales, Stephen Fitch, on the podcast through the week, and he said he's only given him 2 runs. One of them was over 400 metres, so this was a big step up for him. He went 29.533 with a run home of 11.85. Now, there's the time there, 5:13, 17.68, 29.533. It was so impressive, Corey, that I had to video something, put it out on social media midway through eating a bag of popcorn.
Yes, you did have popcorn on your lip, Jim, which was very, very impressive. But we all have popcorn out when Cumbria Jack comes out and struts his stuff. He was so impressive. And if you're trying to equate the times from the Meadows to Sandown, do you say it's about a 29 dead run, or do you think
28.95?
Yeah, just broken 29 seconds. So incredibly fast. Wasn't electric early. 5:13, and the first splits are pretty comparable between Meadows and Sandown, so does need to improve on that, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he gets clear air and he's got phenomenal race sense and he can just wheel his way into it and do as he pleases.
Inside draw, I think, is key. 1 to 4, 1 to 5, where he can just slot in, let the speed go, and then try and run them down. The interesting thing for me with Cumbria Jack is no greyhound. Look, the Phoenix is a newish race, but no greyhound has won the Phoenix without at least going around in a heat of the Melbourne Cup. So he is taking a different route, a different path to the Phoenix, but I think he's the number 1 seed, so he can probably go about things his own way.
And accredited. It was another one of our runners who had a slot previous to tonight. If you were the team who have accredited in your slot, where do you feel you are after tonight?
I've got no knock on him, to be quite honest with you. Accredited, it's going to be a different race. It's going to be a different style of draw in terms of getting to pick your box. So the tactics come into play when that happens. Whereas the Melbourne Cup, it's just random luck where you're drawn. And he didn't exactly nail the start tonight. He came out a little bit worse than he did last week. The good thing for Ned McDonald is he's got 2 weeks to get him nice and fresh, get him jumping out of the box as well. Who knows? He might just have a trial. He might have a race in between then and now, but he's got options.
All right, now here's a dog that I know you've been in the corner of, Intrepidus. It didn't quite work out tonight, but that was always going to be tough from the draw and the map. From a Phoenix perspective, where does he sit now?
The draw made it really hard. I'd have to go and have a really good look at tonight's run to see. You just want to see him moving forward to the first corner. I haven't had a real good look at the back end of the field. We were so focused on what the leader was doing, Canya Mayhem, but on this run, speed through the marks, that's what wins you a Phoenix. Just touching back on accredited, I think the key for Sportsbet going to a Phoenix this year would be Mally Beauty. You almost hope she gets selected. Let's say Mally Beauty has to go into box 5. You get 4 with accredited. Then he gets that little bit of an aid to be able to move to the outside through the first 100 metres. So, it's going to be intriguing just to see what plays out at the box draw, because I reckon that's where the Phoenix will be won and lost for the connections.
All right, curly one, wild card. So not one of the obvious ones we've talked about. Who is the wild card from tonight? From a couple of those young dogs that managed to run some real time. Is there anything you would...
Liddell.
I would love to see Liddell go into there just as a nice talking point, a dog that has that blistering early speed that might be able to string them out. I don't know whether anyone's going to have the fortitude. Yes, I was looking for a good word to use then. The fortitude to roll out a dog like that after only 3 starts and only being in maiden company. But there's so many dogs that you could choose. A Sharapova Star who has that blistering early speed. We even saw a dog like My Name's Eden tonight who showed unbelievable early speed. There's so many dogs that you can pick that can do that, but you're going to need luck, because there's got to be dogs like Cumbria Jack, like Accredited, who are going to run on well.
Yeah, Awesome Lodge. Mitchie Ubea, he's a man who's got plenty of opinions when it comes to this. Mitchie, if you were going to have a bit of a wild card choice at this stage, who's in your corner?
Look, I'm left of centre here. I'm going Sharapova Star. She's $21 with Sportsbet, right? I want to be leading this race, and I don't think $4 represents what Cumbria Jack's chances really are. Yes, he flew in a trial, but 5:13, he's probably midfield for me, and then you've got to try and work his run as to can he find a run at the right time, trying to run down some fast dogs. Well, Sharapova Star's going to leads 99% of her races and goes that much better at the Meadows than Sandown. So, look, I don't think you have to be the fastest race dog overall, but I think you want to be the fastest dog to that first turn and rely on a little bit of luck throughout, that maybe a couple jam up behind. But for me, if there's a slot out there, Mally Beauty's the first one that I would take, but at a long shot, I think Sharapova Star's overs. If you wanted the market, I've got it here. Cumbria Jack's $4, accredited $6, as is Mally Beauty. Ariza Sparkle $6.50, Zipper on Time $7, Traumatise $7.50, Dashing Sleigh $10, Canya Mayhem $11. They're the main ones in the market.
Canya Mayhem, dog in form, $11.
I'd be still with Cumbria Jack. I'm siding with him. I think the number 1 seed's the dog to beat in this year's Phoenix, but yeah, he's on the rise, the Melbourne Cup winner.
Mally Beauty for me.
All right. I'll still be cheering Jess Hopkins.
Yeah.
I don't have to have a selection. I can go with my heart. It's been incredible tonight, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thanks to Jason Adams out on track, Stan Hibbert upstairs. That was the 2025 Melbourne Cup.